Reborn into a world of immortals, I become the true-born son of House Vencrest, the Immortal Dynasty. My father is the heavenly emperor of this age. My grandfather is a true immortal. Even the lowliest servants in our house are sentier. Born into a family this powerful, I could simply kick back and coast through life. But against my wishes, I awaken the Arran System. The system orders me deep into another world. It wants me to end a dark uprising. Please, do you know who I am? Do you know my background? So I turn around and hand the other world's coordinates straight to my family. I let my father, the heavenly emperor, lead the army into battle himself. He sweeps across the foreign land with ease. He crushes the dark sovereign. He ends the uprising. The moment the mission is complete, I smile and say to the system, having connections and not using them? Now that would be foolish. Right now, in the Hall of Sovereigns, I take a deep breath and say to my father, Father, I have wonderful news to report. Aldrich raises an eyebrow. Wonderful news. Oh, let me hear it. I step closer and lower my voice. But the excitement in my tone does not fade in the slightest. Father, just now, while I sat in meditation, perhaps because of today's coming-of-age ceremony, my bloodline power advanced, and amid the surge of my soul, I faintly sensed a strange world. This is half true and half false. The system truly does live within my soul, so saying it relates to my soul is not wrong. You sensed a strange world? Aldrich's eyes change in an instant. As a 19th realm heavenly emperor beyond the 18th realm sovereigns, he knows exactly how much those words weigh. The myriad worlds are vast beyond measure. Beyond their own world, countless others, large and small, drift through the endless chaos void. Each world holds endless resources, different paths of cultivation, and a complete world core essence. For an immortal house like ours, conquering other worlds to seize their resources and core essence is the most vital way to keep the family growing ever stronger. The last cross-world conquest was tens of thousands of years ago. A sovereign elder skilled in divination poured out all his strength just to barely calculate the coordinates of one small dying world. Even so, that campaign brought our family enormous gain, and now his own son says he has sensed a new world. Aldrich's breathing quickens despite himself, but he is, after all, the heavenly emperor of this age. His mind is mighty beyond measure. He calms himself in an instant. Kael, this is no small matter. Are you certain it was not just an illusion during your cultivation? Father, at first I thought so too, but the feeling was crystal clear. I can even faintly sense the location of that world and a few basic things about it. Oh? Tell me, what is the state of that world? From what I sense, that world is rich beyond imagining. Its spiritual energy runs thick. Its cosmic laws are less complete than ours, yet they hold a wonder all their own. I cast out a great lure first. Sure enough, at the words rich beyond imagining, Aldrich's eyes shine brighter. But, I shift my tone, and my voice grows heavy. That world seems caught in a great catastrophe. A being of immense power, for some purpose of its own, is slaughtering living beings in a frenzy. The whole world is choked with rage and grievance. Its laws are in chaos, and the world shows signs of collapse. After hearing my words, Aldrich falls silent. He does not respond at once. In his deep eyes, countless thoughts race past. A world rich in resources. A world torn by inner turmoil. A world with clear coordinates. What these three facts mean stacked together, he understands better than anyone. It means a fortune beyond measure, a heaven-sent opportunity. If what Kael says is true, then House Vencrest may well see growth unlike anything in its history. Swallowing a complete world core essence would lift the family's foundation to a new height, and might even let him glimpse the legendary realm of the true immortal. At this thought, even with a mind as steady as Aldrich's, his heart pounds wildly beyond his control. He surges to his feet and takes a single stride. In an instant he stands before me. He lays a hand on my shoulder, and a gentle yet boundless wave of spiritual sense pours into my body. It searches my soul with great care. My heart tightens, but on the surface I do not show a thing. I let my father search freely. As for being nervous, there is none of that. Setting aside the fact that I crossed into this world from the womb itself, if I were going to be discovered, it would have happened long ago. As for whether this troublesome system gets discovered, I do not care in the least. If it is found, then it unbinds, and I simply go on being my father's son. Aldrich's spiritual sense sweeps through the sea of my soul. He senses only that his son's soul is unusually strong and refined. And deep within that soul, there truly lingers a faint, almost imperceptible aura of another world. That aura is full of dead silence, venom, and madness. It matches exactly the scene of chaos I described. So it is real. Aldrich is finally certain. He withdraws his hand and looks at me, his eyes filled with joy, shock, and wild delight beyond words. He had thought he had simply fathered a prodigy son, one who would one day inherit his mantle and lead House Vencrest into a glorious future. He never imagined the surprise this son would bring him would go so far beyond all expectation. This is no mere prodigy son. This is a supreme blessing bestowed upon House Vencrest by the heavens. Aldrich can no longer hold back the excitement in his heart. He throws back his head and laughs. The laughter rolls like thunder, and the whole hall of sovereigns hums with it. A terrifying aura of heaven and earth surges skyward beyond his control, stirring the clouds of the ninth heaven. Good, good, good. He says the word 3 times over, clapping my shoulder hard. My good son, you are truly my pride, the prodigy of all House Vencrest. His slaps leave my shoulder aching, but a brilliant smile spreads across my face. Aldrich paces the hall in his excitement, the light in his eyes growing brighter and brighter. A world in turmoil must surely lie poorly defended. That so-called powerful being, however strong, how could it match the depth of House Vencrest? Rich in resources. This is truly a heaven-sent chance. No, this matter is far too great. It goes beyond what I alone can decide. Son, you have done wonderfully. Guards. My lord, take my sovereign seal, go to the forbidden grounds, and awaken the patriarch. Awaken the patriarch? The moment Aldrich speaks those words, the two 14th realm demi-saint guards kneeling on the floor jolt violently, faces filled with disbelief. They even wonder if they misheard. The patriarch. When House Vencrest speaks of the patriarch, the word has only ever meant one being. It means the supreme being who slumbers in the deepest part of the forbidden grounds, one who long ago stepped into the realm of the true immortal. He is the true anchor of House Vencrest, the reason House Vencrest stands at the summit of the celestial domain, the greatest source of confidence that lets it look down upon a submitting world. Unless the family faces a crisis of utter extinction, it is absolutely impossible to disturb the patriarch's slumber. The last time the patriarch was awakened was 200,000 years ago. House Vencrest found a great world in its final days within the sea of the cosmos, and through endless effort, finally conquered it. As they prepared to claim the fruits of victory, several immortal lineages joined forces to attack. The 7 sovereigns of House Vencrest at the time all fought until they bled. On the brink of total defeat, they were forced to play their final card. The patriarch emerged. With a single finger, he wiped the allied armies of those immortal lineages from existence. In the end, the half-immortals standing behind those lineages paid an immense and crushing price together, and only then did the patriarch spare the rest. Yet that one move struck terror into the whole celestial domain for countless ages. From that day on, no one ever dared lightly to challenge the dignity of House Vencrest. And that world in its final days brought to immortal House Vencrest 2 sovereign realm elders. But today, there is no enemy invasion. The family is safe and sound, and yet the Lord wishes to awaken the patriarch. What on earth could have happened? The 2 guards are shaken to the core, their minds blank, and for a moment they forget to answer. Aldrich frowns, and a faint pressure spreads from him. The 2 guards jolt as though struck by lightning. Snapping out of their shock, they quickly bow their heads low and answer with trembling voices, "By your command, my lord." Since the Lord has made this decision, he must surely have his reasons. One guard, hands shaking, takes from Aldrich the sovereign seal, the symbol of the Lord's supreme authority. Then the 2 of them dare not delay an instant. They flash into motion, turning into 2 streaks of light, and rush out of the Hall of Sovereigns at full speed, flying toward the forbidden grounds. Watching their departing figures, my own heart begins to race. Holy crap, my father is taking this way too far. I had imagined that my father would be thrilled to hear this news. I knew he would take it seriously. I even thought the family might call a top-level council to discuss the campaign into the other world. But never did I imagine my father's reaction would be this direct, this forceful. Without a word, he simply calls in backup, and the one he calls is the single most powerful being in the family, a true immortal. Do you understand what that means? A living legend. An immortal who walks among mortals. A single drop of his blood could crush all the ages. A single strand of his hair could sever sun, moon, and stars. A being of that level is about to be roused from slumber, all because of a few words from me. Thrilling, so damn thrilling. On the surface I stay calm, but deep inside, a rush of excitement beyond words erupts like a volcano. So this is the taste of power. So this is what it feels like to be a top-tier immortal heir. I simply did not want to be the system's errand boy, risking my life to carry out missions. So I worked out a little scheme. I wanted the family to help, and my father went straight for the strategic nuke. This feeling, so good, so unbelievably good. Aldrich clearly has no idea what his son is thinking. He is caught in a state of intense excitement too. Making the decision to awaken the patriarch for him also takes tremendous resolve, but he has thought it through clearly. This matter is simply too significant. A whole new world, rich in resources, with clear coordinates. For House Vencrest, it is nothing less than a rebirth, but this is certainly not something a single heavenly emperor like himself can fully control. A cross-world conquest. Who knows how deep the waters run? That being who throws that world into chaos. Is it an 18th realm sovereign? A 19th realm heavenly emperor? Or even an immortal? He cannot afford not to guard against it. If Kael is wrong, the worst that happens is a scolding from the patriarch, and afterward he can give Kael a beating. Yes, exactly. That is how it is. He looks at me. His gaze grows ever gentler, full of pride. Kael, come here. Aldrich walks to the throne at the head of the hall, sits down and beckons to me. Yes, father. Below his throne sits a single seat, the only one there. It represents a position that is second only to the head himself. Normally only the family's most central sovereign elders are worthy to sit here. I do not decline. I sit down with ease. Before, I was the most favored trueborn child, the future heir. And now, though I have not yet heard a true immortal's confirmation, a heavenly emperor is almost never mistaken. Aldrich is 90% certain that this is a newly found world, which means I am the one who has rendered the family a deed of unmatched merit, the blessing, the key figure who opens a new era for House Vencrest. Kael, I always believed your greatest gift was cultivation, but now I see I was wrong. Your greatest gift is your fortune, the favor heaven shows House Vencrest. To have a son is to have a son like you, this heavenly emperor whose might overawes the ages, does not spare his words of praise at this moment. I am delighted inside, but my words stay humble. Father flatters me. I was simply lucky, that is all. All of this is the fruit of House Vencrest's flourishing fortune and the blessing of our ancestors. These words please Aldrich even more. Supreme talent, soaring fortune, and still neither proud nor arrogant, knowing to give the credit to the family. His son is simply the perfect heir. You need not be modest, this is what you deserve. Aldrich waves a hand. Then his expression turns grave. But until the patriarch makes his decision, this must not leak out. The fact that you sense the other world's coordinates, for now, let no third person know. I understand. A common man is innocent, yet holding a treasure makes him a target. Though I do not believe anyone within House Vencrest would dare scheme against me, a little caution never hurts. We two begin to speak in low voices there in the Hall of Sovereigns. Aldrich asks in detail about every aspect of that other world, and I, half-truthfully, dress up the information the system gave me in my own words, and tell him each point. Just as we are planning how to divide the other world, the whole ancestral seat of House Vencrest suddenly shakes violently. An indescribable, vast, and terrifying aura surges skyward from the direction of the Forbidden Grounds. That aura seems to span 10,000 ages of time and space, carrying both the decay of years and the mark of the undying. In an instant, it blankets the entire celestial domain. Above the heavens, 10,000 laws cry out in sorrow and shrink away. Countless stars lose their light in this moment, trembling. Every elder in seclusion across the whole celestial domain, no matter where they are, no matter how high their cultivation, snaps their eyes open in alarm in this moment, all turning to gaze toward House Vencrest, faces full of terror and disbelief. This is the aura of a true immortal. Heavens, the patriarch has actually awakened. What earth-shaking event could have happened? Inside the Hall of Sovereigns, Aldrich surges to his feet, an unprecedented light blazing in his eyes. He knows this is the sign of the patriarch's awakening. He turns to me, his face unable to hide his excitement. Kael, come. Walk with your father to pay respects to your grandfather. House Vencrest's sacred isle is vast, like a continent floating in the cosmos. Apart from the Hall of Sovereigns where Lord Aldrich resides, and the central district where we the direct bloodlines live, it holds countless meditation chambers, elder halls, scripture pavilions, and forging rooms. Right now, in all these places, every member of House Vencrest, whether in seclusion or attending to affairs, stops everything in their hands. At this moment, on a peak wreathed in mist, a white-haired old man sits cross-legged on a slab of bluestone, guiding several young juniors in their cultivation. He is the instructor elder, who teaches the methods of cultivation to the family's core disciples, and is himself an 18th realm sovereign. The instant that aura arrives, the smile on the old man's face freezes. The teacup in his hand falls to the ground with a sharp crack and shatters. He suddenly rises, trembling all over as he gazes toward the Forbidden Grounds, his eyes full of awe and fervor. This is the patriarch has awakened. The young juniors beside him have only shallow cultivation. Under that aura they collapse limp to the ground, faces pale, even breathing turned difficult. Elder, what? What is happening? Silence! This is the patriarch's immortal might. You need only kneel and bow, speak no more. With that, he straightens his own robes first, kneels reverently toward the Forbidden Grounds, and prostrates himself fully. The descendants of House Vencrest humbly welcome the patriarch's awakening. The same scene plays out again and again across House Vencrest. In a resplendent council hall, more than a dozen figures with terrifying auras sit upright and solemn. They are the Council of Elders of House Vencrest, each one a powerhouse at the 18th realm sovereign level. On any ordinary day, a single stamp of their foot would make the whole celestial domain shudder, yet now they have all lost their composure. It is the patriarch. The Lord has actually awakened the patriarch. Heavens, what could be so important that it must disturb the patriarch himself? A hot-tempered, red-haired sovereign slams the table and shoots to his feet, his face full of shock and confusion. House Vencrest now overawes the celestial domain, with 10,000 races paying tribute. What could possibly require awakening the patriarch? Could it be that a true immortal from beyond has come to attack? At the head seat, a gray-robed old man opens his cloudy eyes and casts him a cold glance. Mind your words. The Lord acts with his own deep purpose. As elders, we need only wait quietly for the Lord's command. Under that look, the red-haired sovereign shrinks back, drawing in his neck, and sits back down. The gray-robed old man is the grand elder of the council, of very high seniority, his strength at the peak of the 18th realm, only one step away from the 19th realm. But even he, in this moment, has a heart full of storming waves. He understands better than anyone what awakening the patriarch means. He casts his gaze beyond the hall, his eyes deep. What on earth is Aldrich trying to do? As for all these reactions outside, I, standing at the very center of the storm, know nothing of them. I am following close behind my father, Aldrich, turned into a streak of divine light, racing toward the forbidden grounds. Along the way, I can clearly feel the whole ancestral seat of House Vencrest bound by an invisible force. The cosmic laws that normally flow without cease now seem frozen solid, grown impossibly heavy. The air is thick with a vast and ancient aura that stirs awe from the depths of the soul. So this is the might of a true immortal? Merely the aura of his awakening can make 10,000 laws shrink away. I am shaken to the core. Now I have a far more vivid sense of my own patriarch's power. And at the same time I feel even more certain. With a great being like this presiding over us, what is that so-called sovereign of the dark chaotic world worth? The patriarch could likely blow him away with a single breath. Soon the two of us reach the outer edge of the forbidden grounds. This is an ancient mountain range shrouded in chaos energy. Deep within the range, one can faintly make out a colossal ancient immortal tomb. Around the tomb, space and time run awry. The cosmic laws collapse, forming an absolute forbidden zone for all life, one that even a sovereign dares not lightly approach. Right now, the two demi-saint guards sent here on command kneel outside the forbidden zone, bodies shivering. Before them, the sovereign seal hovers in midair, giving off a gentle glow, barely holding back the terrifying immortal might that pours from deep within. Seeing Aldrich and me arrive, the two guards are as relieved as pardoned prisoners. My lord, young lord, rise. Aldrich waves a hand, his gaze grave as he looks deep into the forbidden grounds. That ancient immortal tomb now gives off a faint radiance. On the great doors of the tomb, the dust and stones that cover them are softly trickling down. A low, heavy rumble comes from within the tomb, as though a great beast that slumbered for 10,000 ages is slowly waking. Aldrich draws a deep breath, straightens his robes, then bends low toward the immortal tomb, offering a deep bow. I, Aldrich, with my son Kael, have urgent news to report. We have disturbed your rest, and beg your forgiveness. His voice carries through spiritual sense into the depths of the forbidden grounds. Seeing this, I quickly follow his example and bow respectfully. I, Kael, descendant of House Vencrest, pay respects to the patriarch. Though this true immortal is my own grandfather, I only saw him once, at my birth, so my heart is still a little uneasy. Just as my thoughts wander, an aged, raspy voice drifts slowly out from deep within the immortal tomb. The voice is not loud, yet it sounds clearly in the depths of every soul. Aldrich, Kael, what brings you to disturb me? The instant that aged, raspy voice sounds, Aldrich's body visibly shivers. Reporting to the patriarch, it is not that the family faces a disaster of extinction, rather, House Vencrest has met with a heaven-sent opportunity. This matter concerns the fortune of House Vencrest for 10,000 generations to come. I dare not decide it alone, and so I make bold to ask the patriarch to leave seclusion and judge it. His voice, carried by spiritual sense, reaches clearly into the depths of the immortal tomb. Within the tomb there is a moment of silence, as though the newly awakened patriarch is taking in the meaning of Aldrich's words. A heaven-sent opportunity? The aged voice sounds again, carrying a trace of barely noticeable doubt. For you to use words that grand, it seems this is truly no small matter. Well, come in. As the words fall, the chaos energy shrouding the front of the forbidden grounds, along with the disordered laws of space and time, seem wiped away by an invisible hand, parting on their own into a safe passage wide enough for a few people, leading straight to the doors of the immortal tomb. Thank you, patriarch. Aldrich is overjoyed. He straightens up and gives me a meaningful look. Kael, let us go. Stay close to me. Yes, father. I follow behind Aldrich and step carefully onto that passage. The moment I enter, I feel the scene around me change in an instant. The laws of the outside world fail completely here, replaced by a pure, ancient, supreme aura of the immortal way. With a single breath, I feel my very immortal body cheering with joy. The passage is not long. Soon the two of us reach the colossal doors of the immortal tomb. The doors rise tens of thousands of feet high, forged from some unknown immortal material, covered with the mottled marks of the ages. Right now, the doors are slowly opening inward a crack, and a brilliant yet gentle immortal light shines out through the gap. With a thunderous boom, the doors open wide. The sight beyond them is not the dark tomb one would imagine. Instead, it is a vast starry sky, countless stars being born and dying within it, strand upon strand of divine chains formed from cosmic laws, weaving through the stars like great dragons, building a complete and stable inner universe set apart from the world. And at the center of this starry sky, there floats an ancient bronze coffin, its surface carved dense with immortal runes. Each rune seems to hold the ultimate truths of heaven and earth, so that a single glance nearly tears one's soul apart. The lid of the coffin is already half open, and an aura that would still even the long river of time pours out, rising from within that coffin. Aldrich leads me to within 100 yards of the ancient bronze coffin, then stops. He bows deeply once more. Your son, Aldrich, pays respects to the patriarch. Your descendant Kael pays respects to the patriarch. I bow along with him, my heart full of awe. To use an entire universe as a tomb, and a bronze immortal coffin as its frame, is this the grandeur of a true immortal? I steal a glance upward, trying to see what is inside the coffin. Within it, chaos energy spreads and immortal light coils, so that the scene inside cannot be seen at all. One can only faintly make out a gaunt figure slowly sitting up from within the coffin. Enough. There are no outsiders here. Rise. The aged voice sounds again, much clearer this time than before. Hey, weren't there outsiders just now? Aldrich straightens up, his expression no longer as solemn as it was outside. At last I see clearly the figure within the coffin. He is an old man in coarse grey robes, his frame gaunt and thin, his hair sparse and streaked with white, his face covered with deep wrinkles. His gaze is cloudy yet calm. He first glances at Aldrich, then settles his eyes on me. He lets out a soft sound of surprise. Kael's soul is far more refined than when I first saw him. It seems you have put in no small effort over these years, Aldrich, and this little one seems to carry a rather curious aura, one that even I find hard to see through. My heart skips a beat. A curious aura? Could it be the trace the system left behind? Or could it be the aura of that dark, chaotic world? Before I can think it through, Aldrich beside me has already spoken. Father, it is precisely about that. He steps forward and repeats to the patriarch, word for word, everything I told him before. From the awakening of my bloodline and the change in my soul, to my sensing the other world's coordinates, to that world being rich in resources yet caught in turmoil. As Aldrich speaks, the patriarch's face, still as an old well, finally shows a trace of feeling. His cloudy eyes turn to me again, and look now different. You say Kael can clearly pinpoint that world's coordinates? Indeed, Aldrich answers firmly. I have searched him myself. Deep within Kael's soul, there truly lingers a trace of another world's aura, exactly as he said. The patriarch falls silent. His eyes, which seem able to pierce through all things, sweep back and forth over me and Aldrich. After a long while, so long that it feels to me as if a century has passed, the patriarch's gaunt hand slowly rises, and in the empty air gently points. Then a vast, boundless star map unfolds before the three of us in an instant. It is the entire celestial domain, and the outline of the endless chaos regions around it. It is marked with countless points of light, each point representing a world or a galaxy. Kael, the patriarch looks at me and speaks in his raspy voice. Point out where that world lies. I nod. Guided by the system, my vision blurs for a moment, and within that vast star map, a faint, dark red point of light, almost on the verge of going out, is clearly marked. That point sits in a barren chaos region far from the celestial domain's main roots. Were it not for the system's mark, even a true immortal, sweeping it with spiritual sense for hundreds of millions of years, might never discover that it exists. Found it. My heart settles. Without hesitation I reach out my hand and point to the spot where that dark red light shines. Grandfather, father, look. That world is right there. Following the direction of my finger, Aldrich and the patriarch in the ancient bronze coffin both fix their gazes on one corner of that vast star map. It is an extremely remote region, wrapped in endless chaotic currents, barren and dead silent, utterly unremarkable on the whole map. Had I not pointed to it so precisely, even a true immortal spiritual sense passing over it could easily mistake it for a worthless patch of chaotic ruin and overlook it. And within that ruin, a dark red point of light flickers faintly, like a candle guttering in the wind, ready at any moment to go out entirely. It is right there. Aldrich holds his breath, his heart nearly leaping out of his throat. Though he is a heavenly emperor who can look down upon all things, before this true immortal father of his, he is still like a child waiting for his report card. He already believes it, 99%, but in the end he needs the patriarch's final confirmation. Within the ancient bronze coffin, the gaunt old man called the patriarch says nothing. His once cloudy eyes now blaze bright, as though two suns burn within them. His gaze seems to pierce through space and time, crossing the endless chaos, descending straight upon that dark red point of light. An invisible yet supreme will of the immortal way, using the coordinates on the star map as its guide, crosses hundreds of millions of light years in an instant. I feel the system's interface in my mind jolt violently, sending out a string of urgent alarms. Warning. An unnameable, terrifying being has been detected probing the mission world. Warning. The world's coordinates have been exposed. The system is initiating top-level concealment. Concealment failed. Warning. The system's core logic is being analyzed. My heart drops. Holy crap, is the patriarch really this strong? He just glances at a map, sitting at home the whole time, and his spiritual sense reaches straight into the Shadowmere continent. This system acts so high and mighty inside my head, and yet one move from the patriarch leaves it utterly stunned, without the slightest room to fight back. Time in this moment seems to stand still. Aldrich watches his own father nervously, not daring even to breathe loud. I, meanwhile, pray frantically in my heart. I do not know how long passes, perhaps only an instant. Perhaps 10 million years. The patriarch's all-piercing gaze finally draws back from the star map. He slowly closes his eyes, his withered lips parting slightly, as if savoring something. Haha! A soft laugh comes from the ancient bronze coffin. The laugh is light, yet it lets both Aldrich and me breathe out at the same time. He laughed. That means there is hope. Interesting. Truly interesting. The patriarch opens his eyes again. His gaze settles on me. His look is no longer simple admiration. Now it carries a deep wonder and a probing curiosity. Grievance choking the heavens, laws crying out in sorrow, the world core essence weeping. It is indeed a great world about to fall into ruin. He first confirms what I said. Hearing this, Aldrich clenches his fists at once, so excited that his body trembles. It worked. It is real. But the patriarch shifts his tone, and Aldrich's heart rises again. Amid that endless silence and ruin, I also catch a scent of incomparable sweetness. A look of intoxication crosses the patriarch's face. That is the final fragrance a world core essence gives off when it has ripened to the utmost and is about to rot. Like the finest divine fruit, in the moment just before it spoils when its flavor is at its most perfect. That guy who started the uprising, his methods are crude, but his path is the right one. He is using the blood and souls of countless living beings to force the whole world to ripen, hoping that before the world fully collapses, he can swallow all the fruit in one bite. A world core essence of this caliber, if it can be swallowed whole, Aldrich, might carry you one step closer to my realm. Boom! These words crash like thunder in Aldrich's mind. One step closer, he is now at the Heavenly Emperor realm. One step further, what is that? It is the realm of the True Immortal, where his father stands. The bottleneck that has troubled him for countless ages now shows a sliver of hope of breaking. Father, Aldrich's voice carries a tremble beyond all measure of excitement. Do not be glad too soon. The patriarch waves a hand. His gaze turns to me again. What I am more curious about is this. Kael, how did you sense this world across the endless chaos? Here it comes. He has finally asked the key question. My chest tightens, and I quickly answer with the words I prepared long ago. Neither humble nor arrogant. Grandfather, in answer to you, I do not fully understand it myself. Only that after the coming-of-age ceremony, I felt my immortal body seemed to undergo some change I cannot put into words. A voice guided me, calling out to me for help, hoping I would come to their world. Called out to you for help. The patriarch, hearing this, far from doubting, instead claps his hands and laughs aloud. Haha, well said, well said. It is not that you are changing it, it is that the world is calling to you. I understand now. I understand it all. The patriarch's laughter echoes through the whole inner universe, and the stars sway with it. The way he looks at me is full of an admiration and satisfaction never seen before. Aldrich, earlier you called Kael the prodigy of House Vencrest. I think you spoke wrongly. Aldrich is startled. He looks at his own father in some confusion and hears the patriarch say, word by word, he is no prodigy. He is a blessing bestowed upon House Vencrest by the heavens, a child of destiny born to meet his time. Why would that world call to him for help? Because his immortal body resonates with the way of that world. Because his fortune is great enough to carry the final hope of an entire world. The more the patriarch speaks, the more excited he grows, his gaunt body even leaning slightly out of the ancient bronze coffin. Good, wonderful. House Vencrest has been quiet for 1,000,000 years, and at last we have waited for a descendant of great destiny. I listen at the side, dazed. Father, do you mean? The patriarch's gaze sweeps over that dark red point of light on the star map. His eyes turn sharp beyond measure, full of an unquestionable dominance. A world that delivers itself to our door. A supreme fruit of the way about to ripen. A family blessing born to meet his time. When heaven gives and you do not take, you instead bear the blame. Carry out my first command. The patriarch's voice turns majestic and grim in an instant. Summon every elder in the family. They are to council in the Hall of Sovereigns within 15 minutes. Tell them House Vencrest is going to war. The instant the patriarch speaks those words, the starry sky of the whole inner universe goes still, and an indescribable, terrifying aura of slaughter erupts from that gaunt body. Aldrich shudders all over, feeling the blood within him boil. He has waited too long for this day. Ever since he took over as Lord, House Vencrest has remained the overlord of the celestial domain, overawing 10,000 races, yet like a sleeping lion, it has gone too long without baring its fangs to the myriad worlds. Obey your order. Aldrich bows deeply toward the ancient bronze coffin, his eyes filled with a fervor and excitement never seen before. Kael. The patriarch's gaze returns to me, grown much gentler. You have rendered the family a deed of unmatched merit. When the council ends, I will forge your foundation himself. Forge my foundation himself? My heart leaps. This is a true immortal. For a living immortal to forge the foundation of a mortal like me, who has not yet begun to cultivate, is a privilege that defies the heavens. If word got out, the whole celestial domain would likely go mad over it. Even the true-born sons of other immortal dynasties could never possibly receive an honor like this. Thank you, grandfather. I press down the wild joy in my heart and bow respectfully. Go now. The patriarch waves a hand. Aldrich, take Kael to the Hall of Sovereigns. I will follow shortly. Yes, father. Aldrich answers, then takes my hand, and turns to walk out, his expression thrilled. I know I bet right this time. Handing the system over to the family was a brilliant move. Not only does it free me from a near-fatal errand mission, it has also won me a tremendous fortune out of nowhere. This move is called turning the tables on the system. I and Aldrich walk out of the immortal tomb, back beyond the forbidden grounds. That terrifying immortal might that blanketed the whole ancestral seat of House Vencrest has slowly drawn back, but every member of House Vencrest is still lost in the shock of moments ago. Not one dares to move freely. When they see Lord Aldrich and the young Lord Kael walk safely out from the direction of the forbidden grounds, every gaze fixes on them at once, especially when they see the excitement and wild joy that Lord Aldrich cannot hide on his face, and the close way he holds the young Lord Kael's hand. A great question rises in every mind. What is going on? The Lord awakened the patriarch for the young Lord's sake? Could something have happened to the young Lord? No, that is not it. Look at the Lord's expression. This is plainly wonderful news. But what kind of news would require disturbing the patriarch himself? Just as the crowd hovers in doubt and unease, Aldrich's voice, carrying supreme majesty and mixed with boundless excitement, spreads across the whole of House Vencrest's sacred isle. By my command, every elder in the family is to come at once to the Hall of Sovereigns to council within 15 minutes. No one may be absent. Those who disobey will be dealt with by family law. Boom! This command instantly raises towering waves across all of House Vencrest. Summoning every elder, this is absolutely the highest level of council House Vencrest holds. The last time a council of this rank was called was 200,000 years ago, when they decided whether to launch a full assault on that doomsday world. Could it be? A stunning guess springs wildly to life in the hearts of every member of House Vencrest who hears the command. Could House Vencrest be going to war again? In an instant, the whole sacred isle of House Vencrest boils over. Countless powerhouses in seclusion burst from their chambers, turning into streaks of divine light, racing toward the Hall of Sovereigns. Those attending to family affairs also set down everything in their hands, gazing toward the Hall of Sovereigns, their faces written full of excitement and anticipation. A war upon another world. For any member of House Vencrest, these words mean supreme glory and a heaven-sent opportunity. They mean vast cultivation resources. They mean a chance to build, merit, and make a name. They mean the strength of the whole family will leap forward once again. Heavens, are we truly going to war? It must be. Otherwise, the Lord would never give a command in that tone and call every elder over. Wonderful. I have been stuck at the demi-saint realm for 500 years, worrying I had no resources to break through. Is this not the chance I needed? I wonder which clueless power is the target this time, or whether a new world has been found. Voices of discussion and cheering rise from every corner of House Vencrest's sacred isle, and the whole family, like a finely tuned war machine, begins slowly to turn after countless ages of silence. And at the very center of this storm, I walk close behind my father, Aldrich, flying toward the Hall of Sovereigns at an unhurried pace. Along the way, every member of House Vencrest who sees us, no matter how senior the elder, no matter how strong the guard, stops in their tracks, and toward the two of us, and especially toward me, bows respectfully. Greetings to you, my lord and young lord. Their eyes are full of awe, curiosity, and a trace of fervor. Though they still do not know exactly what has happened, no one here is a fool. The lord just came out of the forbidden grounds with the young lord, and then announced a decision this momentous. It is blindingly obvious that this matter is bound up inseparably with the young Lord Kael. Otherwise there would be no need to bring the young lord along at all. The lord could have gone alone. It is the young lord, it is this young man of only 18, who has not yet formally begun to cultivate, who has set the whole family ablaze. I feel the awed gazes thrown at me from every direction, hear in my ears the heartfelt cries of greetings to you, young lord, and my heart fills with feeling. So good, so unbelievably good. So this is the taste of power. So this is the right way to be a top-tier immortal heir. Just as my thoughts wander, we arrive before the Hall of Sovereigns. At the doors, more than a dozen figures with auras deep as the sea already wait. They are the members of the Council of Elders from the Council Hall earlier, led by the Grand Elder of very high seniority, Theron. When they see Aldrich and me, 8 18th Realm Sovereigns actually bow deeply toward me, all at once. Clearly, these pillars of House Vencrest have already received word from my true immortal grandfather, and understand that I have rendered the family a deed of unmatched merit. We humbly welcome the young lord. 18th Realm Sovereigns, on any ordinary day, which of them could not make the celestial domain shudder with a stamp of their foot? Yet now they all perform so great a courtesy toward a youth of only 18 who has not even begun to cultivate. If this scene got out, it would be enough to shock the whole celestial domain. Aldrich looks at the sight before him, and a smile of boundless pride spreads across his face. He does not stop them, because he knows his son is worthy of this bow. My heart stirs slightly too, but I do not let it go to my head. I understand clearly that these elders are not bowing to me myself, but to the heaven-sent opportunity I have brought the family. I step forward, give the elders a slight bow in return, and say in a humble tone, "Elders, there is no need for such courtesy. I do not dare accept it. The glory of the family cannot be separated from the effort of every member. I simply happen to be in the right place. It was only luck." These words are flawless, leaving not a gap. They show my modesty and give the credit to the whole family, so the elders present all feel quite pleased to hear them. "Ha ha, Kael, you are too modest." The hot-tempered, red-haired sovereign, Magnus, now shows not a trace of confusion on his face, only excitement and praise. "Luck is part of strength too. Kael, for House Vencrest to have a blessing like you, crowned with such fortune, how could we fear that anything would not prosper?" "Indeed," another elder agrees. "Young lord, what you have done is a merit for the ages. This bow of ours, we give it gladly." The Grand Elder Theron's cloudy eyes now flicker with golden light too. He gives me a long look and slowly nods. "Young lord, you are steady in temperament, neither proud nor rash. You are a blessing to the family. My lord, you have raised a fine son." "Aha!" Aldrich laughs aloud, his mood thoroughly delighted. To have the most senior Grand Elder in the family publicly praise his son pleases him even more than praise for himself. In the Council of Elders, only Theron is of such high seniority. Most of the others count as my uncle's generation, such as the red-haired sovereign Magnus, the third elder of House Vencrest, who is my third uncle. Very well, let us not all stand out here. Come inside and talk. Aldrich waves a hand and walks into the Hall of Sovereigns first. I follow close behind, and the elders enter in order of rank and station. Within the hall, the air is solemn and grave. Aldrich takes the Lord's throne at the very head without the slightest hesitation, and to his left, that seat representing a position that is second to him. Every gaze turns instinctively to that seat, then to me, standing in the center of the hall. They all share a single guess in their hearts, but no one dares to speak it. Aldrich looks at the elders below him and says in a deep voice, "I know you all have doubts in your hearts. Why did I suddenly awaken the patriarch? And why have I called the highest council?" Every elder holds their breath, watching him with solemn faces, waiting for the answer to be revealed. Although the very topmost elders mostly already know the situation, Aldrich does not keep them in suspense. His gaze sweeps over the whole hall and he says, word by word, "Because House Vencrest has discovered a brand new world, extremely rich in resources, it is a high-tier mystical world, and it is in the midst of civil chaos." Though they had guessed it long before, when Aldrich speaks the words himself, a wave of sharp indrawn breath still rises through the whole hall. Every elder's face shows joy and shock they cannot hold back. A brand new world, rich in resources, and torn by civil chaos. What these three things mean, stacked together, everyone present knows full well. It is a fortune beyond measure. It is a heaven-sent opportunity great enough to make House Vencrest's foundation surge once again. "Brother, no, my lord, is this true?" The red-haired sovereign rises in his excitement, his voice trembling. "Of course it is true." Aldrich speaks with pride. "This matter has been confirmed by the patriarch himself." Confirmed by the patriarch. Those words wipe away the last trace of doubt in every heart. A true immortal does not make mistakes. Wonderful, heaven truly favors House Vencrest. After 200,000 years of silence, at last we have the chance to let the myriad worlds feel the name of House Vencrest once more. The hall erupts in an instant. Every elder flushes red with excitement, as if they already see the army of House Vencrest sweeping across that world and returning laden with spoils. Aldrich raises a hand and presses lightly down through the air. The hall falls silent at once. His gaze settles on me, full of pride and fondness. And the one who has brought House Vencrest this heaven-sent opportunity is none other than my son, Kael. Instantly, every gaze fixes on me once again. This time, beyond the awe and the fervor, their eyes carry a heartfelt gratitude as well. I meet every gaze, my expression calm, neither humble nor proud. Days like this will be common from now on. I had better start getting used to it. "Kael, come here. Sit here." Aldrich beckons to me and points at the empty seat beside him. The moment he says this, the whole hall is stunned. In the past, that seat was filled only when the patriarch came in person, or when the family faced life or death, and a few of the most ancient sovereign elders made decisions together. Only then would anyone be seated there. Now, the family actually has the young lord who has not even begun to cultivate, sit in that seat. This is no longer mere regard. This treats me as a decision-maker equal to the Lord himself. And yet, not a single person objects, because everyone understands. With the deed of discovering a new world, an achievement beyond any age, I am fully worthy of it. Yes, Father. I do not decline either. I know that to be modest at this moment would be false. I walk calmly to Aldrich's side, and sit down on that throne carved from a single block of chaos jade. The instant I sit down, I can clearly feel the fortune of all House Vencrest, as if it has formed a faint, almost imperceptible link with me. Just then, the supreme aura of House Vencrest descends. Throughout the Hall of Sovereigns, 10,000 laws ring out as one. The laws take visible form, and golden lotuses bloom one after another in the empty air. The patriarch from the ancient bronze coffin has come. Every face turns solemn. Including Lord Aldrich, they all rise together and bow respectfully toward the air above the hall. We welcome the patriarch. A gaunt figure soundlessly appears above the Lord's throne, as if he had been sitting there all along, merged into the whole world. It is the patriarch of House Vencrest. "Rise, all of you!" The patriarch's raspy voice sounds. He looks around at the dozen-odd sovereign elders standing below, then fixes his gaze on me, a trace of a satisfied smile in his cloudy eyes. "I have called you here today for one matter only." His voice is not loud, yet it reaches every ear clearly. From this day on, House Vencrest enters its highest state of war readiness. Every family member traveling abroad is to be summoned home at once. Every grand elder in deep seclusion is to be awakened. The family treasury is to be opened in full, and all resources given first to this campaign. Command after command issues from the patriarch's mouth, beyond all question, utterly decisive. Theron, Grand Elder Theron, steps forward and answers respectfully. "You will oversee every artificer and array master in the family. Within 7 days, I want to see a skybridge gate strong enough to carry the armies of House Vencrest steadily across worlds. By your order." The Grand Elder's body jolts, a fearsome golden light bursting from his eyes as he accepts the command with weight. Magnus, the red-haired sovereign, steps forward, his will to battle high. "You will take charge. Marshal every fighting force of the family. The 3 legions, Skyblade, Divine Might, and Army Breaker, 1,000,000 war cultivators in all. I want them assembled within 7 days, ready to march at any moment." "The task will be done!" Magnus roars in his excitement, like a fierce tiger about to be loosed from its cage. The Patriarch issues command after command, parceling out the vast plan for the cross-world conquest in perfect order. Every elder in the hall receives a task, each one raring to go, thrilled beyond measure. At last the Patriarch's gaze settles on me, and the whole hall falls silent in an instant, so quiet that a falling pin could be heard. Everyone holds their breath. Even Aldrich watches his own father and son with a touch of curiosity and anticipation. They all want to know what standing the Patriarch will give this young lord who has rendered a deed beyond any age, the young lord hailed as the family's blessing. Will he name me a Grand Marshal of the Conquest in name only, as an honor? Or will he grant me endless cultivation resources so I can cultivate in peace? Or will he directly establish me as the next lord's sole heir and proclaim it to the whole family? I am a little nervous too. I sit on that Chaos Jade throne, the seat beneath me cool and chilly, yet my heart burns hot. A merit this great. Surely grandfather will give me something good. Is it an immortal artifact, an immortal technique, or a direct power transfer to lift me to the highest realm in a single step? Though I know reaching the highest realm in one step is unrealistic. Since the family prizes a solid foundation above all, there is no harm in a little daydreaming. Just as my thoughts wander, the Patriarch's aged and majestic voice slowly sounds. Kael, yes, I'm here. I rise quickly and answer respectfully. The Patriarch looks at me, a trace of a smile in his cloudy eyes. He does not speak of any appointment directly. Instead, he asks a question that seems entirely unrelated. Kael, do you know why House Vencrest goes to war upon other worlds? The moment this question comes, not only am I taken aback, the elders below exchange uncertain glances too. Why go to war? Is it not for resources, for techniques, for a world's core essence to make the family stronger? This is what every immortal house does. It is an instinct carved into the bone. Though that is what I think in my heart too, I know that for the Patriarch to ask this way, the answer is surely not so simple. I weigh my words a moment, then answer carefully. In answer to grandfather, I believes it is so that House Vencrest can forever stand at the summit of the endless myriad worlds, so that the glory of House Vencrest can shine across all the ages and never fade. These words sound grand and proper. A standard answer. Yet the Patriarch shakes his head. You are half right. He extends a single gaunt finger, pointing at everyone in the hall, from Lord Aldrich to Grand Elder Theron, to every sovereign elder. We conquer, we plunder, we make the family strong. In the end, for what? The Patriarch's voice pauses, and his gaze finally returns to me, grown infinitely gentle. It is so that our descendants need not struggle to survive in blood and fire as we did. It is so that our descendants can stand on our shoulders and see higher, farther horizons. It is so that our descendants are born already at the top, and can decide who rises and who falls. His words land with weight, striking like thunder. Every elder in the Hall of Sovereigns shudders, an unprecedented light bursting from their eyes. So that is it. They had always believed the conquests were for the family's survival, never imagining that in the Patriarch's eyes, the ultimate purpose of the conquests is for the descendants, so that a heaven-favored youth like the young lord can have the right to unleash his talent freely, and the right to choose his own life. Aldrich's eyes brim with tears, as he looks at his own father in deep emotion. He understands now. His father is paving the way for Kael, offering up a war upon another world as the grandest gift for Kael's rise. I am completely stunned, too. I never imagined the Patriarch would say something like this. I had thought I was simply using the family's power to dodge the system's risks and gain something for myself. I never imagined that in the eyes of these supreme beings of the family, I, Kael, am myself the greatest interest of the family. All that is mine is all that is the family's. In this moment, a warmth beyond words rises from the depths of my heart and spreads through my whole body in an instant. So this is family? So this is the feeling of having someone at your back? Kael, the Patriarch's voice sounds again, pulling me back from my shock to reality. As for this campaign, your task is not to charge into battle, nor to plan the strategy. The Patriarch looks at me and says, word by word, your task is only one. That is to cultivate in peace, to grow, and then to enjoy this feast prepared for you. Everything of that world, its resources, its core essence, its laws, will all be yours for the taking, the foundation stones of your path on the immortal way. As for those so-called dark sovereigns, those so-called sources of the uprising, the Patriarch's tone turns light and offhand, yet it carries an unquestionable dominance. We will clear away every obstacle for you. You need only collect the fruits of victory once the war is over. The Patriarch's words explode like bombs in every heart. Madness. This is sheer madness. To launch a cross-world war with the strength of the entire family, only to give it as a gift to a youth who has not yet begun to cultivate, only to let the young lord cultivate in peace and pave his way. What doting this is. What dominance this is. The elders below are dumbstruck, mouths open wide enough to hold an egg. They had thought the Patriarch would richly reward the young lord, but never imagined it would be in this manner. This is no longer a reward. This is wrapping up an entire world and handing it over as the young lord's private property. The red-haired sovereign Magnus opens his mouth, wanting to say something, but in the end only forces out one line. Damn, it can be played like this. The way he looks at me is full of envy and jealousy. Back in his day, to break through to the sovereign realm, he brushed death again and again on the battlefields beyond, every bone in his body broken several times over. And now, this boy has to do nothing at all, and someone delivers a whole world right to his mouth, and, afraid he might choke, picks out all the bones first. Well, Comparisons are odious. Grand Elder Theron lets out a long sigh too, and then a comforted smile spreads across his face. He understands the patriarch's intent. This is not merely doting, it is an investment. In me, the family invests its whole future. To use a world's resources to nurture a future immortal, by any reckoning this deal is a massive gain. Aldrich's face flushes red with excitement. He surges to his feet and bows deeply toward the patriarch. Father, your foresight runs deep. I thank you on Kael's behalf. He knows that from this day on, Kael's standing in the family can never be shaken by anyone. He will be the rightful, the sole, the future master of the family. And I, in this moment, am utterly dazed. I feel my mind buzzing, unable to quite catch up. My task is to enjoy myself? Are you kidding me? I work so hard spinning lies, putting on an act, fooling my whole family hook, line, and sinker, and in the end my task is to kick back and relax. This is just too good. I feel like a player running cheat codes in a game, who is about to report himself to support, only for support to send him an email. Dear player, we have detected that you are using cheats. We have decided to give you the entire game as your cheat. Enjoy your game. Absurd. This is truly too absurd. What is it, Kael? You are not willing. The patriarch looks at me standing there in a daze and asks with a chuckle. I am willing. I could not be more willing. I snap back to my senses, quickly nodding and bowing, terrified the patriarch might change his mind. Are you kidding? Only a fool would refuse a good thing like this. My display draws a wave of good-natured laughter through the hall, and even the ever-solemn Grand Elder Theron cannot help but smile. Enough! The patriarch waves a hand, signaling everyone to quiet down. Since the matter is decided, then go and make your preparations. He glances at me, his eyes full of tenderness. Kael, you stay. I promised you I would forge your foundation myself. From this day on you will move to my dwelling and live there until you have stepped onto the path of cultivation, to forge the young lord's foundation himself, and to teach him in person. The elders in the hall are stunned once again. This treatment, not just in House Vencrest but across the whole celestial domain, from ancient times to now, has never been heard of. A living, true immortal becoming a mortal's personal tutor. If word got out, who would dare believe it? The way the elders look at me has turned from envy into pure awe. They know that a supreme star of the future is rising before their very eyes. Yes, grandfather. At the patriarch's command, the elders in the Hall of Sovereigns, hearts full of shock and excitement, accept their orders and depart. The whole of House Vencrest, this ancient war machine silent for hundreds of thousands of years, begins to run with a terrifying efficiency. Command after command issues from the Hall of Sovereigns, reaching every corner of the sacred isle. Countless members in seclusion are awakened. Countless powerhouses traveling abroad are called back. The doors of the family treasury swing open with a thunderous boom, and vast amounts of divine metals, immortal materials, and precious elixirs are carried out like a tide, given first to the artificers and arraymasters building the Skybridge Gate. In the camps of the three legions, Skyblade, Divine Might, and Army Breaker, war drums thunder and a killing aura surges skyward. Countless armored war cultivators gather on the training grounds, their cold weapons glinting with a bloodthirsty light in the sun. The whole sacred isle of House Vencrest is wrapped in an atmosphere both grim and fervent. The storm is coming, and the one who set all of this in motion, I, at the center of the storm, am at this moment taken by my grandfather to a place no one would ever guess. The inner universe within the forbidden grounds, where the bronze immortal coffin lies. When I come once more beneath this vast starry sky, my mood is completely different from last time. Grandfather, will we forge my foundation here? I look around with curiosity. This inner universe, where the cosmic laws take visible form, and the aura of the immortal way runs thick to the extreme, is truly a supreme ground for cultivation. Of course not here. The patriarch's gaunt figure has appeared beside me at some unknown moment. He points at the ancient bronze coffin floating at the center of the universe. We go there? Yes, into the coffin. I am dumbfounded. Is this some kind of joke? I know you are not one for formalities, but this is after all your resting place. To forge my foundation inside your coffin, if word got out, how would I ever show my face again? Other immortal heirs forge their foundations in blessed grottos and sacred springs. And me, I directly go straight to the point, into a coffin. What, unwilling again? The patriarch shoots me a glance. Willing, of course I am willing. I shake my head at once like a rattledrum. Are you kidding? This is a true immortal's coffin. There is bound to be more than meets the eye. Good thing you know what is good for you. The patriarch nods in satisfaction. He waves a hand, and the lid of the bronze coffin slides open without a sound. I crane my neck to look inside. The coffin is not empty. Inside is a stretch of chaos, gray currents of chaos energy churning and surging within it, as if a world were being created. At the deepest point of the chaos energy, one can faintly see a green lotus dais, no more than 3 feet across, slowly turning, giving off a fragrance that reaches into the very heart. What is this? My eyes go still at once, though I do not recognize it. I can feel that green lotus dais is absolutely a heaven-defying treasure. With a single glance, I feel as though my very soul is being washed clean. This is the dais of the primordial lotus, which has existed since the dawn of creation. The patriarch's voice drifts over, carrying a trace of remembrance. In the year I proved my way and became an immortal, while wandering the sea of chaos, I came upon it by chance, and only with tremendous effort did I take it for my own. Through these countless years, I have lain upon this dais, nurturing my immortal body with chaos energy, to slow the draining of my life force, the dais of the primordial lotus, a supreme treasure from the dawn of creation. I feel my very breath stop. A thing that exists only in myth and legend actually exists, and right before my eyes. Grandfather, this is far too precious. My voice trembles a little. To use a treasure of this caliber to forge my foundation, is it not a bit too extravagant? Precious? The patriarch gives a scornful laugh. However precious a thing, if it cannot be put to full use, it is nothing but a dead object. It has lain here with me for countless ages, nearly grown moldy. Today it is put to good use on you, and so it does not waste its great name. Go on, sit upon the dais. Draw a deep breath and leap, jumping into the bronze coffin. The moment I enter, I am wrapped in chaos currents so thick they will not disperse. Each strand of this chaos energy is heavy as a mountain. Were it an ordinary mortal, they would likely be crushed to powder in an instant. But I possess the immortal body. My flesh already far surpasses ordinary people. And with these years of bathing in sovereign blood, my foundation is solid beyond measure. I feel only my body sink slightly, and then I adjust. I push aside the chaos energy and walk step by step toward that green lotus dais. The closer I come, the more thick that heart-reaching fragrance grows. I feel every pore of my body opening, greedily drinking in this aura. At last I reach the dais. I follow the patriarch's example, sitting down cross-legged. The instant I sit on the dais, the whole dais gives a sudden shudder, bursting out hundreds of millions of strands of green divine light, and a wondrous Tao resonance beyond words wraps around me in an instant. I feel my soul leave my body in a flash, arriving in a chaos that is before the dawn of creation. Here there is no time, no space, no up or down or four directions. Only the most primal, purest Tao. Chaos as the furnace, immortal flame as the hammer, to reforge your immortal foundation and remake your body. The patriarch's voice sounds in my mind. The next moment, endless chaos currents begin to surge wildly toward my body. Boom! I feel my body as though it is about to burst apart. That chaos energy is overbearing beyond measure, rushing into my limbs and bones, my meridians and apertures, scouring and remaking everything of me in a frenzy. Searing pain beyond imagination, sweeps through my whole body in an instant. I feel my bones as if ground to dust inch by inch, then reassembled. My flesh and blood melt away and regenerate, again and again. My meridians are torn open time after time, then widened and reinforced time after time. Even with my steady temperament, I cannot help but let out a howl of pain. This is 10,000 times more agonizing than I imagined. This is no foundation forging. This is plainly melting me down and remaking me from scratch. Endure. The path of cultivation is itself a defiance of heaven, a struggle against heaven, against earth, against oneself. If you cannot bear even this much pain, how can you speak of transcending the Tao? The patriarch's voice strikes my heart like a heavy hammer. I bite down hard on the tip of my tongue, and the sharp pain clears my mind a little. A fine temperament. The patriarch's gaunt finger gently points in the empty air, and a wisp of flame, dancing with seven-colored light, appears from nothing, falling into the bronze coffin. Immortal flame, the primal fire that only a true immortal can command, which can burn all things to ash, and can also create all living beings. The moment the immortal flame enters the chaos, it swells with a roar into a sea of fire, swallowing me and the dais whole. With chaos energy as the furnace and immortal flame as the hammer, my body begins to shine brilliantly under the forging of the flame. The impurities within me are refined away bit by bit. My blood slowly turns from crimson to pale gold, each drop seeming to hold the power of a star. And at my dantian, the place where every cultivator's path begins, a vast vortex woven from chaos energy and immortal flame is slowly taking shape. The blood-forging realm, the first realm of a cultivator's path, is to refine the body's essence blood and gather life essences. An ordinary genius can gather a few thousand life essences and be called a prodigy. The very finest prodigies, such as the imperial sons and saintly daughters, gather at most a little over 10,000, and according to the records, the theoretical limit of this realm is to gather 108,000 life essences, and one's flesh becomes that of a saint, untouchable by all techniques. But that is only theory. From ancient times to now, no one has ever reached it. And today this myth is about to be broken upon me. Within the vortex at my dantian, golden life essences begin to gather and be born, one after another. 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, 108,000. The instant the count of life essences reaches the theoretical limit, the whole inner universe trembles for it. 10,000 laws ring out as one, as if the laws are celebrating the birth of a miracle. And yet, it is not over. The vortex still spins wildly, and golden life essences still keep being born in an unbroken stream. 110,000, 150,000, 200,000. The patriarch watches this scene, a look of shock on his face. What kind of monster is Kael? He had thought that forging my foundation with the primordial lotus dais and immortal flame would, at most, bring me to the theoretical limit of 108,000. He never imagined my potential would so far exceed his expectations. The immortal body, paired with this primordial lotus dais, has produced some unbelievable reaction. Good. The patriarch cannot hold back his wild joy and laughs toward the sky. Truly the blessing of House Vencrest, truly a child of destiny born to meet his time. Since it is so, today I will lend you a hand once more. A golden light flashes in his eyes, and he suddenly opens his mouth and spits out a drop of liquid, deep red like a blood diamond. A true immortal's heart blood, the very essence of his lifetime of cultivation, a single drop enough to crush a whole star region. He flicks a finger, and that drop of heart blood turns into a streak of bloodlight, sinking into the center of my brow in an instant. Boom! My body becomes like a sun with a nuclear bomb cast into it, bursting out billions of feet of divine light. The count of life essences, in my Dantian, begins to climb wildly in an explosive way. 300,000, 500,000, 800,000, 1 million. When the count of life essences finally settles at 1 million, all the life essences suddenly contract inward, gathering into a golden divine figure. That divine figure sits cross-legged at the center of the vortex, its bearing solemn and majestic, its face exactly like my own. The blood-forging realm, first across all the ages, gathering 1 million life essences, giving birth to a divine spirit vessel. This is no longer breaking a myth. This is creating a whole new myth, one with no predecessor and likely no successor. The patriarch watches this scene, trembling all over with excitement. He knows he has created with his own hands a true monster for House Vencrest. Within the bronze coffin, the chaos energy gradually settles, and the immortal flame slowly fades. I sit cross-legged upon the green lotus dais, both eyes shut tight, my bearing solemn and majestic. Within my body, the divine spirit vessel formed from 1 million golden life essences sits quietly in my Dantian, beating in time with my heart, breathing as one with me. Every breath draws in and releases vast amounts of heaven and earth essence, converting it into the purest power that flows through my whole body. Though my cultivation is only the first realm of the mortal path tier just stepped into, the blood-forging realm, I let out a long breath of turbid air. After it leaves my body, that turbid air turns into a black dragon, bearing its claws and fangs, circling once in the air before slowly dispersing. This is the last trace of impurity refined out of me. From now on, I have an unblemished immortal body, one with the true Tao. I slowly open my eyes. 2 beams of golden divine light burst from my eyes, piercing through layer upon layer of chaos energy, striking directly against the boundary wall of the inner universe. Holy crap! I startle myself. Are these really my eyes? They are fiercer than a laser cannon. I quickly rein in my mind, and only then do those 2 fearsome beams slowly fade. I lower my head and look at my own hands, feeling the explosive power within me that seems able to tear apart heaven and earth. The whole feeling is a little unreal. So this is the power of cultivation, I murmur to myself. Just the first realm, and so earth-shaking a change has happened. Then what of the realms after? The shell breaking, the unity, the spirit shaping, and finally the immortal realm. What sights would those be? How does it feel? The patriarch's voice sounds in my ear. I quickly rise from the dais and bow deeply and respectfully toward the patriarch outside the coffin. Thank you, grandfather, for forging my foundation. This grace of remaking me, I will never forget. This bow, I give it gladly from the bottom of my heart. The patriarch has not only given me a tremendous fortune, he has also made me understand the true meaning of the word family. Rise, we're family after all. No need for formalities. The patriarch chuckles as he helps me up, his cloudy eyes full of satisfaction. You have given me a tremendous surprise. The blood-forging realm, gathering 1 million life essences, giving birth to a divine spirit vessel. Tell anyone this and they likely would not believe it. The patriarch looks me up and down, more satisfied the more he looks. From this day on you are without question the foremost prodigy of all the ages in House Vencrest. The praise leaves me a little embarrassed. I scratch my head. It is all thanks to grandfather's good teaching. Enough! Less flattery! The patriarch scolds with a laugh. Your foundation is laid. The rest of the road you must walk on your own. Remember, be neither proud nor rash. The path of the cultivation is long, and the blood-forging realm is only a beginning. I understand. I nod firmly. I know that although my starting point is absurdly high, the road ahead is still long, but in my heart I cannot help feeling pleased. The foremost prodigy of all the ages. Ha ha ha. That title alone sounds exciting. Just then, a cold mechanical voice sounds abruptly in my mind. Ding! A leap level change has been detected in the player's tier, reassessing the player's potential. Assessing. Warning. Warning. An unknown error has been detected. The player's foundation data has overflowed, exceeding the system's computable limit. An unknown conflict has occurred in the system modules. Attempting to restart. Restart failed. Ding ding ding. A string of urgent alarms and garbled data scrolls madly through my mind. I am taken aback. The system. I had nearly forgotten about this thing. I never expected it to pop up at a time like this. The beginner quests have been updated. Main quest 1, survive the dark uprising. Completed. Reward, sovereign bones, 3 to distribute. Main quest 2, kill 1 dark sovereign. Change to a new quest, witness the fall of 1 dark sovereign. Reward, 1 complete earth core essence. Final quest, end this uprising. Change to a new quest, witness the end of this uprising. Quest rewards 1 random immortal body essence and the chaos immortal bell. Failure penalty, none. Oh system, you have finally figured things out. I give the system a mental thumbs up. This is how a proper support system should be. Before, its attitude was too cold and too clueless. Ding. The beginner quest reward, 3 sovereign bones, has been delivered to the system space. It may be withdrawn at any time. The reward sent straight over. My mind stirs. My consciousness sinks into the so-called system space, and I see 3 bones, crystalline and clear, radiating supreme divine might, covered with profound runes, floating quietly in a stretch of empty space. So, these are the sovereign bones. They do look impressive, but I curl my lip. The bones in my own body now have been forged by immortal flame and chaos energy, with immortal runes formed naturally upon them, far higher in grade than these sovereign bones. To me, this thing really is useless. Kael, what is it? Have you run into something you do not understand in your cultivation? The patriarch, seeing me stand there lost in thought, asks with concern. It is nothing, grandfather. I come back to myself and smile. Just now, while I was consolidating my cultivation, a little something popped into my head. As I speak, a thought stirs, and I open my palm. Then 3 sovereign bones appear from nothing, floating above my palm, each one shining with divine light, rumbling with the sound, holding a power of heaven and earth. Out in the world, they would be enough to make saints fight each other bloody for them. The patriarch glances over, mildly surprised. Natural Dao bones, and 3 of them. Your fortune truly is strange. In his eyes, this seems more like my fortune being so overwhelming that, upon my breakthrough, the Tao of heaven and earth offered up a blessing of its own accord. They are all right, I suppose, just feel a bit unnecessary. I weigh the 3 bones in my hand and say it offhandedly. Unnecessary. The patriarch, hearing that word, cannot help but twitch at the corner of his eye. Natural Tao bones are a sign of being favored by heaven and earth, a thing countless prodigies dream of, and in his hands they have become unnecessary. To obtain even one would earn one the name of a first-generation being. A first-generation being, one with the chance to found a whole sect. But then again, on second thought, this grandson of his took the primordial Lotus Deus as his foundation, tempered his body with a true immortal's flame and heart blood, a monster who gathered 1,000,000 life essences. His own bones have long surpassed any so-called Tao bone or divine bone. To him, these few sovereign bones barely count as icing on the cake. I walk out of the immortal tomb, and return to the quiet dwelling the patriarch arranged for me. This was originally a place where the patriarch occasionally went into seclusion to contemplate the Tao. Immortal mist drifts here, auspicious beasts gather in herds, and it is even grander than Lord Aldrich's Hall of Sovereigns. 2 maidservants, lovely in appearance and otherworldly in bearing, already wait here. They are servants carefully raised by House Vencrest, their cultivation at the 14th realm, who normally see to the patriarch's daily needs, and have now been sent to attend to me alone. We welcome the young lord. Seeing me arrive, the 2 maidservants quickly bow, their eyes full of awe and curiosity. They watched with their own eyes as the patriarch took me deep into the forbidden grounds, and so they know that the earth-shaking changes in the family these past days all began with the young lord before them. Rise, there is no need for such courtesy. I wave a hand, my manner easy and relaxed. I look around this dwelling. An immortal spring trickles, divine herbs cover the ground, and a fruit plucked at random holds a surging life essence. From now on, you will be called Alara and Mira. I bestow the names offhandedly, then toss the 3 sovereign bones over carelessly. These, I am giving to you. Take them, use them as ornaments, or grind them into powder and drink them in water, whatever you like. The 3 sovereign bones, shining with brilliant divine light, trace 3 graceful arcs through the air, and drift down lightly before the 2 maidservants. Alara and Mira are utterly dumbfounded. They stare blankly at the 3 bones on the ground, still humming, radiating a terrifying Tao resonance, their minds gone blank. Sovereign bones, given to us? As ornaments ground into powder? Does the young lord have some misunderstanding about treasures? The 2 stand stiff, not daring to move, feeling those 3 bones heavier than 3 ancient sacred mountains. Young lord, this is far too precious. I would never dare accept it. Alara's voice trembles. What is there not to dare? They are just a few worthless bones. I say it without a care. Keeping them does me no good, and they only take up space. If you do not want them, then just throw them away. Throw them away. Alara and Mira feel their very Tao hearts about to crumble. I cannot be bothered with them. I sit down cross-legged, and begin to carefully feel out the mysteries of the blood-forging realm's near-1,000,000 life essences. A thought stirs, and the golden divine figure in my Dantian opens its eyes. The power of 1,000,000 life essences spreads through my whole body in an instant. I lightly clench a fist, and the space around me groans under the strain, fine black cracks appearing in it. What overwhelming power. I am shaken. This is only pure physical strength. Paired with techniques and divine powers, how terrifying would the force be? 7 days for a mortal are but a fleeting moment, and for an immortal house, less than a snap of the fingers. But for House Vencrest right now, these 7 days are enough to make the whole celestial domain tremble. Above the sacred isle of House Vencrest, a colossal gate spanning 10,000 miles, radiating an undying immortal light, stands towering amid the cosmic sea of stars. Around the gate, space is twisted and time runs awry, forming a domain that forbids all techniques. And below the gate, on the boundless training grounds, a dark mass of an army has long since assembled. 1,000,000 war cultivators stand in utter silence. Every one of them is at least at the divine path tier, that is, the 7th realm. Among them, the captains and commanders are powerhouses at the saint and sovereign level. This force, gathered together, its sky-piercing killing aura nearly stains the heavens of the celestial domain blood red. Countless stars tremble for it, and the cosmic laws cry out and shrink away. So vast a stir cannot be hidden at all. Across the whole celestial domain, every undying power is alarmed. On the shore of the eastern sea, the primordial dragon court. Within an ancient palace built from dragon bones tens of thousands of feet long, dragon roars echo. A man with golden dragon horns on his head, a majestic middle-aged figure in imperial robes, sits upon the dragon throne. In his eyes, sun and moon seem to turn. He is the current chief of the primordial dragon clan, a true and genuine dragon emperor, an 18th realm sovereign. You say the undying immortal House Vencrest has assembled 3 legions? The dragon emperor's voice is low, yet it carries a shock he cannot suppress. Below, a trembling scout reports in full detail everything he risked his life to discover. Chief, it is absolutely true. That killing aura, even across hundreds of millions of miles of star regions, nearly tore my soul apart. And that gate, it is terrifying, 10,000 times grander than our clan's dragon ascension gate. The dragon emperor falls silent, and the air in the whole hall grows oppressive to the extreme. Could they be opening an immortal war? A dragon elder blurts out, his voice full of terror. An immortal war! Those words are like a forbidden curse, and they turn the faces of every senior dragon present ghostly pale. The last time an immortal war broke out in the celestial domain was 1,000,000 years ago, when several immortal houses laid siege to House Vencrest. That battle shattered the heavens and split the earth, broke the sea of stars, and turned countless worlds to dust. In the end, House Vencrest still won, and with that one stroke secured its place as overlord of the ancient celestial domain. House Vencrest has been silent for too long, so long that some powers have nearly forgotten how terrifying the fangs of that sleeping lion are. Which clueless fool provoked those madmen of House Vencrest? Investigate. Spare no cost to find out who House Vencrest's target is. Pass my command. Every dragon child abroad is to pull back at once, and is not to clash with any power, House Vencrest's people above all. The dragon emperor slams the dragon throne and issues the command. He knows full well that before a storm like this, even a power as strong as the dragon clan can only choose to avoid its edge for now. Elsewhere. Ancient Emperor Mountain. This is a golden sacred mountain floating at the summit of the celestial domain, said to be the seat of some half-immortal. Within the ancient Emperor Hall at its peak, several blurred figures shrouded in chaos energy are speaking through spiritual sense. House Vencrest has moved. The stir is too great. Not knowing would be hard. What does House Vencrest want? Unknown. But for them to put on a display like this, what they seek must not be small. What I am more curious about is why they act at this particular moment. Do they not fear the things beyond the heavens awakening? Who can say? As long as that old monster of House Vencrest still lives, no one can read what they do. Let us watch and wait. Pass the word, restrain our people from crossing House Vencrest. For a time, the whole celestial domain is on edge. Countless gazes, some in awe, some in fear, some in curiosity, all turn toward House Vencrest's sacred isle. And as the center of the storm, House Vencrest seems unusually calm. Lord Aldrich, robed as an emperor, stands before the Hall of Sovereigns, his gaze sweeping down with disdain, looking down upon the assembled 1,000,000-strong army below. He knows full well of the prying from outside, yet he pays it no mind. Suddenly, he gives a cold snort, and the pressure of heaven and earth erupts. That cold snort is like the heavenly sound of the Tao, spreading through the whole celestial domain in an instant. The countless threads of spiritual sense hidden in the depths of the void, trying to spy out House Vencrest's strength, are in that instant struck as if by an invisible heavenly hammer. They cry out in agony and shatter on the spot. In the secret chambers of countless undying powers, the powerhouses tasked with the spying all spit blood together, their souls wounded, struck with utter dread. House Vencrest holds its war drills. Idle outsiders, stay clear. Aldrich's matchlessly domineering voice rings across the celestial domain, proclaimed to all, war drills. A drill? Who's gonna buy that? Whose war drills mobilize 3 legions and build a skybridge gate? But no one dares to argue back, because that is Aldrich, Lord of House Vencrest, and his word is truth. One word from him, and all things obey. Within the celestial domain, every prying gaze vanishes clean in an instant. Having done all this, Aldrich finally draws back his gaze in satisfaction, and turns to look behind him. The Patriarch and I have, at some unknown moment, come to stand there. Father, Kael, Aldrich bows. Well prepared. The Patriarch nods, his gaze sweeping over the army below, a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. Once, long ago, he too led an army like this in war across the heavens. Grandfather, father, I want to go as well. I look at that magnificent sight, and feel the blood in my body boiling. This is a cross-world war. With something this thrilling, how could I possibly stay home by myself? Nonsense. Hearing this, Aldrich frowns, and his instinct is to refuse. On the battlefield, weapons don't care who you are. Even a vanguard force is full of unknown danger. Kael, you have only just begun to cultivate. If some accident were to happen, let him go before Aldrich can finish. The Patriarch speaks. He looks at me with a chuckle, his eyes full of doting. We who cultivate should have a fearless heart that sweeps aside all foes. A towering tree does not grow in a greenhouse. Since Kael wants to see, then let him see. But father, Kael's safety. Aldrich is still not at ease. It is fine. The patriarch waves a hand. Roar. 9 earth-shaking dragon roars suddenly sound. 9 true dragons, each tens of thousands of feet long, their bodies covered in green-gold scales, their auras rivaling the Saint Realm, draw a palanquin carved from a single block of sacred agarwood, stepping out of the void, to float before me. The 9-dragon palanquin. This was the patriarch's conveyance in his younger years. It is itself a top-grade near-immortal artifact, with astonishing defensive power. The 9 true dragons that pull it are ancient dragon emperors the patriarch subdued with his own hands. With it here, unless an immortal comes in person, no one can harm a single hair of Kael. The patriarch says it lightly. Seeing this palanquin, only then does Aldrich fully set his heart at ease. He looks at his son's eager, excited expression, and smiles helplessly. So be it. Consider it taking him to inspect his own territory ahead of time. Magnus! Aldrich calls out loudly. The red-haired sovereign Magnus steps forward from the army formation, his will to battle high. You will lead 10,000 of the Skyblade Legion as vanguard and scout the way ahead. Remember, your task is to clear away every obstacle for the young lord. By your order. Magnus lets out an excited roar, then turns and bellows to the Skyblade Legion. Skyblade soldiers, march with me. Clear the road for the young lord. Clear the road for the young lord. 10,000 Skyblade soldiers roar as one, their voices merging into a flood that surges into the great Skybridge gate. Kael, go! The patriarch pats my shoulder and I nod. Under the fervent gaze of countless family members, I step up onto that supremely lavish 9-dragon palanquin. The moment the palanquin is about to cross the threshold of the gate, I clearly feel an aura of laws utterly unlike the celestial domain, full of decay and despair, rush against my face. The Shadowmere continent, the central province, the ancient city of Ravenfall, once a flourishing, densely populated city of 10 million people, it has now become a living hell. Black mist shrouds the entire city, sealing off the light of the sky. Not a single sound can be heard within, so dead silent it is terrifying. Countless mortals and cultivators hold the last postures of their lives, frozen stiff where they stand. Their faces still hold extreme terror and despair, but their eyes have lost all light, turned gray and hollow. Their life, essence, and souls are all being drawn out endlessly by an unseen force gathering above the city. Delicious, truly delicious. A whisper that makes the soul tremble comes from the darkness. More, give me more. Once I devour the living beings of this region, I can take that final step and become a truly undying being, surpassing the realm of the Deathless Mountain. This mass of darkness is one of the sources of this uprising, the Forbidden Zone overlord known as the Soul Eater. He has already devoured the northern reach and the western desert, and now his target is the entire central province, intending to use the lives of countless beings to sublimate to the utmost, seeking to break through to the undying, to become a being on par with the great Forbidden Zones. In a corner of the city wall, a girl in tattered clothes clutches tightly the long cold body of her little brother, her body shaking violently with terror. She is the last person still alive in this city. A special bloodline lets her resist that terrifying devouring force for now, but only that much. She can feel her own life force draining away bit by bit. The girl lifts her head in despair, looking at that sky shrouded in darkness, 2 streams of bloody tears running from her eyes. Where are the gods? Where is heaven's justice? Who can come and save this world about to be destroyed? Just as she sinks fully into despair, her consciousness about to scatter, crack, a clear sound, like shattering glass, sounds abruptly in the sky. The girl lifts her head in confusion. She sees that black canopy of sky, so thick it would not disperse, split open without warning into a great rift. It is not the dark clouds parting, it is the whole of space, by a power beyond imagination, torn forcibly apart. A brilliant, holy, supremely domineering immortal light shines in through the rift, piercing like a sharp sword through the black mist that covers the whole city. Long absent sunlight falls upon the girl's pale face, bringing a faint, slight warmth. Then, behind that rift in space, a gate so grand it cannot be described in words slowly emerges. Knights in golden divine armor, riding ferocious beasts, silently walk out from the gate. They are only 10,000, but the iron-blooded, cold aura of slaughter they give off, an aura that sees all things as worthless straw dogs gathered together, is 10,000 times more terrifying than that so-called Soul Eater. What is that? Above the city, a whisper of alarm and doubt comes from that writhing mass of darkness. The Soul Eater senses a threat unlike any before, one that makes him tremble from the depths of his very source. No matter what you things are, since you have come, then become my nourishment. After a brief moment of shock, the Soul Eater is overtaken by endless rage. He will not allow anything to defy his dignity. Boom! The endless black mist churns, turning into a dark giant hand that blots out the sky, slamming down hard toward the 10,000 golden armored knights. This strike holds the grievance force and death aura he gained from devouring countless beings, enough to smash stars and grind away the Tao. And yet, facing this world-destroying blow, the red-haired golden-armored commander at the front shows only a scornful sneer. Magnus, the 3rd elder of House Vencrest, an 18th realm sovereign, does not even bother to act himself. A captain behind him rides one step forward. This captain is merely an ordinary centurion of the Skyblade Legion, his cultivation only the 14th realm demi-saint. He looks at that dark giant hand slamming down, his gaze as calm as if looking at a dead object. He slowly raises the Skyblade in his hand. Upon the Skyblade, golden divine light blazes, and profound law runes flow across the blade. Break! A single cold word leaves the captain's mouth, and he throws it offhandedly. Skyblade turns into a streak of golden light that tears apart heaven and earth, raising no earth-shaking display of force, and simply collides, light and effortless, with that dark giant hand. There is no explosion, no roar. That dark giant hand, enough to plunge every living being of this world into despair, melts away without a sound. The golden light loses none of its momentum, piercing through layer upon layer of black mist in an instant, nailing precisely into the core of that writhing darkness. Ah! A scream, so shrill it does not sound human, bursts from the darkness. The black mist that covered the whole city churns and twists violently, and finally contracts inward all at once, gathering into a man with a withered face robed in black, the true body of the Soul Eater. Right now his chest is pinned fast in the empty air by a golden skyblade, and golden flame, following the wound, is wildly burning his soul and his source. Immortals, you are actually immortals. The Soul Eater's face is full of disbelief. He looks down at the skyblade in his chest, then up at that group of golden-armored knights, their auras deep as the sea, his eyes full of utter terror. That is the realm he had dreamed of. Who on earth are you people? But that captain cannot be bothered with him at all. He cups his hands toward Magnus beside him. Elder, this so-called Dark Sovereign is only at the strength of the 13th realm, the Divine King level. He, an immortal, shows such respect to the man beside him? He says he himself is only the 13th realm? What realms lie above that? The Soul Eater dearly wants to know. But his soul, his source, every trace that he ever existed, are all in this instant utterly purified, turned to nothing. A Forbidden Zone sovereign who plunged the whole Shadowmere continent into a dark uprising dies just like that, dies without a sound, clean and swift. In the corner of the city wall, the surviving girl stares blankly at this scene, mouth open wide yet unable to make a sound. Her mind has been completely blank. But to the soldiers of the Skyblade Legion, this is nothing but a trivial little matter. Magnus watches the Soul Eater vanish and curls his lip. That is it? This is a source of the uprising? Far too weak, not even worthy of warming me up. His spiritual sense sweeps out, covering the whole Shadowmere continent in an instant. But there are quite a lot of these things. He grins, a green light in his eyes. 3 in the eastern wilds, 2 in the southern sea, and a few more hidden in the so-called forbidden zones. Whew, 40 or 50 altogether. This is treating the whole world like a pig for slaughter. Did you all hear that? We heard it. Ha ha ha, this is no dark uprising. This is plainly a fortune beyond measure that the Patriarch has handed us. These are walking military merit, walking cultivation resources. The one in the south is mine, no one fight me for it. Off with you, I saw it first. For a time, the Skyblade Legion's communication channel rings with excited shouting. They look at the dark sources filling the whole world like wolves starved for 3 days and nights catching sight of a fat, plump sheep pen. This is no force come to quell an uprising. This is plainly a crowd come to hit an all-you-can-eat buffet. Just as the Skyblade Legion's soldiers are about to scatter and begin the hunt, roar, 9 majestic mighty dragon roars come from the great gate, instantly pressing down all the clamor. A supremely lavish agarwood palanquin, drawn by 9 true dragons of the 15th realm Saint Heart level, slowly drives out of the gate, descending above this ruined ancient city. The laws of the whole world tremble and submit to it. The curtain of the palanquin is lifted by a slender, pale hand. Robed in white, I step out from the palanquin. From high above, I look down upon this land of utter devastation, feeling that strange aura in the air, woven from destruction and rebirth. So this is my world, I murmur softly to myself. Just then, the system in my mind, which has now fully resigned itself to its fate, carefully pops up a new prompt. The player has been detected arriving in the mission world. A scene quest is triggered, the Master's Inspection. Quest objective, enjoy, with the posture of a victor, the fireworks prepared for you. Quest reward, a personal soundtrack, the song It's So Lonely at the top. I sit in the 9-dragon palanquin, as comfortable can be. The space inside the palanquin is enormous, practically a moving palace. A soft couch made of 10,000-year warm jade sits at the center, and at the small table beside it, the 2 lovely maidservants Alara and Mira are carefully peeling spirit fruits for me, and warming divine wine. This spirit fruit is the crimson fruit native to the sacred isle of House Vencrest. A single one can remake a mortal's body and extend their life by 100 years. This divine wine is brewed from hundreds of divine herbs. An ordinary cultivator drinking a single mouthful would save 100 years of bitter training. But now, in my hands, these things are no different from ordinary grape juice. I lie half reclined on the couch, listening to the system's prompt in my ear, too lazy even to look at it. My gaze passes through the lifted bead curtain, looking down at that ancient city already reduced to ruins, and at the Skyblade Legion soldiers outside the city, scattering in every direction, howling like hungry wolves. The corner of my mouth cannot help but curl up. Third uncle and the others, their drive really is something. I know full well in my heart that these so-called dark sovereigns before the true sovereigns of House Vencrest do not even count as a dish. At most they are dessert after the meal. Right now, as the Skyblade Legion's soldiers scatter, the sky over the whole Shadowmere continent begins to bloom with brilliant fireworks, each firework marking the fall of one dark source. In the eastern wilds, a demonic ape tens of thousands of feet tall, formed from gathered grievance, has just awakened from slumber and roars at the sky. Before it can display its might, a commander of the Skyblade Legion drives a spear straight through the crown of its skull, pinning it dead upon the mountains. Its massive body bursts apart with a roar, turning into a sky full of pure source energy. In the southern sea, upon an island heaped from countless corpses and bones, two dark sovereigns with terrifying auras are dividing up the life fortune of a continent's living beings. Suddenly, a sword light descends from the sky, splitting the entire island, and them with it, cleanly in two. The power of law within the sword energy erases everything of them utterly in an instant. In the northern plains beneath the snowfields of an icy peak, an ancient sovereign who believed himself well hidden is dragged forcibly by a Skyblade Legion soldier out from tens of thousands of feet below the earth. Held in hand like a small chick, under the sovereign's terrified, pleading gaze, the soldier slaps him into a mist of blood. Own overlords, who in the eyes of the Shadowmere continent's natives were as unbeatable as a doomsday calamity, invincible disasters, before the army of House Vencrest are as fragile as paper. This is no war at all, it is a one-sided slaughter. Truly a delight to watch. I lean back on the soft couch and sigh with heartfelt feeling. Just as I am enjoying this grand fireworks show, my spiritual sense stirs, and I suddenly notice something interesting. To the east of the ruins of Ravenfall City, in a valley about 1,000 miles away, a dozen odd ragged figures are fleeing in panic, and behind them, a few demonic beasts that escaped from the Soul Eater's black mist are giving chase. These dozen odd people are not high in cultivation. The strongest is only at the Tao-seeking realm, yet every one of them carries an unyielding will, especially the youth at their head. Though gravely wounded, he still stands firmly before the others, shielding them. The blood flowing through his body is actually golden. Interesting. A human emperor body. My curiosity is piqued. In the celestial domain, the human emperor body counts as a fine constitution. It cannot compare to my own immortal body, but if it grows, becoming a saint is not out of the question. I never expected to come across one in a small place like this. Well then, meeting is a kind of fate. Today I am in a good mood, so I will offhandedly do a small kindness. As I think this, I casually take from the fruit tray beside me a crimson fruit I have not finished eating, and flick it with a finger. Then that half a crimson fruit turns into a streak of light, crossing 1,000 miles in an instant, appearing precisely before that human emperor body youth. In the valley, young master, run! We will hold the rear. A loyal guard plants himself before the youth, roaring as he detonates his own soul, turning into a sea of fire that halts the demonic beasts for a moment. Uncle Wallen! The youth's eyes are wide enough to tear, his eyes blood red. They are the heirs of an ancient house in the central province. When the dark uprising broke out, their family was destroyed. They are the last surviving sparks, fleeing here through mountains of corpses and seas of blood, yet now it seems they too have reached the end. Young master, we cannot let the guard Wallen die for nothing. We must go. The others pull the youth, trying to keep fleeing. But just then, a red light descends from the sky, hovering before the youth. It is a half-eaten fruit. Everyone is stunned. What is going on? A pie falling from the sky. No, a fruit. The youth is bewildered too. But when he smells the life essence the fruit gives off, an essence so vast it makes his very soul tremble, he is overcome. He freezes completely. He can feel that if he eats this half a fruit, not only will his wounds heal in an instant, his cultivation will even break through directly. This is a divine fruit. Surely a divine fruit bestowed by a divine being. Without the slightest hesitation, he grabs the fruit past caring about anything else and stuffs it straight into his mouth. A terrifying energy instantly explodes within him. His once gravely wounded, dying body is restored whole in an instant. Golden blood energy surges skyward, and his cultivation climbs higher and higher. Mid-Tao-seeking realm, late Tao-seeking realm, the peak, the seventh realm, the heart-tempering realm. A miracle, a true miracle. Which divine being came to our rescue? Together they turn toward the direction the fruit came from. That is, toward the city of Ravenfall, and kneel down, kowtowing in deep emotion. Thank you, Divine One, for saving our lives. If I, Liang, one day can quell the uprising, I will surely build a temple and shape your statue for you, offering worship day and night, in the nine-dragon palanquin. Hearing this desperate, full-throated thanks, I only smile faintly. A temple and a statue are not needed. It was nothing more than a flick of the hand. To me, this truly is nothing more than a small effort, like a billionaire tossing a single coin to a roadside beggar, not even bothering to remember what the man looks like. And yet, the whole Shadowmere continent suddenly shudders violently without warning. An aura 10 million times more terrifying than all the dark sovereigns before combined surges skyward from a forbidden zone of life in the deepest part of the Shadowmere continent, the Sky Burial Veil. That aura makes the cosmic laws of the whole world cry out in sorrow, makes the laws shrink away. Even the Skyblade Legion soldiers sweeping the land all halt their movements, faces grave as they look toward the Sky Burial Veil. Outside the palanquin, the third Elder Magnus, who has been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opens them, a flash of excited battle will in his gaze. At last something worthwhile has shown up. A dark sovereign at the 17th realm saint level? Interesting. Now I can finally stretch my muscles properly. The Sky Burial Vale, foremost of the 7 forbidden zones of life on the Shadowmere continent. It is said to be a battlefield of gods and demons from the previous era, burying more than one true god or demon. Grievance and death aura weave together here, forming the most terrifying death ground on the whole continent. Even before the Dark Uprising broke out, this place was every cultivator's nightmare. Even a saint risked death entering it. And now, as that terrifying aura awakens, the whole Sky Burial Vale shudders violently. Towering mountains piled from the bones of gods and demons collapse with a roar. Bottomless chasms split open across the dry, blood-red earth, and endless dark death aura erupts from the chasms like a geyser. Who dares wake me? That voice seems to hold some kind of magic. Merely sounding it makes the whole central province, and indeed every surviving being on the whole Shadowmere continent, tremble from the depths of their souls. The natives of the Shadowmere continent, who had just glimpsed a sliver of hope at the Skyblade Legion's arrival, fall once more into endless despair. Oh no! What is that? The thing in the deepest part of the Sky Burial Vale has awakened. It is over. All of it is over. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Countless cultivators turn ashen-faced. Some with weaker minds have their souls crushed by this aura on the spot and die where they stand. Even the human emperor body youth Liang, whose cultivation just soared with the divine fruit, is now pale-faced, his body trembling beyond his control. What a terrifying aura. This is surely a being beyond an immortal. The guards beside him collapse limp to the ground, without even the strength to stand. Before this aura, they feel like a small boat in a raging storm, one that could capsize at any moment. Under the terrified gaze of countless beings, at the center of the Sky Burial Vale, a colossal black stone coffin slowly rises from the earth. Branded upon the stone coffin are sun, moon, and stars, the birth and death of the cosmos. Aura after aura, thick beyond dispersal, spreads out terrifyingly from within it, pressing the heavenly Tao of the whole world into a cry of sorrow. It is the Dark Sovereign Emperor, the supreme being who slumbers in the deepest part of the Sky Burial Vale. It is said he was the emperor who once unified the Shadowmere continent in the last era. To seek immortality, he did not shrink from cutting himself with a blade and falling into darkness. He is actually still alive. Some old monsters who have lived countless ages, who know some of the ancient secrets, let out wails of despair. A pseudo-emperor realm. In their eyes, with a figure like this emerging, the whole Shadowmere continent will be left without a single shred of hope. Crack! The lid of the stone coffin slowly opens. A withered, pale hand, its nails black as ink, reaches out from the coffin, resting on its rim. Then, a figure in a tattered yellow robe, crowned with an imperial crown, his face gaunt, slowly sits up from the stone coffin. With nothing more than a simple act of sitting up, the void of the whole Shadowmere continent cracks inch by inch like a mirror. Countless law chains take shape around him, then snap apart in an instant. In his hollow eye sockets, 2 soul fires of ghostly blue slowly kindle. His gaze seems to pierce through space and time, locking in an instant onto those golden armored knights above Ravenfall City, whose aura is utterly foreign to this world. Outsiders. The Dark Sovereign Emperor's raspy voice sounds again, carrying a trace of doubt. Interesting. You can actually tear the world barrier and descend to my resting place. Have you two come for the ripened core essence of this world? He slowly rises to his feet, and a terrifying aura, looking down on all under heaven, supreme and alone, erupts from him. A pity, you have come too late. The core essence of this world belongs to me. Since you have come, then together with this world, become the provisions for my path to immortality. As the words fall, he raises that withered palm, and lightly presses it toward Ravenfall City. There is no earth-shaking display of force, no world-destroying phenomenon, but under that single press, the heaven and earth of the whole central province seem gripped by an invisible giant hand. Everything, space, time, the laws, the spiritual energy, all collapse inward and annihilate. Everyone feels a wave of suffocation, and yet, just at the moment when every native of the Shadowmere continent believes the end of the world has come, a burst of laughter, full of fervor and excitement, suddenly sounds from within the ranks of the Skyblade Legion, drowning out the Dark Sovereign Emperor's posturing aura. A mere saint, and you call yourself an emperor? Magnus steps forward from the army formation, his battle will erupting like a volcano. Looking at that dark giant hand pressing down, far from feeling any fear, he is so excited, his whole body trembles. The next moment, his body swells wildly at an unbelievable speed. 1,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 100,000 feet. In the blink of an eye, Magnus has become a towering Dharma god, whose head touches the heavens and whose feet tread the earth. Golden blood energy flame burns over his whole body, every inch of muscle full of explosive power. A terrifying sovereign pressure surges skyward, scattering the Dark Sovereign Emperor's prideful aura to pieces. What? In the Dark Sovereign Emperor's hollow eye sockets, the 2 soul fires jolt violently, clearly shocked by what is before him. A powerhouse, of the same tier, and one whose blood energy is so vigorous, whose laws are so refined, that he seems even above himself. How is this possible? He is the strongest. How could the outside world give birth to a powerhouse like this? Before he can think it through, Magnus's fist, larger than a mountain, has already roared in with a terrifying force that tears apart heaven and earth. Break! A thunderous shout rings across heaven and earth. Two supreme forces collide in midair with a roar. The imagined scene of heaven collapsing and earth splitting does not occur. The Dark Sovereign Emperor's hand, enough to annihilate a whole realm, before Magnus's fist of utterly pure violence, is like something made of paper, smashed apart by a single punch with crushing ease. The golden fist wind loses none of its momentum, and strikes directly against the Dark Sovereign Emperor, between the 17th Realm Saint and the 18th Realm Sovereign. The two realms, though they differ by only one realm, that is the vast gap between the Saint Path tier and the Immortal Path tier. And what is more, Magnus is no weakling among sovereigns. The Dark Sovereign Emperor's indestructible pseudo-emperor body flies backward like a torn sack, slamming hard into the depths of the sky burial veil, shattering the mountains heaped from the bones of gods and demons. One punch, just one punch, and a Dark Sovereign Emperor who plunged the whole Shadowmere continent into despair is sent flying. Every being on the whole Shadowmere continent watching this battle is dumbstruck. Liang stands with his mouth wide open, feeling his mind can no longer keep up. Those elders who were ashen-faced moments ago are now blank with shock. What is going on? This is not how the script goes. Inside the Nine-Dragon Palanquin, I watch this scene and curl my lip too. Uncle Magnus is as brutal as ever. He could clearly have settled it with law powers, yet he insists on using his fists. As I grumble inwardly, I casually pick up another spirit fruit and take a bite. Who are you? In the ruins of the sky burial veil, the Dark Sovereign Emperor crawls up in a sorry state. A huge fist print is caved into his chest, his yellow robe in tatters, the imperial crown on his head askew. His ghostly blue soul fires stare fixedly at Magnus's heaven-spanning Dharma body, his voice full of shocked rage and disbelief. You are not of this world. Your laws, your Tao, are utterly foreign to this realm. You are people of the celestial domain. Why have you crossed worlds to come here? He has finally caught on. This group is not of this world at all. So much chatter. Magnus digs at his ear, a look of impatience on his face. He looks down on the Dark Sovereign Emperor from on high, as if looking at a chicken waiting for slaughter. Stop yapping. Hurry up and show your true form. My young lord happens to be short a mount to pull his carriage, and I think you will do nicely. Short a mount to pull a carriage? The instant Magnus speaks those words, the whole world goes silent. In the Dark Sovereign Emperor's hollow eye sockets, the two soul fires jolt wildly, as if about to leap out. He doubts he has heard correctly. He, the mighty Dark Sovereign Emperor, supreme ruler of the last era, and now someone says he is to become a mount. What an utter humiliation. You seek death. The words come out one by one, as if forced through clenched teeth, carrying endless rage and killing intent. Boom. A dark aura many times more terrifying than before erupts from his body. All the death aura and grievance of the whole sky burial veil, in this moment, as if summoned, rushes wildly toward his body. His frame begins to swell, his withered flesh growing full again. Black demonic patterns surface across his body, giving off an aura of ill omen and destruction. I will tear you to 1,000 pieces. The Dark Sovereign Emperor roars at the sky, his voice shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Yet facing this desperate display of his, Magnus only curls his lip in disdain. Angry? Good. I have not had my fill of fighting yet. He twists his neck, which gives a crisp series of cracks, and in those eyes, more brilliant than the sun, the battle will burns ever higher. Let me show you what real power is. Magnus lets out a roaring shout, and golden blood energy flame surges skyward from his towering Dharma body, burning a huge hole straight through the heavens. He swings his fist again. This time his fist is wound with law chains, each chain seeming to hold a supreme authority, overbearing and fierce, one force breaking all techniques. Lie down for me. Boom. This punch directly shatters space and time and grinds away the Tao. The Dark Sovereign Emperor's pupils shrink sharply. From this punch he feels a threat of death that makes his very soul tremble. He wants to dodge but finds the space around him already fully locked by that terrifying fist intent, with nowhere at all to flee. No! He can only let out a howl of despair, gathering all the dark source power of his entire body before him, forming a dark divine shield of immense thickness. But all of it is in vain. Crack! That dark divine shield, enough to block an ordinary sovereign's full force blow before Magnus's fist, does not hold for even a single breath. It shatters with a roar. The golden fist drives straight in, slamming solidly into the Dark Sovereign Emperor's chest. The Dark Sovereign Emperor spits out another mouthful of black blood. His whole chest, along with the bones and organs inside, is completely punched into nothing. His body plows a bottomless massive trench through the sky burial veil's already shattered ground. This time, he cannot crawl up again. He lies at the end of the chasm, with only half a body left, his aura sunk to the utmost low. Those ghostly blue soul fires flicker, now bright, now dim, as if about to go out at any moment. He has lost utterly and completely, with no suspense at all. From start to finish, he did not even touch the hem of his opponent's robe. Why, both of us pseudo-emperors, why is the gap so vast? The Dark Sovereign Emperor murmurs to himself, his voice full of unwillingness and confusion. Magnus's towering Dharma body takes a single stride, arriving above the chasm in an instant. He looks down at him and sneers. Pseudo-emperor? You are a saint. Who calls himself a pseudo-emperor alongside you? I am a sovereign. A genuine proper 18th realm sovereign. A false emperor like you, who took a shortcut by devouring a world's core essence. How are you fit to be spoken of in the same breath as me? Only in this broken place, where the laws are incomplete, and 90% of my strength is suppressed. Otherwise, you could not withstand even one of my fingers. Magnus's words strike the Dark Sovereign Emperor's heart like a heavy hammer. A sovereign, the 18th realm. What kind of realms are these? He knows only that the pseudo-emperor realm he stands at is the endpoint of cultivation in this world, and above it lies the legendary immortal. Could the realm divisions of the celestial domain be entirely different from those here? This thought chills him to the bone. Enough! Stop playing dead! Magnus reaches out a great hand, and as if grabbing a small insect, plucks the Dark Sovereign Emperor's broken body from the chasm. I give you two choices. 1. Show your true form now and obediently become my young lord's mount. From then on you will live well, and you might even tag along to a shot at immortality. 2. I crush you to death right now, draw out your source, and refine it into a great pill. Choose for yourself. Magnus's voice carries not a trace of feeling. The Dark Sovereign Emperor falls silent. His remaining half a body trembles faintly in Magnus's hand. Dignity. Before absolute strength and death, what is dignity worth? For immortality, he was willing to cut himself with a blade, fall into darkness, and cling to a wretched survival for several eras. Now, a chance to live, even perhaps to truly attain immortality, lies before him. Does he even have a choice? I choose one. A humiliated, bitter voice comes from the Dark Sovereign Emperor's mouth. Good thing you know what is good for you. Magnus nods in satisfaction. The Dark Sovereign Emperor's broken humanoid body begins to twist and change violently. And at last, after a flash of blinding light, a beast of enormous size, covered all over in black scales, a single horn on its head, twin wings on its back, resembling a Kirin yet more ferocious and imposing, appears in midair. This is the Dark Sovereign Emperor's true body, a dark Kirin from ancient times. Only now, this dark Kirin who once overawed an era has not a shred of dominance left in its eyes, only endless humiliation and a trace of confusion about the future. Not bad. It looks rather imposing. Magnus looks it over, then offhandedly stamps dozens of seals onto its body, taking full control of its life and death. Having done all this, he carries this newly taken mount back before the nine-dragon palanquin, and with the look of one showing off a treasure, calls out to me inside the carriage. Kael, look, this mount I caught for you, how about it? From now on, let it pull the carriage when you go out. It is far more imposing than those 9 long worms. Inside the carriage, I set down the jade cup in my hand, and look, rather speechless, at that dark Kirin with its lifeless expression. Uncle Magnus, I already have the 9-dragon palanquin. Getting another mount, is it not a bit unnecessary? Not unnecessary, not unnecessary. Magnus thumps his chest until it booms. This is a Santir mount. Our house has a few too, but a mutated Kirin like this, there are not many of them. Just then, a long-absent voice suddenly sounds in my mind. Main quest 2 detected. Kill 1 Dark Sovereign. Change to witness the fall of 1 Dark Sovereign. Completed. Final quest detected. End this uprising. Change to witness the end of this uprising. Completed. Distributing quest rewards. Reward. Earth Core Essence 1 complete. Delivered to the system space. Reward. 1 random immortal body essence. Delivered to the system space. Reward. The Chaos Immortal Bell. Delivered to the system space. All beginner quests completed. The Myriad Worlds Arran System is officially renamed the Myriad Worlds Vacation System. System Sprite Aria is at your devoted service. Honored player, what service would you like now? Would you like Aria to play a soundtrack for you? Before I can even grumble at the system's sudden change, I am drawn in by that string of rewards. Earth Core Essence, Random Immortal Body Essence, the Chaos Immortal Bell. Good grief, each reward tops the last. System, no, wait, Aria, is it? I ask tentatively in my mind. Bring out all the rewards for me. Of course, honored player. System Sprite Aria's cloyingly sweet voice sounds. The next moment my system space undergoes an earth-shaking change. That once empty space instantly becomes a lavishly furnished penthouse suite, and on the table at its very center sit 3 items. A golden orb of light, radiating supreme imperial might, seeming to hold the birth and death of a complete universe, is the Earth Core Essence. An orb of light wrapped in chaos energy, its shape unclear, yet giving off an aura that shares an origin with my own immortal body and yet differs from it, must be the Random Immortal Body Essence. And last is a bronze bell, ancient and heavy, cast entirely from some unknown divine metal, branded all over with sun, moon, stars, and ancient chaos runes. That bronze great bell is the Chaos Immortal Bell. My gaze is drawn in an instant to that Chaos Immortal Bell. I can feel that this bell, my grandfather's bronze immortal coffin, and the primordial lotus dais on which my foundation was forged, all seem to come from the same place, carrying the same ancient aura from the dawn of creation. Absolutely a heaven-defying treasure. Aria, what is the story behind this Chaos Immortal Bell? I ask with curiosity. In answer to the player, the Chaos Immortal Bell is a primordial supreme treasure born alongside the primordial lotus dais. It governs slaughter and war. When the bell tolls, it can pin down all the ages of space and time, and grind away the cosmic laws. Its power is boundless, a primordial supreme treasure that governs slaughter and war. My eyes light up at once. I happen to be short a handy weapon, and this chaos immortal bell comes at just the right time. As for that earth core essence, it is of no small use to me either. My father Aldrich is at the heavenly emperor realm. If he can refine this orb of essence and add the core essence of this world, he might truly, as grandfather said, glimpse the mysteries of the true immortal realm. As for that random immortal body essence, I take a glance and find it is the essence of an undying body. The undying body holds the flesh to be imperishable, unworn by 10,000 calamities, said to revive from a single drop of blood. It too is an extremely powerful immortal body, but I am already an immortal body, and there is a source conflict between immortal bodies, so I cannot fuse a second. This thing though could go to my father or grandfather. As I calculate inwardly, Kael, what are you thinking about? Magnus's voice pulls me from my thoughts. It is nothing, Uncle Magnus. I come back to myself and look at his face full of excitement, and at the one he holds in his hand, that dark Kirin who has now fully resigned itself to its fate, and I say, I will take this mount then. Thank you, Uncle Magnus. Though I feel I have no use for it, it is, after all, a token of Magnus's goodwill, and hard to refuse. Ha ha, as long as you like it. Magnus is overjoyed and casually tosses the dark Kirin down before the 9-dragon palanquin. The dark Kirin lands, its massive body making the earth shudder. It glances at the 9 true dragons of terrifying aura that pull the carriage, then at the utterly ordinary-looking youth upon it, and a complex look flashes in its eyes. He cannot understand how it, a mighty pseudo-emperor, no wait, now a saint, has fallen so far as to pull a carriage, alongside 9 reptiles, for a blood-forging realm brat. This world is too insane. Elder, all forbidden zones have been cleared. Reporting to the Elder, the remnants of the eastern wilds are wiped out, the southern sea is pacified. Just then, spiritual sense messages converge from all across the Shadowmere continent, reporting the state of battle to Magnus. In just this short while, the dark uprising that ravaged the whole Shadowmere continent for hundreds of years has been utterly quelled by this vanguard force, the Skyblade Legion. Those dark sovereigns, invincible and lofty in the eyes of the Shadowmere continent's natives, did not stir up so much as a decent splash before they were all struck dead. Well done! Magnus nods in satisfaction, then turns to me and says, Kael, this world has been swept clean. So next, do we start drawing out the world's core essence directly, or? His meaning is clear. This world is already mine, and I may do with it as I please. I think for a moment, then say, no rush, it is not going anywhere anyway, and I have not had a proper look around. Show me about first. I am still quite curious about this world. After all, it is the first gift I have received in my life, and one ought to inspect one's own estate, no? All right, no problem, Magnus agrees readily. Wherever you want to go, I will take you. Let us go see those so-called forbidden zones of life first. I hear there are plenty of good things inside. I say, the system told me these forbidden zones of life are all from the last era, or even more ancient times, and hide quite a few secrets and treasures inside. Now all of these belong to House Vencrest. Let us go. We will head to the Sky Burial Vale right now. Magnus waves a broad hand, and personally drives the 9-dragon palanquin, while that newly appointed Dark Kirin temporarily serves as a guard, following alongside the carriage, all flying together toward the Sky Burial Vale. Along the way, the sight of the Shadowmere continent is one of utter devastation. Dried bloodstains and broken corpses lie everywhere across the land, and countless cities have become ruins. The once flourishing world of mortals is now left only with dead silence. Though the sources of the dark uprising have been cleared away, the wounds this catastrophe has left will likely take tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years to slowly heal. But none of this has anything to do with me. I am only a victor come to collect the fruits of victory, not a savior. Soon, the 9-dragon palanquin descends above the Sky Burial Vale. By now, the Sky Burial Vale has been thoroughly plowed through by the Skyblade Legion. Every dark creature, all the grievance and death aura, has been cleared away spotlessly. That dead silent aura that once made the soul tremble has vanished, replaced by an ancient vast aura. I step out of the carriage and tread upon this land paved with the bones of gods and demons. I can feel that an immense energy lies beneath this earth. Uncle Magnus, there might be good things down there. Understood. Magnus gives a sly chuckle. Take everything, leave nothing. It is the long-standing way of House Vencrest. He waves a hand at the Skyblade Legion soldiers behind him. Did you all hear that? Start digging. Turn over every last foot of this ground. All treasures go to the young lord. By your order. Thousands of Skyblade Legion soldiers answer in one voice, and then, like diligent engineers, begin a carpet-style excavation across the Sky Burial Vale. Some soldiers manifest towering Dharma bodies outright, their hands like giant excavators scooping up a whole mountain in one grab. Some soldiers send out their treasures, which turn into beams of divine light, plunging deep into the earth to seek out the aura of treasures. For a time, the whole Sky Burial Vale rings with the clang and clatter of digging. I, meanwhile, stroll about to the side with my hands behind my back, like an overseer. Young lord, look at this. Before long, a captain comes running over eagerly, holding a length of golden bone in his hands. This was dug up from underground. It seems to be the limb bone of an ancient divine ape, and a trace of undying divinity still lingers on it. It is superb material for forging. I take a glance and curl my lip. It is all right. I give it to you. Thank you, young lord. The captain is overjoyed. Following the young lord truly means there is meat to eat. Young lord, look at this one too. Another commander comes running over, holding up a divine herb that shimmers with brilliant color. This is a saint herb at least 100,000 years old, the ninefold soul-returning herb, with the miraculous power to raise the dead and put flesh back on bare bones. I give it a sniff and nod. A nice smell. Take it and brew some tea. Young lord, I have dug up a vein of divine metal here. Young lord, I have found a blood pool with the remnant soul of a god or demon sleeping in it. Young lord, for a time all manner of spoils are brought before me in an endless stream. These treasures, any one of which on the Shadowmere continent would be enough to set off a storm of blood, in my eyes all seem utterly ordinary. House Vencrest has all of these things. I have used them since I was a child. They would be better given to these House Vencrest soldiers who follow me and will serve me in days to come. Just as I am feeling a little bored, about to return to the carriage and go on lounging, a streak of light from afar is flying toward us at great speed. Within that light is the figure of a woman in a tattered robe, her face strikingly beautiful, yet carrying a trace of valor and weariness. Her aura has, strikingly, reached the 14th realm demi-saint. The light slices across the sky, and finally halts at the edge of the sky burial veil. The glow scatters, revealing a tall and resolute figure. She is the Shadowmere continent's last pillar of the human race, the Shadowmere Empress Lyra, who has been bitterly holding up the surviving powers. The robe she wears has long since become ragged from years of war, stained all over with dried blood, some of enemies, and some her own. That face, which ought to be peerlessly lovely, is now written with weariness and gauntness, only those phoenix eyes still burning with an unyielding flame. She has come. The instant she sensed that 17th realm aura awaken in the sky burial veil, she did not hesitate at all. She bade farewell to the followers under her and rushed here alone. She knew this journey held only death and no life. The Dark Sovereign Emperor was a being she could not imagine, and even less contend with, but she had to come. As the human race's only empress, she had the duty, and the obligation, to shed her last drop of blood for the survival of the human race. Even if only to win the surviving people one more sliver of a faint chance to live, she was willing to give her own life. And yet, when she truly arrives at the sky burial veil, the sight before her leaves her utterly stunned. The world-destroying might of a pseudo-emperor she had imagined has not appeared. The dead silence and ill omen that shrouded this place for all the ages have also vanished without a trace, replaced by a bustling worksite, at the core of that forbidden zone, where legend says even saints dared not set foot. Thousands of knights in golden divine armor, their auras so terrifying they make her very soul tremble, are digging the ground. Some have become towering giants, using both hands to flatten mountains piled from the bones of gods and demons as easily as mounds of dirt. Some send out all manner of treasures she has never heard of, boring bottomless pits into the earth. Clang and clatter, the sounds of digging and shouting rise one after another. Hey, you over there, you have dug over into my patch. Off with you, I clearly had my eye on this plot first. This god-demon skull is mine, no one fight me for it. Everything belongs to the young lord. Anyone who dares hide loot will face military law. Lyra stares blankly at this scene, feeling her whole view of the world overturned in this moment. What is going on? The sky burial veil is being torn down by force? Who on earth are those golden-armored knights? And who is this young lord they speak of? Her mind goes blank, utterly unable to comprehend the absurd, bizarre sight before her. Just as she hovers in alarm and doubt, a figure ambles leisurely out of that worksite. It is a youth who looks no more than 18 or 19, dressed in a simple white robe, black hair loose over his shoulders, his face impossibly handsome. He walks with his hands behind his back, like a wealthy landlord inspecting his estate, a touch of idle boredom on his face. The instant Lyra sees that youth, her pupils shrink sharply. She cannot see through him. With her demi-saint cultivation, she cannot read my depth at all. I simply stand there, perfectly ordinary, without a single ripple of power on my body, like a defenseless mortal. Yet Lyra's instinct is screaming warnings at her. Who is he? Lyra's heart leaps into her throat in an instant. Meanwhile, I have also noticed this uninvited guest who has suddenly appeared. I look Lyra over and feel mildly surprised myself. A demi-saint, and a woman at that. Not bad looking, only dressed a bit raggedly, like a beggar. But that sword in her hand is interesting. My gaze falls on the ancient longsword Lyra grips tightly in her hand. That sword, its blade covered in cracks, its edge much chipped, looks like a piece of scrap iron. But I can feel, from within that sword, a faint yet incomparably pure aura of an immortal artifact. A half-immortal artifact, and in sword embryo form at that. My interest is piqued. Such a thing is rare even in the celestial domain. Though it is only a broken one, if the right materials can be found to repair it, and a top-tier forging master sets to work on it, it might be forged into a true immortal artifact. House Vencrest never has too many immortal artifacts, since one could always arm the patriarch from head to toe with them. Hey, you the beggar! I lazily wave a hand at Lyra. Lyra's body goes stiff, scarcely able to believe her ears. Beggar? Is he calling me? I, the dignified Shadowmere Empress, the last hope of the human race, am a beggar in his eyes? A wave of humiliation surges up in her at once, but she does not dare to flare up. because the moment I speak, the thousands of golden-armored knights working all around halt their movements as one, and cold, sharp gazes, enough to tear apart heaven and earth, lock onto her in an instant. Lyra feels a chill shoot straight from the soles of her feet to the crown of her head. She has no doubt that at the slightest move on her part, she would be torn to shreds by these terrifying gazes the next second. She draws a deep breath, pressing down the humiliation and fear in her heart, and steps forward. Walking carefully toward me, every step is unbearably hard, as if what she treads on is not the bones of gods and demons, but a mountain of blades and a sea of fire. Come here. Seeing her dawdle, I impatiently crook a finger. Lyra's heart tightens, and she dares not delay any further, quickening her steps. At last she reaches me. Up close, she feels even more clearly the faint, almost imperceptible aura on me, a terrifying aura that yet seems merged with a cosmic Tao. She even has the illusion that I am not a person, but the incarnation of this heaven and earth, the embodiment of the Tao. You are? Lyra speaks with difficulty, her voice dry from tension. I do not answer her question, but reach out and point at the sword in her hand. That broken sword of yours, let me see it. My tone is not a request, but a command natural and beyond question. Lyra's heart sinks. This Immortal Slayer sword is a supreme treasure her sect has passed down for countless ages, and her greatest reliance now. Though it is broken to less than a tenth of itself, it is still one of the finest divine weapons on the whole Shadowmere continent. Now this mysterious youth with a single word demands her sword. This is an inheritance of my sect. I must respectfully refuse. Lyra grits her teeth and, mustering the greatest courage of her life, refuses. And yet, the instant her words fall, boom, a terrifying killing intent erupts behind her. A golden-armored knight holding a skyblade has, at some unknown moment, appeared behind her, the cold blade hovering at the back of her neck. With one light stroke, her head would fall in an instant. When the young lord tells you to hand it over, you hand it over. Where does all this chatter come from? The knight's cold voice, like a death god's verdict, sounds in Lyra's ear. Lyra's body goes rigid in an instant, cold sweat soaking her back. She does not doubt the truth of his words for a moment. She can feel that if she dares say one more word of refusal, the next second she would be destroyed body and soul. Lyra feels a chill at her neck. The sharp aura coming off that golden skyblade makes every hair on her body stand on end. She does not doubt that if she says one more word, the thing at her neck would slide down without mercy. Who on earth are these people? Lyra's heart sinks to the very bottom. She came resolved to die, to fight the dark sovereign emperor of the Sky Burial Vale. She never imagined that, instead of meeting the sovereign emperor, she would run into a group even more terrifying, and even more unreasonable. I look at this woman before me, her whole body rigid, her face pale, yet whose eyes still hold a streak of stubbornness, and I find it a little amusing. At a time like this, she is still being defiant with me. I wave a hand, signaling the guard behind her to withdraw. Seeing this, the Skyblade Legion Knight gives a cold snort and draws back the Skyblade. Yet the killing intent locked onto Lyra does not lessen in the slightest. All right, do not frighten the girl, I say it lazily. Though this world is mine now, I am no bandit and will not take your things for nothing. Hearing this, Lyra's taut nerves loosen a little. Not a bandit, which means there is room to talk. This sword of mine is named Immortal Slayer. It is a token passed down by my sect and means a great deal to me. I hope you can understand, my lord. Lyra draws a deep breath, keeping her tone as steady and composed as she can, and explains. Immortal Slayer? I raise an eyebrow. Quite the bold name for a battered half-immortal sword embryo to dare call itself that. Lyra's heart jolts. A half-immortal artifact, a sword embryo. He saw through the true nature of the Immortal Slayer sword at a single glance. The origin of this sword is an absolute secret on the Shadowmere continent, known to no one but the successive empresses. Even she herself only learned, after inheriting the throne from her sect's ancient texts, that this sword was no ordinary thing, but an existence beyond a saint weapon. Yet this youth before her has casually named its very roots, and with a look of disdain at that. All right, no more chatter. I impatiently cut off her train of thought. I have taken a liking to this sword of yours. Name your price. What would you like in exchange? My interest in this world is growing. A world that can only give birth to 17th realm sent weapons, and one that took a wrong path at that, could nurture a half-immortal sword embryo. That in itself is most unusual. Exchange? Lyra is taken aback. She never imagined her opponent would propose a trade. For a moment, her mind cannot quite catch up. Exchange for what? What? Cannot think of anything? I look at her dazed expression and curl my lip. Never mind. Looking at how shabby you are, you probably cannot produce anything good anyway. I casually start rummaging through my storage ring. This storage ring was a gift from my mother at my coming-of-age ceremony at 18. The space inside is frighteningly large, more than enough to hold dozens of treasuries. Do you want this? The ninefold golden pill. Even a Santir powerhouse who is wounded by taking one can be lively again at once. I take out a jade bottle and wave it before Lyra. Lyra's eyes nearly pop out of her head. The ninefold golden pill. Is that not the supreme divine pill that, by legend, only an immortal can refine? And meant for Santir powerhouses? And what kind of realm is the Santir? She feels her understanding being refreshed again and again. Do not want it? Seeing she does not respond, I casually toss the jade bottle back, and keep searching through the ring. Then how about this? Leaves from the ancient Enlightenment tea tree. One sip puts a person into a state of sudden insight, to comprehend the cosmic laws. The effect is decent. I take out a packet of tea leaves wrapped in divine silk. Lyra's breath nearly stops. The ancient enlightenment tea tree. This one she knows. Is that not a heaven and earth spirit root that exists only in the most ancient myths? Legend says one sip of tea brewed from its leaves lets one become a saint on the spot. He actually has a whole packet, and describes it as merely decent, and would discard it too? Seeing her still frozen stiff as a wooden chicken, I grow a little impatient. Why are you so slow? Never mind, I cannot be bothered to waste words on you. A bit irritated, I swipe through the storage ring and pull out a jade bottle that looks the most unremarkable of all, and toss it straight into Lyra's arms. This is for you. Inside are 10 saint-breaking pills. Anyone below the saint realm who takes one can break through a major realm directly, with no real side effects, only the taste is not great. That broken sword of yours I will count as bought. With that, not waiting for Lyra to react, I send out an invisible force that sweeps up the Immortal Slayer sword in Lyra's hand. It leaves her grip beyond her control, and drifts lightly into my hand. Lyra instinctively clutches the jade bottle in her arms, utterly stunned. She looks down at the jade bottle in her arms, giving off a rich pill fragrance, then up at the youth who has already begun toying with her sword, and her mind crashes completely. Saint-breaking pills. Below the saint realm, break through a major realm directly, with no side effects either. She feels as if she is dreaming. A heaven-defying pill like this, and he just casually tossed it over. 10 of them at once, all to exchange for this broken Immortal Slayer sword of hers. This is no trade. This is plainly naked charity. A sense of absurdity and shock unlike any before rises in Lyra's heart. She had always believed herself the most supreme being on the Shadowmere continent, the guardian deity of the human race, the empress whom countless beings looked up to. But it is only today that she discovers how ignorant she is, how poor. Before these people, everything she took pride in seems so laughable, so utterly beneath mention. The sword is rather good, only a bit broken. I hold the Immortal Slayer sword, and weigh it in my hand. It is slightly heavy to the grip, and the unyielding sword intent on the blade pleases me well. Uncle Magnus, I call back over my shoulder. Hey, Kael, what is it? Magnus, who has been standing to the side like a door god, comes trotting eagerly over. Trouble yourself to find a forging master to repair this sword for me. Add some fine materials, and make it look good. I casually toss the Immortal Slayer sword to Magnus. All right. Magnus catches the sword, takes a glance, and nods. It is a fine embryo. I will have the family's best master artificer work on it for you. I guarantee it will be made beautiful so you can carry it out with pride. As he speaks, he glances at Lyra, still standing petrified beside them, and gives a sly chuckle. Kael, what shall we do with this girl? Her bone root looks decent. How about catching her too, to be a maid for you? A maid? Lyra shudders all over, startled out of her petrified state. She looks at this slyly grinning red-haired brute, then at that youth with his indifferent face, and a sorrow beyond words wells up in her heart. I, the dignified Shadowmere Empress, am to fall so far as to be someone's maid? She clenches her fists, nails biting deep into her palms. Humiliation, defiance, rage, all kinds of feelings weave together in her heart, but in the end all of it turns into a deep helplessness. Resist? Resist with what? A single glance from them could destroy her body and soul. She is now fish on the chopping block, to be carved up at others' will. A maid? I take a glance at Lyra. I have to admit, though this woman is dressed a bit raggedly, her foundation truly is not bad. Tall in figure, strikingly beautiful, and especially that cold yet stubborn air, which is rare indeed among the pampered saintly daughters and princesses of the celestial domain. But I already have plenty of maids. Alara and Mira are both Santir attendants, masters of music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and unmatched at cleaning the room and folding the covers. They wait on me very comfortably, so for now I do not wish to add anyone. Never mind. I cannot be bothered. I wave a hand, my interest faint. I look at Lyra, the gaze like one cast on an object of no consequence. But then I shift my tone and rub my chin, as if a thought has struck me. This world has been beaten to a wreck now, without even anyone to manage things. You seem to be the highest in cultivation among this world's natives. Lyra's heart tightens. Not knowing what this mysterious young lord is scheming, she can only steel herself and nod. In answer to my lord, I am Lyra, the empress of the human race of the Shadowmere continent. On that last word, empress, her voice grows as small as a mosquito's hum. Before these people, she truly has no face to call herself an empress. An empress, then. I nod with a look of understanding. All right, since you are an empress, then from now on this world is handed to you to manage. I say it offhandedly, as if arranging some trivial little matter. What? Lyra is taken aback again, doubting something is wrong with her ears. What did he say? Hand this world to her to manage. What does that mean? What I mean is, from this day on, Lyra is the agent of me, Kael, in this world. Seeing her unworldly look, I explain a little impatiently. Your task is to manage this world well for me, restore order, soothe the living, and along the way, gather for me whatever rare treasures of heaven and earth, interesting things and the like this world has. Of course you do not work for nothing. From now on you are my subordinate, and with me behind you, in this world you can walk however you please. Anyone who does not yield, just give them my name. I fold my arms across my chest and lift my chin slightly, striking the pose just right. I am giving you a chance to be my follower. How about it? Will you do it? A follower? An agent. Lyra's mind can no longer think at all. Happiness. No, it is shock. That has come too suddenly. She had thought the best fate awaiting her was to be caught and made a lowly maid, to lose her freedom from then on, to be at others' mercy. She never imagined that, far from harming her, he would instead give her a promise she would not dare even dream of, becoming his follower, managing the whole Shadowmere continent. Is this real? She looks at this youth before her. Though his tone is flippant and his manner haughty, those clear eyes carry an inborn, unquestionable authority. His word is truth, and the promises he speaks will surely be fulfilled. It is a confidence born of absolute strength and supreme standing. What, still unwilling? Seeing her give no response for a long while, I frown. Let me tell you, the people who want to be a follower of me would line up from the southern gate of the celestial domain all the way to the northern gate. I give you this chance because you are pleasing enough to the eye. Do not fail to know your good fortune. Magnus beside us chimes in too. That is right, girl. Think it through carefully. This is a heaven-sent fortune. Who is our young lord? He is in short the most honored being of House Vencrest. To be his follower is good fortune earned over 8 lifetimes. Lyra shudders all over, and finally comes back to herself from the immense shock. She looks at me, and in those phoenix eyes, once full of despair and weariness, there now remains only endless excitement and fervor. She knows this is her only chance, the only chance for herself, and for the whole Shadowmere continent. Holding on to this thickest of thick thighs, not to mention rebuilding the Shadowmere continent, even leading the Shadowmere continent to a glory unlike any before, is not impossible. She hesitates no longer. She drops to one knee before me, right hand pressed to her chest, and performs the oldest and most solemn knight salute of the Shadowmere continent. Lyra is willing to follow you, my young lord, to swear loyalty unto death, and never to betray. Her voice rings firm and resolute. From this moment, she is no longer that lonely, unsupported Shadowmere empress who held on through bitter struggle. She is a follower of the young Lord Kael, the foremost prodigy of all the ages in the Immortal Dynasty. Very good. I nod in satisfaction. I have finally found myself some free labor. From now on, I will not have to bother with the chores of this world myself. From my storage ring, I take out another token carved with the word Vencrest and toss it to Lyra. This is my identity token. Keep it. If you ever run into trouble you cannot handle, crush it and I will send someone to help you. Also, stop calling me young lord. It sounds awkward. Just call me my lord. Yes, my lord. Lyra takes the token in both hands, as if receiving a priceless treasure. She can feel that this seemingly ordinary token holds a power that makes her heart quiver, as if it has formed a connection with some great being in the unseen. All right. If there is nothing else, go and get to work. I wave a hand, as if dismissing a servant. Remember to gather up those battered remnants of soldiers under you. This junk my Uncle Magnus and the others dug up. No wait, these spoils still need people to carry them. Lyra glances at that pockmarked, dug-up sky burial veil, and at the mountains of divine materials and treasure herbs heaped around it, any single one of which would drive a saint mad. The corner of her mouth cannot help but twitch. These are all junk? Does this lord have some misunderstanding about the definition of junk? But she does not dare ask further, and can only answer respectfully, "Yes, my lord. Lyra will see to it at once." With that, she rises, and turns into a streak of light, flying off into the distance. Only this time, her departing figure no longer carries resolve and tragic grief, but is full of an unprecedented hope and drive. Watching Lyra's departing figure, Magnus leans over to my side and chuckles. "Kael, that move of yours was clever. Without spilling a drop of blood, you subdued a demi-saint as a strong-arm, and along the way solved the matter of governing this world. You have the style your father had back in the day." I shoot him a sideways glance. "What do you mean, strong-arm? This is called recruiting talent. Let us go, Uncle Magnus. This place is about dug out. Take me to see the next forbidden zone." Lyra returns at top speed to the last gathering place of the human race, the Sky Mystic Sanctuary. This was once a top cultivation sanctuary of the central province, a foremost holy ground for cultivation, but it was destroyed long ago in the Dark Uprising. Now only broken walls and ruins remain, which Lyra has made into a temporary base. When her familiar figure appears above the Sky Mystic Sanctuary, the tens of thousands of human cultivators below erupt in earth-shaking cheers. "It is the Empress! The Empress is back! Wonderful! The Empress is safe and sound!" A white-haired old man, his cultivation already at the 14th realm demi-saint, flies tremblingly forward, his face full of the relief of one who has survived a calamity. He is the old Saint Lord of the Sky Mystic Sanctuary's previous generation, and the most senior, most powerful elder at Lyra's side now. "Your Majesty, you have returned at last. As for the Sky Burial Veil," the old Saint Lord's voice carries a trace of trembling and fear. "Not long ago, that terrifying aura from the Sky Burial Veil plunged nearly everyone into despair. They had all believed their Empress was going to certain death." Lyra looks at these people who follow her, their faces full of concern, and a flood of emotion fills her heart. She draws a deep breath, and with all her strength, announces loudly, "Everyone, listen to me. The Dark Sovereign Emperor who awakened in the Sky Burial Veil has been subdued by divine beings from beyond the heavens. The dark uprising that ravaged our Shadowmere continent for hundreds of years is over." Her words are like a thunderclap, exploding in everyone's mind. The whole Sky Mystic Sanctuary first falls into dead silence, then erupts in cheers of disbelief 10 million times stronger than before. "What? The dark uprising is over? Heavens, am I not dreaming? We are saved." Countless people embrace and weep, weeping for joy. They were oppressed by darkness for far, far too long, so long that they had nearly forgotten what hope was, and now, hope has fallen from the heavens in a way they could never have imagined. The old Saint Lord is so moved that old tears stream down his face. He grasps Lyra's hand and asks incoherently, "Your Majesty, what on earth happened? And who are these divine beings from beyond the heavens?" Lyra looks at the crowds, excitement, and a flood of feeling fills her heart too. Everything she saw and heard at the Sky Burial Vale, apart from the matter of her becoming Kael's follower, she tells the crowd in full. When they hear that those dark sovereigns, powerful enough to destroy the world and plunge countless beings into despair, were before those golden-armored knights as fragile as ants, wiped out as easily as slicing melons and chopping vegetables, everyone is struck speechless with shock. When they hear that even the legendary Dark Sovereign Emperor was blown apart by a single punch from a red-haired divine general, and in the end caught and made into a mount, they feel their entire worldview shattered. This is beyond the bounds of their comprehension. What kind of great beings could they be? Your Majesty, do you mean that our Shadowmere continent has been saved by those divine beings from beyond the heavens? The old Saint Lord takes a long while to digest it before he can barely grasp the meaning of Lyra's words. You could say that? Lyra nods, her expression turning utterly solemn. But they did not come to be saviors, they came to conquer. From now on, the Shadowmere continent has changed masters. Its new master is a lord named Kael, and I, Lyra, have sworn loyalty to that lord. From now on, I will serve as the Lord's agent in this world, in charge of managing all the affairs of the Shadowmere continent. The moment these words come out, the crowd, just now immersed in joy, is stunned again. The world has changed masters? The Empress has sworn loyalty to someone? This news shocks them even more than the end of the Dark Uprising. Your Majesty, how can this be? A fierce-tempered young general cannot help but step out to object. Our human race only just escaped the Dark Uprising. How can we bow beneath someone else again? You are the Empress of our Shadowmere continent. How can you swear loyalty to an outsider? Insolence! The old Saint Lord's face changes and he shouts sternly. Her Majesty has her own deep purpose in doing this. How dare you make objections here? Under the rebuke, the young general shrinks her neck, but her face is still written with defiance. And it is not only her. Many present hold similar thoughts in their hearts. They admire the Empress's character, and are grateful for the life-saving grace of the divine beings from beyond. But to have them hand over the rule of their own world to an outsider they have never met, emotionally they cannot accept it just yet. Lyra looks at the crowd's reaction, and seems to have foreseen it. She does not grow angry, but only looks calmly at the young general and asks, General Talia, let me ask you, if not for the Lord and the divine soldiers under him, could we have defeated the Dark Sovereign Emperor? General Talia opens her mouth, but cannot speak. Could we have quelled the Dark Uprising? General Talia's head sinks lower. Could we have brought this devastated, law-shattered world back to life? General Talia is silent. Lyra's gaze sweeps over everyone present, and her voice grows high and forceful. None of it. We could do nothing. We could only watch helplessly as this world slid into the abyss of ruin, watch our kin, our fellow people, die one by one in dark uprising after dark uprising, like an endless cycle. It was the Lord who gave us hope. It was He who gave this world a chance at rebirth. Do you think swearing loyalty to Him is a humiliation? Let me tell you, this is no humiliation. This is glory. To be able to follow a great being like the Lord is a fortune our whole Shadowmere continent could not earn in 8 lifetimes. Her voice echoes through the whole Sky Mystic sanctuary, striking like thunder. Everyone is moved by the feeling in her words, and one by one they lower their heads, faces showing shame. Yes, what right do they have to question the Empress's decision? What right do they have to find fault with the divine ones who saved them? To be alive at all is already an immense grace. Lyra looks at the silent crowd, and her tone softens. She carefully takes out from her robe the jade bottle I bestowed. I know there may still be doubts in your hearts, but when I let you see this little thing the Lord casually granted, you will understand just how vast the gap is between us and Him. She unstoppers the jade bottle. A rich pill fragrance beyond description bursts out of the bottle in an instant, turning into auspicious clouds and rays of colored light, shrouding the whole Sky Mystic sanctuary. Everyone who smells this pill fragrance, no matter their cultivation, no matter how grave their wounds, in this moment feels the wounds within them healing at an unbelievable speed. Some cultivators stuck at a bottleneck for years even feel a trace of loosening in their cultivation. What divine pill is this? The old Saint Lord is closest, and feels it most clearly. With one breath of the fragrance, he feels his long-withered blood energy growing full again. He stares fixedly at the jade bottle in Lyra's hand, his eyes full of shock. Lyra pours out a pill the size of a longin, shimmering all over with color, covered with profound pill patterns, and holds it in her palm. This pill is called the Saint-Breaking Pill. The Lord says that below the Saint Realm, taking one allows you to ignore any bottleneck and break through a major realm directly. What? This time even the old Saint Lord can no longer keep his composure and cries out aloud. Break through a major realm directly? How is this possible? This utterly defies the common principles of cultivation. Your Majesty, you are not joking, are you? An elder asks in a trembling voice. Lyra does not answer, but lets her gaze fall on the young general who just stepped out to object to her. General Talia, you are now at the 13th realm, the Divine King realm, only one step from the Saint realm. Yet you have long been unable to break through. Is that right? General Talia nods, a touch of shame on her face. This pill then I grant to you. Lyra holds out the saint-breaking pill in her hand. Do you dare take it before everyone here? General Talia looks at the pill Lyra holds out, and her whole body goes stiff. She is trembling slightly, not from fear, but from an excitement she can hardly hold back. Her name is Talia, the finest general among the human race's younger generation. She followed the Empress in campaigns north and south, winning brilliant merits. Her talent is outstanding, reaching the peak of the 13th realm at a young age, hailed as the one most likely to step into the Saint Realm within 100 years. But only she herself knows that this one step is like an unbridgeable chasm to her. She has been trapped at this bottleneck for a full 50 years. In those 50 years, she tried countless methods, escaped death trials, braved deadly grounds, even brushed death to obtain a Saint herb. Yet none of it worked. The Saint Realm is a threshold unseen and untouchable, yet truly real, holding her firmly outside the door. And now, the Empress tells her this small pill before her can let her step straight over that threshold. How is this possible? It is not that she does not trust the Empress, but that she dares not believe such a heaven-defying thing exists in this world. What is it, General Talia? You do not dare? Lyra looks at her, her voice calm, yet carrying an unquestionable force. Or do you think I would use a poison pill to harm you? I would not dare! Talia jolts and quickly drops to one knee. I only find it too unbelievable. I am willing to try it for you, my majesty. A flash of resolve crosses her eyes. Even if it were a poison pill, so what? Her life was saved by the Empress to begin with. To verify the pill's truth for the Empress, she would die without regret. And besides, what if it were real? That would be the Saint Realm, the realm she has dreamed of. At this thought, Talia hesitates no longer. She holds out trembling hands and takes the saint-breaking pill from Lyra's palm. Without the slightest hesitation, under tens of thousands of gazes, she tilts her head back and swallows the pill. The pill dissolves the moment it enters her mouth, turning into a gentle warm current that flows through her whole body in an instant. There is no violent energy as imagined, nor any pain. Talia cannot even feel any change at all, as if she had merely drunk a mouthful of warm water. She is taken aback. Could it be fake? The crowd around her holds their breath too, craning their necks, staring fixedly at Talia, wanting to see what reaction she will have. 2 breaths, 3 breaths, nothing happens. Talia is still the same peak 13th realm Talia. A sigh, barely audible, rises from the crowd, and disappointment shows on many faces. As expected, what miraculous pill could there be in this world? It seems the Empress was deceived by those people from beyond too. Just as that young general's face shows a bitter smile too, and she is about to beg the Empress's pardon, a supremely terrifying aura erupts from within Talia without warning. Golden saint light surges skyward like an erupting volcano, punching a huge hole straight through the clouds above the sky mystic sanctuary. The laws of heaven and earth, in this moment, as if summoned, rush wildly toward Talia's body. Profound saint path runes take shape and circle around her, sounding the resonance of the Tao. This is the omen of becoming a saint. The old Saint Lord is the first to react. His eyes go wide, his mouth open wide enough to hold a fist, and he points at Talia, wrapped in saint light, his voice growing shrill with excitement. She is really going to break through. Everyone is dumbstruck. One moment there was no sign of anything, and the next she directly draws down the omen of sainthood. This is far too fast. This utterly defies common sense. When an ordinary person breaks through to the Saint Realm, who does not prepare for decades in advance, bathing and fasting, adjusting their state, then secluding themselves for years or even decades, only barely able to break through that thread of mystery amid brushes with death? But Talia? She just took a single pill, standing here, in the span of mere breaths, and she is about to become a saint. This is no breakthrough. This is plainly as simple as eating and drinking. Under everyone's stunned gaze, Talia slowly rises into the air. Her eyes are closed, as she feels the unending, seemingly inexhaustible power within her. She can clearly feel that the bottleneck that troubled her for 50 years, before the power of that pill, is like something made of paper, broken through with effortless ease. Her soul is sublimating, her flesh is transforming, and her comprehension of the cosmic Tao soars wildly at an unbelievable speed. The Saint Realm. So this is the power of the Saint Realm. Talia lets out a long cry at the sky, a cry like a dragon's roar, shaking the 9 heavens. She opens her eyes abruptly, and 2 near-solid beams of golden divine light burst forth. The whole sky mystic sanctuary, under her saint might, trembles faintly. She has succeeded. She has truly stepped into the 14th realm demi-saint, and her aura is still climbing steadily at a terrifying speed. Early demi-saint realm, mid-demi-saint realm, until the late demi-saint realm, where it slowly stops. A single pill not only carried her straight over the chasm from the divine path tier to the saint path tier, it also broke her through 3 minor realms, directly reaching the cultivation of the late saint realm. The whole sky mystic sanctuary is in dead silence. Everyone, as if struck by an immobilizing spell, stares blankly at that figure in the sky radiating sky-high saint might, their minds gone empty. A divine feat. This is no longer a divine feat. This is a myth enough to overturn the understanding and worldview of every one of them. Talia descends from the air, and without the slightest hesitation, toward Lyra, toward the empty direction behind her, prostrates herself fully and kowtows hard. This guilty general Talia thanks the Lord for the grace of remaking her. From now on, Talia's life belongs to the Lord. If the Lord tells me to go east, I will never go west. If the Lord tells me to kill someone, I will not so much as furrow my brow. Her voice no longer holds a shred of defiance, only endless fervor and devotion. In this moment, she truly understands the true meaning of Lyra's words. This is no humiliation. This is glory. To follow a being like this is far more than glory. It is a supreme grace bestowed by the heavenly Tao. Looking at Talia, who is newly risen to the saint realm kneeling on the ground, not one of the human cultivators present holds any doubt anymore. Their gazes all turn at once to Lyra, to the jade bottle in her hand, full of the same fervor as Talia. Led by the old Saint Lord, the tens of thousands of human cultivators present all kneel down as one. We are willing to follow Her Majesty the Empress. We are willing to die for the Lord. The sound, like a roar of mountains and seas, rings to the heavens. Lyra looks at this scene before her, her heart surging too. She knows that from this moment, the Shadowmere continent will be bound fully into one rope. No voice will ever again dare to question her decision, dare to question the will of that Lord. Rise, all of you. Lyra lifts a hand, her voice restored to the dignity and calm of an empress. Old Saint Lord, General Talia, I am here. I am here. The two answer in unison. You will at once marshal every soldier still fit to fight, take stock of all usable supplies, and before dawn set out with me for the Sky Burial Vale. By your order, the two, without the slightest hesitation, accept the command and depart. Your Majesty, what do we go to the Sky Burial Vale for? An elder asks curiously. Lyra glances toward that pockmarked, dug-up forbidden zone, and the corner of her mouth curves into a wry smile she does not even notice herself. To help the Lord clean up the battlefield and carry the spoils. When Lyra arrives at the Sky Burial Vale with her mighty army of human cultivators, what she sees is an even more shocking sight. The Sky Burial Vale, once pockmarked from digging, has now been completely turned upside down. A bottomless pit, as if leading straight to the planet's core, appears where the forbidden zone once stood. Around the rim of the great pit are heaped mountains of all kinds of divine materials and ancient treasures, 10,000 rays of rosy light, 1,000 streams of auspicious glow, nearly blinding to the eye, and I am sitting idly bored on a chair made of divine metal. At my feet that dark Kirin who has now fully resigned itself to its fate, as docile as a big black dog. My lord, the people you asked for, I have brought them for you. Lyra steels herself and steps forward to bow. Behind her, the tens of thousands of human cultivators, led by the old Saint Lord and the newly risen Saint Talia, upon seeing the sight before them, are collectively struck speechless. They feel their hearts nearly stop beating. Mountains of saint herbs, divine metal, and Dao bones, any single one of which would set off a storm of blood on the Shadowmere continent, are here piled carelessly on the ground like junk. Talia especially, having just become a saint, is at her most spirited and proud. But seeing that band of golden-armored knights, every one with an aura no lower than her own former one, many of them even carrying a pressure that makes her heart leap with fear, that little pride that had just risen in her is doused clean in an instant. Only then does she understand that the saint realm she takes such pride in may truly count for nothing in the eyes of these people. I lazily lift my eyes and glance at this band of battered remnants Lyra has brought. The highest in cultivation is only Atalia, who just stepped into the saint realm, and an old saint with withered blood energy, and of the rest, even divine king realm cultivators are few. I curl my lip, a little disdainful, but thinking that this world has already been beaten to a cripple, and that scraping together even this many people is no small feat, I say no more. All right, as long as they are here. I point at the few mountains of treasures heaped to the side. See those? All of that is granted to you. What? Lyra and the human cultivators behind her are once again collectively stupefied. Granted? Granted to them? Those are mountains of supreme treasures. Among them are no shortage of divine objects that exist only in legend. All of it, just given to them like that? My lord, this is far too precious. We are unworthy to accept it, the old Saint Lord says in a trembling voice. Less chatter. When I tell you to take it, you take it. I wave a hand a little impatiently. I have no use for this junk. Keeping it only takes up space. Take it, restore your strength quickly, manage this world well for me, and stop causing me trouble all day long. The crowd exchanges glances, for a moment not knowing what to say. This lord is far too generous. A warmth wells up in Lyra's heart. She knows this is me supporting her, and supporting the whole human race. She declines no further, and bows deeply toward me. On behalf of the countless living beings of the Shadowmere continent, thank you for this rich gift, my lord. Thank you for this rich gift, my lord. Behind her, the tens of thousands kneel as one, their voices full of heartfelt gratitude and fervor. All right, get up and get to work. I wave a hand. Sort the rest of these things by category and pack them up, then deliver them to my palanquin. Yes, my lord. Spurred on by those mountains of treasure, the human cultivators are instantly full of drive. Every one of them, as if fired up, rushes forward and happily takes up the work of hauling. Watching this bustling scene, I nod in satisfaction. Free labor really is handy. Uncle Magnus, have you finished scouting? Which is the next forbidden zone? Let us go. I rise from the chair and stretch. The next is the Deathless Mountain. Magnus flies up out of the great pit, excitement on his face. Kael, I just questioned the remnant soul of that dark Kirin. I hear the Deathless Mountain hides a longevity elixir fruit. Legend says eating it lets one become an immortal on the spot, a longevity elixir fruit. My interest is piqued. I myself am an immortal body, and I am sensitive to anything connected with the word longevity. Then why did it not go in and eat it itself, and instead start some dark uprising? It is said the being inside made it uneasy, so it planned to wait until it broke through to the immortal realm, that is, our 18th sovereign realm, before going in to seek it. Let us go, take a look. At my command, the 9-dragon palanquin sets off again, and the dark Kirin too, dutifully follows alongside as a guard. The group flies in a mighty procession toward the Deathless Mountain, leaving only Lyra and a crowd of human cultivators, staring at the sky burial veil, now stripped utterly bare, exchanging glances, a mix of feelings in their hearts. A forbidden zone of life that had endured for several eras, that made countless saints pale at its name, is just gone like that. The Deathless Mountain, the other forbidden zone of life on the Shadowmere continent of equal renown. Legend says this mountain holds a divine spring of agelessness, and an elixir of longevity, but that a forbidden being also lurks within. Any who enter without leave, no matter how high their cultivation, are in the end stripped of their lifespan, becoming a handful of dry bones in the mountain. When the 9-dragon palanquin descends at the outer edge of the Deathless Mountain, everyone feels an aura utterly unlike the Sky Burial Veil. If the Sky Burial Veil was dead silence and ill omen, then the Deathless Mountain is an eerie vitality. Here ancient trees soar to the sky, vines coil like dragons, and all kinds of rare flowers and herbs long extinct in the outside world are seen everywhere. A rich life essence, nearly turned into solid mist, flows through the mountain. But beneath this scene brimming with vitality hides a death intent that makes the heart quiver, as if all life is merely the nourishment of this great mountain. Interesting. I step out of the palanquin, and can feel my immortal body produce a faint, almost imperceptible repulsion toward the aura here, as if meeting one of its own kind, but a kind that has walked a crooked path. All of you, be on your guard, Magnus shouts at the Skyblade Legion soldiers behind him. This place is a bit sinister. Do not fall into a trap. Yes. Thousands of Skyblade Legion soldiers answer in one voice, each one's killing aura surging skyward. Their golden blood energy, like a great furnace, drives away the eerie life mist around them clean. With even steps, following behind the 9-dragon palanquin, they step into the Deathless Mountain. The moment they enter, a sudden change occurs. The ordinary-looking ancient trees and vines around them, as if coming alive, turn into immensely thick tentacles, lashing wildly at the Skyblade Legion's formation. Each vine flickers with Saint Path runes, their power enough to easily strangle an ordinary saint. A petty trick! A Skyblade Legion captain gives a cold snort, and sweeps the Skyblade in his hand. A golden blade light 1,000 feet long sweeps out, shredding tens of thousands of vines to powder in an instant. And yet, the severed vines, the moment they hit the ground, turn back into life essence, merging into the earth, and at once more vines bore up from below, as if without end. At the same time, eerie shrieks rise from deep in the forest, as stone men and tree demons formed from mountain rock and ancient wood awaken from their slumber. Their eyes are blood red, giving off a terrifying aura rivaling a saint, and they charge fearlessly at the Skyblade Legion. Kill! The Skyblade Legion's soldiers show not the slightest panic. They form a battle formation, their blood energy linked, becoming an indestructible whole. Golden Skyblades swing, tearing the lunging monsters to shreds. But these monsters, like the vines, soon reform after being smashed, as if they cannot be killed at all. Uncle Magnus, this place is a bit. Watching this scene, I frown slightly. It is sinister indeed. Magnus's expression turns grave too. These monsters seem joined to the whole Deathless Mountain. As long as the mountain's core essence is not destroyed, they can revive without limit. And I feel they are constantly absorbing the life force our soldiers give off. He points at that seemingly thick life mist. There is something wrong with this mist. It is stealing vitality. Stealing vitality? Hearing Uncle Magnus's analysis, I frown harder. My own immortal body senses life aura far beyond ordinary people. From the moment I stepped into this deathless mountain, I have felt an extreme discomfort, like someone standing beside you holding a straw, one not yet stuck into you, but whose very intent already raises goosebumps all over you. This is exactly the feeling the deathless mountain gives me. At every single moment it gives off a greed and hunger for life. Kael, this place is too eerie. We cannot let the soldiers keep being drained like this. Magnus looks at the battle formation ahead. Though the soldiers' blood energy is still vigorous, and they would be fine for 8 or 10 years, the life essence on them is indeed draining away at a barely noticeable speed. The Skyblade Legion soldiers are all treasured by House Vencrest, each one built from vast resources. If any were lost here, he would have his hide flayed by his elder brother when he got back. These cursed things cannot be killed, and they suck our life force too. They are like a nest of blood-sucking mosquitoes, utterly maddening. The more Magnus speaks, the more his sovereign aura bursts out beyond his control. Kael, step back. Watch me flatten this wretched mountain with one punch. I would like to see whether, once the mountain is gone, these cursed things can still live. As he speaks, he is about to manifest his towering Dharma body, ready to solve the problem the way he does best. In his view, there is no problem a single punch cannot solve. And if there is, then 2 punches. Wait, Uncle Magnus. I quickly speak up to stop him. However maddening a mosquito is, you do not burn down the house for it. And what if the being inside is precisely waiting for him to make a move? Kael, what is it? Do not worry, I know my limits. I promise it will not so much as touch your palanquin. Magnus thinks I am afraid of being caught in the blast. That is not what I mean. I look rather speechless at this muscle-headed uncle of mine. What I mean is, since this mountain is called the Deathless Mountain, it must have its secrets. To wipe it out with one punch like that would be such a waste. I walk to the front of the palanquin with my hands behind my back, and look at the fearless, endlessly reviving army of monsters in the distance. My eyes hold not a trace of fear, but instead are full of curiosity and scrutiny. An ecosystem that can self-cycle and steal vitality. If this thing were studied thoroughly, it might be worth more than simply blowing it up. I rub my chin, the little abacus in my head clicking away. The way this deathless mountain operates is practically an unconventional perpetual motion machine. Though its path went crooked and turned into a plundering mode, the core laws of it must have something worth taking. If this set of laws could be analyzed and merged into the family's grand mountain guarding array, would House Vencrest's defenses not rise another level? This is far more interesting than simply finding a longevity elixir fruit. Kael, what do you mean? Magnus does not quite grasp my idea. In his view, a sinister, crooked thing like this should just be destroyed. Why study it? What I mean is, to catch the bandits, first catch their leader. To strike a snake, strike its vital point. I point toward the depths of the mountain range. These small monsters cannot be killed off. Their source must be inside the mountain. We go straight in and take out its lair, and is that not the end of it? This both solves the problem and maximizes this mountain's value. The treasures inside we can take whole and intact. Magnus is taken aback for a moment, then slaps his thigh. Right, why did I not think of that? Kael, your head works better than mine, not like me who only knows fighting and killing. He scratches his head a little sheepishly, then excitement and battle will return to his face. Alright, then we go straight in and cut our way through. I would like to see just what monster this mountain is hiding. Magnus turns around and lets out a roaring shout at the Skyblade Legion. All soldiers, hear my order. Form the Sky Mystic battle formation and grind your way straight through. Target the core of the Deathless Mountain. By your order! Thousands of Skyblade Legion soldiers roar as one, their auras instantly joining into one. They no longer fight as individuals, but become one giant golden arrowhead, with a commander at the 17th Realm Saint as its tip, boring fiercely toward the depths of the Deathless Mountain. Wherever the formation passes, whether the indestructible stone men or the eerie, unfathomable vines, all are ground to powder in an instant. A flood of gathered golden blood energy purifies every evil thing clean. Though the crushed monsters still try to absorb life essence and revive, the speed of their revival lags far behind the speed of the formation's advance. A broad road, paved with destruction and purification, is forced open through the Deathless Mountain just like that. The nine-dragon palanquin follows unhurriedly behind the formation. I leisurely return inside the curtain and lie back down on my couch of 10,000-year warm jade. The two maidservants, Alara and Mira, quickly hand me peeled spirit fruits again. My lord, try this one. It is a longevity fruit just picked from the Deathless Mountain. They say eating it adds 600 years to one's life, Alara says softly. I pick up the fruit, crystalline and clear, giving off an enticing fragrance, take one look, and toss it aside. A second-hand life force that has been stolen, how good could it taste? I curl my lip with a look of disdain. With my immortal body, I have an instinctive distaste for vitality gained through plunder. The dark Kirin beside me, seeing this, cannot help but twitch its eyelids. A longevity fruit. That is one of the most top-tier divine objects in the Deathless Mountain. He had eaten them in its day, with miraculous effect even on a saint. Had it not been for the good luck of finding 10 of them, extending its life by 6,000 years, he might not have made it to today. Yet now this lord actually finds the taste distasteful, and calls it some second-hand life force. Is being alive not enough? Just as the dark Kirin is questioning, the nine-dragon palanquin gives a sudden jolt and stops. Why have we stopped? I sit up and look outside. The Skyblade Legion's battle formation ahead has also been forced to a halt. Before them appears a vast lake. The water is not clear, but a strange milky white. A thin mist drifts over the surface, giving off a life aura 100 times richer than before. And at the center of the lake is a small island no more than 100 meters across. On it grows a small tree, green all over, shimmering with color, as if carved from jade. On the tree hangs a fruit the size of a fist, shaped like an infant. The fruit is still faintly breathing, and with each breath, the water of the whole lake rises and falls with it. A life aura that makes even me start comes from that very fruit. The longevity elixir fruit. Magnus's voice, full of shock and wild joy, rings out outside. That is the longevity elixir fruit? I stand on the palanquin, narrowing my eyes as I study the small tree on the Lakeheart Island, and the infant-shaped fruit on it. I can clearly feel the life energy held within that fruit. So vast it is unimaginable, even purer and more surging than the drop of true immortal's heartblood my grandfather gave me. Even I would likely need to step into the Saint Path tier to have this much vitality. I cannot imagine how long it took to accumulate. How many people's vitality went into forging a single longevity elixir fruit? We are rich, we are rich. Kael, we have truly struck it rich this time. Magnus rubs his hands, so excited his face flushes red, nearly drooling. He stares fixedly at that fruit, his gaze like a lecher starved for 800 years catching sight of a peerless beauty. This is absolutely the legendary humanoid elixir fruit, and by the looks of it, fully ripened. If a sovereign took its potency, he could likely touch the threshold of the Heavenly Emperor realm. The more Magnus speaks, the more excited he grows, wishing he could rush over right now and pluck that fruit and swallow it in one bite. And not only him. The Skyblade Legion soldiers behind him are all breathing fast too, their eyes fervent. A longevity elixir fruit. This is something that exists only in myth and legend. They have conquered countless worlds, seen all kinds of rare treasures of heaven and earth, but an elixir of this caliber they too see for the first time. They never imagined that a world without even a single sovereign could hold such a precious treasure. All of you calm down. Magnus is a sovereign after all, his temperament extraordinary, and he quickly cools from his wild joy. He bellows out, making the somewhat carried away Skyblade Legion soldiers jolt. The more precious a treasure, the more fearsome the thing guarding it beside it. None of you let your guard down. His gaze sweeps gravely over that strange milky white lake. The water gives him a feeling of extreme danger. Uncle Magnus is right. I speak up too, my voice very calm, yet it quiets everyone. There is something wrong with this lake water. I point at that seemingly harmless milky white lake. What this water holds is not life essence at all, but the purest lifespan. This whole deathless mountain is one giant trap. It uses these scenes that seem so full of vitality to lure outsiders in, then silently steals their lifespan, all of which gathers into this lake to water this elixir fruit. My words send a chill through everyone present. To steal lifespan is more terrifying than killing them outright. What does a cultivator fear most? Not death, but their lifespan running dry, turning, in endless despair and unwillingness, into dust. Damn it. What a vicious method. Magnus's face fills with lingering fear after hearing this. He had been so caught up in excitement just now that he nearly fell into the trap. If he had truly rushed in heedless, even as a sovereign, in this lake made to steal lifespan, he would likely have a layer of his hide stripped away. And with a sovereign's lifespan, it could perhaps fully ripen the longevity elixir fruit in the blink of an eye, and then the one behind it all could flee with it, or proclaim itself emperor, proving the heavenly emperor realm. Kael, it really is you who observed carefully. Magnus says with lingering fear. The immortal body truly has its many secrets. He admires this nephew of his more and more now. Not only is my fortune heaven-defying, my keen eye is sharper than that of this old fellow who has lived who knows how many tens of thousands of years. So, what do we do now? Magnus asks. How about I just use a technique to boil this lake dry? Do not. I stop this violent Uncle Magnus of mine again. This water is a good thing. I look at that milky white lake, my eyes flashing with golden light. This is the purest essence of lifespan. Though it is stolen, if we find a way to purify the impurities and grievance within it, it becomes a top-tier life-prolonging divine object. Taken back and divided among the elders of the family whose lifespans are near their end, one mouthful each could let them live tens of thousands of years longer at least. This thing is of no use to me myself, but my family is vast. And those elders of House Vencrest slumbering in the forbidden grounds, which of them is not near the end of their lifespan, able only to slow the draining of their vitality through slumber? With this essence of lifespan, would House Vencrest's foundation not surge another stretch? Right. Magnus's eyes light up at this too. This thing is practically tailor-made for House Vencrest. The word Vencrest might as well be written in the lake. I nod. Uncle Magnus, let us get that elixir fruit in hand first. Leave this to me. Magnus thumps his chest and volunteers. I would like to see just what thing is playing tricks here. He steps forward, comes to the edge of the lake, and releases his terrifying sovereign pressure without holding back, bearing down on the Lakeheart Island. Get out! Boom! The whole lake, under Magnus's pressure, instantly heaves up towering waves. Yet the Lakeheart Island remains calm, the small tree and the fruit seemingly untouched by any of it. Still not coming out? Magnus frowns, feeling his dignity challenged. He gives a cold snort, raises a hand, and strikes a palm down at the lake surface. Though he does not use full force in this strike, it is still enough to smash a star. And yet a strange thing happens. That world-destroying strike, the moment it touches the milky white water, dissolves without a sound, like a clay ox sinking into the sea, raising not a single ripple. What? Magnus is taken aback. His strike was actually dissolved? Something is wrong. His face darkens, and he is about to call up greater force. Just then, that calm Lakeheart Island finally stirs. The small tree, green all over, begins to sway without wind, its leaves rustling, and then a voice, aged and weary yet carrying the far-off depth of one who has seen through all the vicissitudes of the world, comes from the island. Ah, how many years has it been? And someone comes again to disturb my peace. Outsiders, leave. This is not a place you should come. Longevity is a forbidden thing you cannot pry into. The voice is not loud, yet it sounds clearly in the depths of every soul. Hearing this voice, Magnus, far from shrinking back, only burns with higher battle will. Skulking coward, get out here for me and meet your death. He lets out a roaring shout, about to strike again. Uncle Magnus, wait! I stop him once more. I look toward the Lakeheart Island, a playful smile curving the corner of my mouth. Come out and talk. Perhaps we can make a deal, I say aloud. The Lakeheart Island is silent for a moment. Then that aged voice, carrying a trace of doubt and disdain, asks, what could you have that I need? I can give you true longevity. I say it word by word. The moment these words come out, not only the being on the Lakeheart Island, but even Magnus and that dark Kirin are taken aback. Give it true longevity? Has Kael bragged a bit too far? Longevity is the ultimate Tao that even true immortals bitterly pursue. By what right does a small blood-forging realm cultivator like me dare to make such a boast? Yet my face is full of confidence, because I know that this state of clinging to a wretched survival, sustaining its existence by plundering lifespan, does not count as true longevity at all. It is merely a pitiful means of prolonging life. But House Vencrest, the power behind me, does have the hope of showing it the true path of longevity. Sure enough, after I speak these words, the being on the Lakeheart Island falls silent even longer, as if thinking, and as if weighing whether my words are true. After a long while, a soft chuckle comes. An interesting little one. Come in, I will wait for you here. As the words fall, the milky white lake actually parts down the middle of its own accord, opening a path leading straight to the Lakeheart Island. Kael, you must not. Seeing the lake water part on its own, Magnus's face changes, and he immediately blocks the way before me. This old monster clearly means no good. Who knows what traps are in this lake? It is too dangerous. In his view, this is a banquet of treachery, and it has surely laid a net of heaven and earth on the island, just waiting for me to walk into the snare. Uncle Magnus, what are you panicking for? I, on the other hand, am unconcerned. I gently push aside Magnus, who blocks my way. With a sovereign like you here to guard me, what danger could there be? Besides, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I pat Magnus on the shoulder, the picture of full confidence. Do not worry, I know what I am doing. Magnus looks at my calm manner, opens his mouth, and for a moment does not know what to say. Indeed, with himself here, who could harm Kael? Unless an immortal came in person. But this wretched place, a godforsaken spot, how could there be an immortal? Then be careful, stay close to me. Magnus thinks for a long while, and that is all he can say. He has decided. In a moment, the instant that old monster dares make any move, he will strike at once. Elixir or no elixir, he will grind it to dust and scatter its ashes first. All right, I nod, then step forward, strolling leisurely onto the path the lake water has opened. Magnus quickly follows, every muscle taut, his sovereign power churning wildly within him, ready for a thunderous strike at any moment. The dark Kirin hesitates a moment, then follows too. He is now a grasshopper on the same string as me. If something happens to me, he cannot live either. And besides, it is curious too what thing this deathless mountain hides, that even it in its day dared not lightly set foot here. Under the tense gaze of the Skyblade Legion's thousands of soldiers, the group walks into the depths of the lake. The moment I step onto the path, I feel the lifespan-stealing force around me grow 100-fold, 1,000-fold stronger in an instant, as if countless unseen hands are tearing at my soul, trying to pull my life source out of my body. But these hands, restrained by their master's command, dare only watch from afar, not draw near. From a rough sense of it, an ordinary divine path tier cultivator coming here would likely be sucked into a husk within 3 breaths. I can even feel that the source of this force seems to share a faint thread of common origin with my own immortal body. This is perhaps that feeling from the start. Familiar and close, yet repellent. Interesting. My curiosity grows. The path is not long, and soon I reach the Lakeheart Island. The island is small. Apart from that shimmering humanoid elixir fruit tree, there is only a great green stone. An old Taoist in grey robes, white-haired, his face gaunt, sits cross-legged upon the green stone. His aura is faint, as if it could scatter on the wind at any moment. His eyes are tightly shut, and law chains formed from the power of lifespan coil around him, the other end sinking deep into the deathless mountain beneath his feet. He seems merged into the whole deathless mountain. He is the mountain, and the mountain is him. A peak 18th sovereign realm. The moment Magnus sees the old Taoist, his pupils shrink. This old thing's strength is actually this great? Was the Kirin not said to be the strongest in this world? How did another one appear? And the aura of his oneness with the deathless mountain makes Magnus feel this is a thorny matter indeed. You have come. The old Taoist slowly opens his eyes. What cloudy eyes they are, with no light to be seen in them. Only the endless weathering of years and dead silence. His gaze passes over Magnus and falls straight on me. An immortal body. Huh, what a nostalgic aura. The old Taoist looks at me, a complex expression on his face, of nostalgia, of envy, and a trace of jealousy. So it is you. I look at the old Taoist and smile too. I knew it. No wonder this force felt so familiar. Let me introduce myself. I am the first to prove the Tao when this world was first born, 2 eras ago. The old Taoist speaks slowly, a trace of pride in his voice. The longevity Taoist then. I nod. Not a bad name, it is just a bit ill-fitting. You call this half-dead state of yours clinging to a wretched survival by stealing others' lifespan? Longevity? I mock him without the slightest courtesy. This is no longevity, this is suffering a living torment. On the longevity Taoist's face, still as an old well, a trace of anger finally appears. He has lived several eras, and it is the first time anyone has dared speak to him this way. Kid, hold your tongue. A terrifying pressure spreads from him, bearing down on me, but Magnus beside me only gives a cold snort, his sovereign pressure erupting, scattering the longevity Taoist's pressure to pieces. Old thing, you dare act insolent before my young lord? Magnus steps forward, shielding me, glaring at the longevity Taoist with a face full of killing intent. The longevity Taoist's face changes, and only then does he take a fresh look at this ordinary-seeming red-haired brute beside me. A sovereign. He senses from Magnus a terrifying power no weaker than his own. Another sovereign. A trace of wariness flashes in the longevity Taoist's cloudy eyes. He can feel that this red-haired man, though at the peak 18th realm like himself, has a blood energy refined like a great furnace, pure and born for battle. Far more vigorous than that of this old fellow who clings to survival by external means. What alarms him more is that so strong a one would, toward that blood-forging realm youth, hold so low a posture, the very picture of loyally guarding a master. My background is likely even more terrifying than he imagined. Uncle Magnus, do not get worked up. My voice comes from behind Magnus. I leisurely walk around Uncle Magnus's tall frame and stand once more before the longevity Taoist. I only came to talk, not to fight. Taoist, would you not say so? The longevity Taoist presses down the turmoil in his heart, gives me a long, deep look, and says nothing. I do not mind. I walk once around that humanoid elixir fruit tree, clicking my tongue in wonder. Truly a genius design. To use your own longevity body as the array's eye, linked to the earth veins of the whole deathless mountain, then to lay down a heaven-stealing array, stealing the lifespan of all things of heaven and earth, all gathered here at last, to water a life-prolonging elixir. Each give and take seems a closed cycle. As long as this world is not destroyed, you can go on living like this, with my hands behind my back, like a young master strolling in his own back garden. I appraise the masterpiece the longevity Taoist takes such pride in. You call this longevity? I suddenly halt, and turn around, looking the longevity Taoist straight in the eye. The smile on my face vanishes, replaced by an utter contempt. You truly amuse me. This is not longevity. This is sitting in a prison. You have made yourself a prisoner of this world's laws. Look at you, linked to the mountain range, joined to the earth energy, bound up with the heavenly Tao. It sounds impressive, but do you dare take one step away from this mountain? Do you dare take one step away from this world? You do not dare. Because the moment you leave, this whole lifespan stealing system collapses and your rotten body turns to ash in an instant. My words are like so many sharp daggers, piercing precisely into the longevity Taoist's most fragile place. The longevity Taoist's face turns extremely ugly in an instant. Utter nonsense. He rebukes sternly, but his voice carries a hollow weakness, lacking conviction. Nonsense? I laugh, my laughter full of mockery. True longevity is transcendence, is freedom. It is to break free from all constraints of the universe. It is seeing the laws of heaven and earth as nothing, seeing the long river of the ages as a fleeting bubble. And you have bound yourself to the laws of this small broken world, living like a parasite, feeding on its blood. The world lives, and only then can you live. The world dies, and you must perish along with it. What kind of longevity do you call that? You are nothing but a watchdog for the world. Shut up. The longevity Taoist trembles violently all over. The lifespan law chains on his body all begin to shake wildly, and the whole deathless mountain quakes because of it. He has been thoroughly enraged. Every word of mine strikes his sorest spot. He has lived through long ages, believing himself to walk a great path toward eternity, sure that given enough time, he would sooner or later step into the 19th realm, heavenly emperor realm he dreamed of. He even had a premonition that he was only half a step from that realm, needing only to wait for the longevity elixir fruit to ripen. Yet today he is dismissed as worthless by a green youth, called a parasite, a watchdog. How could he bear it? Junior, what do you understand? The longevity Taoist roars. You merely rely on a fine body you were born with, gaining an immortal body, and dare to spout nonsense here judging my Tao. When I proved my Tao, the ancestors of your ancestors were not yet born. Is that so? I raise an eyebrow, the mockery on my face growing thicker. Living long does not mean the road you walk is right. A pig that has lived 10,000 years is still a pig. It cannot become a dragon. The dark heron beside us cannot hold back, and nearly laughs out loud. I pay no mind to their reactions and go on. You not only walked the wrong road for the sake of this wrong road of yours, you bent the road of the whole world crooked too. The longevity Taoist's pupils shrink. What do you mean? What do I mean? I give a cold laugh. Do you truly believe the tampering you did could be hidden from everyone? I slowly raise my hand and point at the silent dark Kirin. Ask him, when he charged for the sovereign realm back then, did he not always feel his Tao was flawed, and the laws incomplete, as if an invisible shackle held him firmly bound? At these words, the dark Kirin's huge body jolts. He lifts his head, looking at me in disbelief, then in alarmed doubt at the longevity Taoist. What I say is right. Back then he cultivated in the sky burial veil, devouring countless living beings, charging for the sovereign realm. But that process was extraordinarily hard. He had thought it was his own bloodline that was not pure enough. So he tried to launch the dark uprisings, extending his life with the living beings of all creation. But now, by what I am saying, this was actually man-made. Think again, my voice like a devil's whisper echoing in the ears of the Kirin and the longevity Taoist. Each time you launched a dark uprising, sweeping the continent, devouring endless living beings, did you not always feel in some unseen way, a force guiding you, secretly helping you, making you feel this was your destiny, your Tao? The dark Kirin's eyes turn from doubt slowly to horror. He remembers now. Each uprising, once he had devoured living beings to a certain degree, he would fall into a wondrous state, as if merging with the will of this world's heavenly Tao, his strength surging. So he came to love that feeling more and more, believing that if only he devoured enough, he could step into the 18th realm, with no one to explain it. Perhaps he never noticed. But now, with it laid bare. Once he thinks back, that feeling is more like that of a puppet being controlled. It was you! The dark Kirin whips his head around, staring fixedly at the longevity Taoist, endless rage and killing intent bursting from his blood-red eyes. All of this was your doing. The longevity Taoist looks at the near-mad dark Kirin, and for the first time that gaunt old face loses its calm completely. The mask has been torn to pieces by a few words of mine. He falls silent, and his silence is the best answer. Ha ha! I watch this scene and laugh aloud. What a longevity Taoist, what an ancient orthodox Taoist. Having walked a crooked road yourself, unable to transcend, you thought up so vicious a scheme. You deliberately altered the cultivation methods passed down in this world, so that every living being, from the moment they set foot on the path of cultivation, has a flawed foundation. The roads to the Saint Realm, and the Sovereign Realm in particular, you buried with deadly traps. Your purpose in doing this was to cultivate one perfect vessel. I always found it strange. This good-for-nothing is, after all, at the Saint Realm. Why did he need to launch a dark uprising every few tens of thousands of years? That is no way to cultivate. My gaze, like two divine swords, pierces toward the longevity Taoist. It was you that needed a body of peerless talent, of matchless fortune, one that could reach the peak of the sovereign realm, yet whose foundation held a fatal flaw. Then, at the most crucial moment, you would devour him and seize his body, using his vast life essence and potential as firewood to kindle your Tao fire, to help you sever your connection with this world, mend your own flaws, and so ascend in a single step, stepping into that legendary heavenly emperor realm. And the vessel you chose is him. Am I right? My words are like thunder, exploding over the Lakeheart Island. The dark Kirin's body trembles violently. He looks at the longevity Taoist, his eyes full of disbelief and sky-high hatred. So that was it. So the strength he took such pride in, the road he struggled a whole life for, were all merely a fraud designed by another. He is no dark sovereign emperor, only a penned-up beast. Under the great shock to his mind, the dark Kirin spews out a mouthful of purple-black backflowing blood, his aura instantly wilting. His Tao heart, in this moment, has been shattered utterly by my words. And the longevity Taoist, after I finish that last sentence, instead grows calm. On that gaunt old face, rage, shock, and resentment, all those emotions fade away, replaced by a calm sinister to the extreme. He looks at me and slowly splits his mouth into a grin, bearing a row of yellowed teeth. Ha ha ha, everything you said is right. He admits it just like that, openly. Worthy of an immortal body. As the one above my own longevity body, not only is he noble by birth, your vision and wisdom too are far beyond what these mundane things can match. He glances at the dark Kirin spitting blood on the ground, his eyes full of contempt, as if looking at a heap of useless garbage. Indeed, that stupid beast was the vessel I prepared over several 100,000 years. A pity his bloodline was, in the end, too mixed, unfit for great use. I was still fretting over where to find a better one. His gaze falls back onto me, that gaze no longer holding any concealment, only naked greed and fervor. I never expected it, truly never expected it. Heaven has not treated me unkindly. The heavenly Tao stands on my side after all. Just as I thought all my efforts wasted, my path hopeless, you delivered yourself right to my door. He slowly rises from the stone. A fierce beast of mixed bloodline, how could it compare to a flawless immortal body perfectly matched to my own path? Compared to you, that Kirin is not even fit to fill the gaps in my teeth. Junior, I must thank you. Thank you for waking me. And thank you for delivering to me the supreme ladder to prove the heavenly emperor realm. Boom! As his words fall, the whole deathless mountain, the whole lake of lifespan, all of it boils over in this moment. A terrifying aura far beyond before erupts from the longevity Taoist. He has shown his true hand at last. The longevity Taoist has shown his blade. Greed and fervor unlike any before burst from those cloudy eyes. He slowly rises from the green stone, and with his movement, the whole deathless mountain, the whole lake of lifespan, all of it boils over completely in this moment. The endless milky white lifespan essence, like 100 rivers answering a summons, pours wildly into his body. His once gaunt frame, at a speed visible to the eye, grows full and firm. His grizzled hair swiftly turns black, the wrinkles on his face all fade away, and in the blink of an eye he goes from an old Taoist near the grave to a middle-aged Taoist with a stern, cold face and a deep, fathomless aura. The chains of lifespan law on his body, far from vanishing, instead grow more solid, linking ever more tightly with the laws of heaven and earth of the whole deathless mountain, and indeed the whole Shadowmere continent. A terrifying aura far beyond before erupts from him, an aura already drawing infinitely close to the true heavenly emperor realm. Ha ha ha, Junior, I must thank you again. Had you not woken me, I truly was about to waste time on that stupid beast. Now it seems you are the supreme fruit heaven has bestowed on me. The longevity Taoist feels the surging power within him, and lets out a smug, wild laugh. He has schemed for several eras, all for this day. As long as he devours the flawless immortal body before him, he can sever his karma with this world, mend the flaws of his own Tao, ascend in a single step, and become a true heavenly emperor. So what if this boy has a sovereign behind him? The world will be his oyster, where could he not go? Old thing, you rejoice too soon. Magnus lets out a roar, no longer able to hold back. His blood energy surges skyward, golden sovereign laws flowing like magma across his skin. He throws a punch, and the void itself caves in. The longevity Taoist looks at Magnus's overbearing, matchless punch, and a flicker of disdain crosses his face. He merely lifts a hand lightly. The whole deathless mountain shudders, and the endless power of lifespan gathers before him into a colossal milky white shield. Magnus's fist slams solidly into the shield. A deafening roar spreads across the whole Shadowmere continent, and a terrifying energy storm sweeps outward in every direction, with the Lakeheart Island at its center. But what shocks Magnus is that this punch of his, enough to blow apart a star, only makes the shield sway slightly, without so much as a single crack appearing on it. How is this possible? Magnus's eyes go wide. Within my longevity domain, I am invincible. The longevity Taoist laughs coldly. Every attack of yours will be dissolved by the lifespan power this world has gathered over several eras, while you will only be slowly drained of your vitality here, and in the end become my nourishment. As his words fall, thousands upon thousands of milky white chains surge out of the boiling lake of lifespan, and like venomous snakes, coil toward Magnus from every direction. Out of my way! Magnus roars, his power as a sovereign erupting, shattering those chains to pieces. But those chains seem endless, reforming the instant they break, and coiling around him again. For a time, even one as strong as Magnus is dragged down by these maddening chains, unable to break free. Uncle Magnus, I told you not to get worked up. Watching this scene, I feel not the slightest tension and only shake my head. I know full well this old thing is a local snake, and one joined to the whole land at that. Uncle Magnus is now like a reckless greenhorn, pounding away at a wall. The wall shakes, but the opponent feels nothing at all. Junior, now it is your turn. Having dealt with Magnus, the longevity Taoist locks his gaze on me again. In his view, I am a walking treasury, the most crucial main course of this feast. Once he takes me, it is all over. His figure flickers, and in an instant he crosses space to appear before me, a great hand wreathed in lifespan law clawing fiercely down at the crown of my head. Your body is mine! The longevity Taoist's face holds an uncontainable wild joy and greed. It is done. It is about to be done. He seems already to see himself seizing this perfect Tao body, proving the heavenly emperor realm, looking down on all the ages, and yet, the scene he imagined, of me begging in terror, does not appear. I merely stand there quietly, and even give an idle, bored yawn, the look in his eyes as if watching a clown. Is the show over? I curl my lip. Honestly, your performance is rather clumsy. Anger flares in the longevity Taoist's heart, and the force in his hand grows stronger still. But at the very instant his hand is about to touch my hair, his whole body, along with the longevity sword he takes such pride in, freezes without warning. Space itself seems to freeze in this moment. A supreme pressure beyond words to describe, beyond the soul to sense, beyond the comprehension of all this world's laws descends without a sound. That pressure is not overbearing, nor sharp. It is like the heavens, like the Tao, like the supreme rule that existed from the very birth of the cosmos. Before this pressure, the power the longevity Taoist took such pride in, rivaling the heavenly emperor realm, is as small as a speck of dust. The hand he clawed toward me freezes there in midair, unable to move, and the wild joy and greed on his face freeze utterly too, replaced by an endless bewilderment and a fear from the deepest depths of his soul unlike any before. What is happening? What is going on? Why can I not move? The longevity Taoist's Tao heart, having lived several eras, collapses utterly in this moment. He wildly drives the power within him, trying to break free of this binding, but to his horror he finds his connection with the deathless mountain, with the whole world, has been severed with effortless ease by an invisible giant hand. Who is it? He wants to bellow, wants to roar, but finds he cannot even make a sound. Just then a voice, calm and gentle, yet holding the authority of one whose word becomes law, who commands all the ways of the Tao, rises slowly between heaven and earth. Who gave you the nerve to dare touch my son? This voice is not loud, yet it carries clearly into the ears of every living being on the Shadowmere continent. Then, under the longevity Taoist's horror-filled gaze, the void before me ripples open like water, and a figure in a robe, black hair loose over his shoulders, his face valiant, steps slowly out of it. He brings no earth-shaking phenomenon, no world-destroying pressure. He simply walks out, plain and simple, yet as if he were the center of the whole cosmos, the source of all the ways of the Tao. He merely stands there, and the laws of the whole Shadowmere continent all cry out and submit to him. The newcomer is none other than the current lord of House Vencrest, the present heavenly emperor, Aldrich. Father, you have come at last. Seeing the newcomer, I show not the slightest surprise. Gotta give it to my father. For your first outing, you went along that fool Magnus, so of course I had to keep watch. Aldrich does not even glance at the longevity Taoist, frozen stiff with fear, his gaze falling gently on me, and he even reaches out to tidy a slightly rumpled corner of my robe. Big brother. On the other side, the moment Aldrich appears, the binding on Magnus, trapped by the lifespan chains, vanishes like smoke. He scratches his head a little sheepishly, sidles over, and calls out, I was just playing with him just now. Had not gotten serious yet. Before this dignified elder brother of his, This sovereign, so overbearing before outsiders, is like a little brother who has done something wrong, and indeed that is so. Magnus, domineering toward everyone, fears this elder brother most of all, for no other reason than that he was beaten by him all through childhood. Play? Aldrich shoots him a glance. You nearly let Kael fall into danger, and you call that play? Go to the Hall of Discipline and take your punishment when we return. Magnus's face falls, but he dares not argue, and can only answer with a bitter face. Yes, big brother. He feels wronged inside. How was I to know this wretched place hid so many sly old monsters? And besides, was it not Kael who wanted to come in? I tried to talk him out of it. This is plainly just finding an excuse to punish me. The three of us chat about family matters as if no one else were around, and the longevity Taoist, utterly ignored, has by now come back to himself from the initial shock and fear. Staring at Aldrich, in those cloudy eyes there remains only endless despair. A heavenly emperor. This is absolutely a genuine, supreme heavenly emperor realm beyond the sovereign realm, and a true one at that, with a deep foundation and overwhelming battle power. Before him, the longevity Taoist is not even an ant. It is over. All of it is over. He schemed for several eras, and just as success was in sight, he never imagined that at the final moment he would provoke an unimaginably terrifying being like this. What on earth is his background? The longevity Taoist's heart fills with endless regret and resentment. How dare you try to seize my son's body? At last, having finished with family matters, Aldrich lets his gaze fall on the longevity Taoist. His gaze is still calm, but beneath that calm hides a cold endless enough to freeze the whole cosmos. Under that look, the longevity Taoist feels his very soul about to be frozen and torn apart. He wants to beg for mercy, wants to explain, but he cannot speak a single word. Fine. Aldrich seems to lose interest and says lightly, Did you not seek longevity? Then I grant you eternal life. As the words fall, he slowly raises a single finger and lightly points it at the longevity Taoist. That single point of his finger seems utterly ordinary, yet it holds a supreme might whose word becomes law, that turns heaven and earth around. With one point of the finger, the whole Shadowmere continent rumbles, as if in dread, and as if in submission. No, the longevity Taoist lets out a howl of utter despair. He can clearly feel that the unbreakable connection between himself and the deathless mountain, the lake of lifespan, and the heavenly Tao of this world, is being torn away, inch, by an irresistible force. The longevity sword he took such pride in is wiped away before him as easily as a sandcastle on a beach. The lifespan power gathered over several eras, like flood water through an opened gate, gushes wildly out of his body, returning once more to that milky white lake, the middle-aged Taoist form he had just restored to its peak, once again at a speed visible to the eye, grows gaunt and old. His cultivation too plummets from a peak sovereign drawing infinitely close to the heavenly emperor realm, late sovereign, mid-sovereign, early sovereign, saint realm, divine king realm. In the end, his cultivation falls to a point lower even than an ordinary mortal's. He becomes a truly decrepit old man, a wretched old wreck who cannot even stand steady, giving off a thick death aura all over. My power, my lifespan. The longevity Taoist collapses to the ground, feeling the endless emptiness and decay within him. In those cloudy eyes there remains only endless dead silence and despair. His several eras of scheming, several eras of bitter cultivation, are reduced to nothing under that single finger. Thud, he can no longer hold himself up, and falls to his knees, kowtowing wildly toward Aldrich, toward me. Heavenly Emperor, have mercy, spare me, young lord. I was blind, I offended you. I deserve to die. Lease Heavenly Emperor, have mercy, spare my life. Now all dignity, all proud bearing he casts aside. He only wants to live, even if it means living like a dog. I look at this utterly abject sight of him, and my heart feels not the slightest ripple. Had he known this day would come, why act as he did back then? I walk slowly up to the longevity Taoist, and look down at him from on high. Honestly, your plan was rather stupid, but this system you built is quite interesting. I rub my chin, studying the deathless mountain and the lake of lifespan with relish. Using himself as the array's eye, stealing the lifespan of the world to feed himself. Though this cyclical system took a crooked path, the use of its core laws still has something worth taking. Hearing this, a flicker of barely perceptible hope crosses the eyes of the kneeling longevity Taoist. Could it be I still have some use? Father, I suddenly turn back to Aldrich, a brilliant smile on my face. Just kill him. This world needs only one manager. The longevity Taoist wants to say something more, but Aldrich raises a single finger, that same finger again. And yet, unexpectedly, Aldrich reaches out and taps the finger on my forehead. No rush. This body of his, though ruined now, is after all a natural longevity body, with an inborn affinity for this world's laws of life. Aldrich points at the deathless mountain. Refine him into a puppet with no will of his own, and let him fully merge with this deathless mountain, becoming the mountain god of this mountain, or you might say its world spirit. That way, he can both keep this lifespan cycle system running, and produce lifespan essence for us in an endless stream. It is true that you have a manager, but you still need a gardener, no? Kael, what did you once say to me? Oh right, this is called putting waste to use, sustainable development. I nod, and give my father a thumbs up. Father, you really have the bearing of a true immortal. Magnus beside us listens in stunned amazement too. Wait, you can do that? Refining a peak sovereign powerhouse into a gardener? Since you agree as well, Kael, then I will act. Aldrich says it with a smile. He raises his hand again, and this time countless profound immortal Tao runes appear in his palm. These runes turn into golden chains, sinking in an instant into the longevity Taoist's brow. The longevity Taoist lets out a scream 100 times more piercing than before. He can feel his soul, his memories, his every thought, all being slowly ground away, broken down and rebuilt by those golden runes. He wants to resist, but simply cannot. Endless regret and fear flash in his eyes. Now he finally understands what Aldrich meant by "I grant you eternal life." This is his eternal life, in a form with no self, no thought, like a puppet, imprisoned forever in this cage he built with his own hands, laboring for others. This is 10,000 times crueler than simply killing him. At the very instant his last consciousness is about to scatter completely, he sees that handsome youth smiling at him. That smile, in his eyes, is more terrifying than the most vicious demon in the world. Soon, the screaming stops. The longevity Taoist's gaunt body rises to its feet again. Only now his eyes hold no light at all, only emptiness and numbness. He bows respectfully toward me, the motion as precise as a marionette's. "Master?" Not bad. I nod in satisfaction. Aldrich waves a hand, and that puppet body turns into a streak of light, merging into the depths of the Deathless Mountain's earth veins. From this day on, he is the spirit of this deathless mountain, the gardener of this world, who will serve me for all eternity. After solving this greatest of troubles, Aldrich's mood lifts considerably. He turns, his gaze sweeping over the whole Shadowmere continent, a flicker of heat in those eyes that seem to hold the birth and death of the cosmos. "All right, Kael. The appetizer is finished. Next we should bring on the main course. The whole world, packed up and taken away." As Aldrich's words fall, the supreme pressure on him no longer holds back at all, and sweeps with a roar across the whole Shadowmere continent. In the sky, wind and cloud change color, sun and moon lose their light, and the cosmic laws of the whole world cry out under this pressure, unable to bear the weight, as if they could shatter completely at any moment. The world's core essence of this world, ripened by that old thing over several eras, has reached a critical point, like a fruit ripened through, one that will rot if not picked. Aldrich, hands behind his back, remarks in a flat tone, "He has actually done us a great favor, sparing us no small amount of effort. Convey my decree." He speaks lightly into the void, his voice not loud, yet through some profound connection, it carries in an instant back to House Vencrest, billions of worlds away. "The army moves out. Prepare to refine the world. By your order." In the distant celestial domain, upon House Vencrest's sacred isle, a response like a roar of mountains and seas rises. The next moment, in the sky above the Shadowmere continent, the Skybridge Gate, spanning 10,000 miles, forged by the joint work of House Vencrest's Grand Master Artificers, blazes with light, and the Grand Gate opens fully. Then, a scene the surviving beings of the Shadowmere continent will never forget for the rest of their lives unfolds. Squad after squad of House Vencrest cultivators, clad in divine armor, their auras deep as the sea, like a swarm of fish crossing a river, stream endlessly out of the gate. This time, it is not only the war cultivators of the Skyblade Legion who come, but also the Arraymaster Legion in Arraymaster robes, holding array banners and compasses. There is the Artificer Legion, carrying huge furnaces, their bodies knotted with muscle, and even Earth Diviners and Herb Masters whose task is to scour for resources and seek out ore veins. Tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of House Vencrest's elite, in a brief moment, descend upon this world. The lowest of them is at the Divine Path tier, and even a saint here is no more than a small squad leader. This force is enough to easily flatten any immortal heritage of the celestial domain, and now they come here for one purpose only, to refine this world. Oh my god, what kind of power is this? Far away, outside the Sky Burial Vale, Lyra, who is clearing the battlefield, is utterly stunned at the sight of this terrifying army like divine soldiers from the heavens. Behind her, the old Saint Lord, Talia, and the tens of thousands of human cultivators are struck collectively speechless, every one of them frozen stiff, as if witnessing the descent of gods. They had just been thrilled at the birth of a single saint, yet now they see that among that crowd, a saint seems to count for less than even a squad leader. They watch squad after squad of array masters fly in good order toward every direction of the Shadowmere continent. In the center of the world, the seemingly small array banners in their hands, the instant they are flung into the air, swell wildly in the wind, turning into pillars 10,000 feet tall that stab straight into the clouds. Branded upon each array banner are immortal Tao runes they cannot understand at all, giving off a fearsome aura that suppresses all things and seals space and time. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the huge array banners are driven precisely into the earth vein nodes of the Shadowmere continent, and the whole land shudders violently. They watch the artificers send out their furnaces, taking the void itself as material, the laws as firewood, and begin forging immensely thick law chains shimmering with undying divine light. What are they doing? The old Saint Lord, watching this unbelievable scene before him, speaks with a trembling voice. "I do not know." Lyra swallows hard, her face pale. It feels as if they are putting shackles on our world. The excitement and relief that had risen in her heart at becoming Kael's follower are in this moment replaced by endless shock and awe. She had thought Kael's family was merely an immensely powerful force, but now she understands she was wrong beyond measure. This is no longer something the word powerful can describe. They did not come to conquer the world at all. They are taking this world apart, the way one disassembles a precise machine. In their eyes, this world is perhaps truly only a piece of spoils. And what does she, this so-called empress, count for in their eyes? A deep helplessness and smallness wells up in Lyra's heart. Just as her thoughts wander, the sky of the Shadowmere continent begins to show an even more astonishing change. As the array banners land one by one, and the law chains take shape one by one, a golden net woven from countless immortal Dao runes, fast enough to blot out the sky, begins to slowly appear across the heavens. That net spreads and expands at a speed visible to the eye, and soon covers the whole Shadowmere continent within it. The world-refining array, it is complete. Magnus watches this scene and shouts with excitement. I too watch with great interest. So this is the foundation of the Immortal Dynasty? They have turned the conquest of other worlds into a standardized assembly line operation. Professional, truly too professional. I cannot help but give my own family a mental thumbs up. Kael, watch closely. Aldrich's calm voice sounds in my ear. Next comes the most crucial step, drawing out the core essence. As the world-refining array fully takes form, the whole Shadowmere continent seems sealed inside a giant transparent dome. Aldrich stands in the void with his hands behind his back, his robe snapping in the surge of energy, and his deep eyes are now astonishingly bright, as if sun, moon, and stars turn within them. Kael, this world is your spoils. For my first visit to your domain, I cannot come empty-handed. Aldrich turns his head, and says to me with a smile. Then his gaze falls on the vast, boundless milky white lake below. This lake of lifespan, though stolen by that old thing through crooked, heterodox means, and holding endless impurities and grievance within it, is in its essence, the purest life source essence. If an ordinary person were touched by even a trace of it, their Dao heart would fall, and they would become a demon who knows only slaughter. But to an immortal body, it is a great tonic. As Aldrich speaks, he slowly extends a hand. Today I will refine this lake water into a pool of fine nectar for you. As the words fall, immortal light blazes in his palm, and laws of heaven and earth beyond the limits of this world's comprehension fly out from his palm, turning into immortal Dao runes of utmost profundity, which fall into the lake of lifespan. Sizzle. Wisps of black grievance, visible to the eye, are forced out of the lake water, shrieking in the air, then purified utterly by those immortal Dao runes, fading into nothing. The once milky white lake water begins, at an unbelievable speed, to grow clear and bright. Then, a brilliant rainbow glow rises from the lake bed, and the whole lake begins to give off a refreshing fragrance. In a brief moment, that lake of lifespan, once full of filth and grievance, actually becomes a pool of shimmering color, like a sacred liquid melted down from countless crystals and gems. This is the life source liquid. Aldrich withdraws his hand and explains lightly. A single drop can let a saint regrow a severed limb, raise the dead, and put flesh on bare bones. From now on, let this lake serve as the foundation of the land you will open up in the future. I look at the magnificent lake of life source liquid before me, my eyes going wide. This is just too incredible. With one casual stroke, he turns a poison-filled garbage dump into a supreme divine treasure. Are Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses all so formidable? Thank you, Father. I quickly give my thanks, delighted inside. This is only the appetizer. Aldrich smiles, and his gaze turns to the towering Deathless Mountain. This mountain was tended by that old thing over several eras. Its body has long since merged with this world's earth core essence. Immensely solid, and it is rather good material for forging. As it happens, you still lack a portable abode, so I will refine it into a palace and give it to you. As he speaks, Aldrich joins his fingers into a sword, and slashes through the air at the Deathless Mountain. A sword light, seemingly slender yet holding the power to sever all the ages, flashes and is gone, and the whole immensely vast Deathless Mountain range, stretching tens of thousands of miles, is actually severed and torn from the earth by this single stroke. Aldrich gives a light shout. The whole Deathless Mountain, along with the vast earth veins deep beneath it, begins to shudder violently, then slowly rises from the earth. This sight makes the scalps of Lyra and the others in the distance prickle once more. Uprooting a mountain. This is, in the truest sense, tearing a continent-scale mountain range up by the roots. Aldrich forms a seal with both hands, and endless immortal fire pours out from his palms, wrapping the whole Deathless Mountain within it. Under the forging of the immortal fire, the vast Deathless Mountain shrinks rapidly in a way that defies the laws of physics. The impurities in its body are refined away, its laws reorganized, its earth veins compressed. In the end, the towering Deathless Mountain actually becomes a model of a mountain no larger than a palm. Crystalline and clear all over, as if carved from jade, an exquisite miniature peak floating before me. Upon the peak, pavilions and towers, bridges and flowing streams are all there in full, and one can even see the longevity Taoist, refined into its artifact spirit, diligently sweeping inside it. This is the Deathless Palace, a top-tier emperor weapon. It holds a space within, can be carried on you, and its defense is enough to withstand one blow from a Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouse. Aldrich hands this palace to me. From now on when you travel, you will have a place to settle. I take this exquisite palace, feeling the surging power within it, my heart already blossoming with joy. Thank you, Father. You are too good to me. These are only small trinkets. Aldrich looks at my undignified delight and gives a helpless smile. World refining array, rise. At this single command, the countless array banners across the 4 poles and 8 wilds of the continent hum as one, and law chains thick as mountain ranges extend from the banners, weaving through the sky like giant dragons, interlacing, and at last converging at the center of the continent. The Shadowmere continent begins to shudder violently. The land splits open, the oceans evaporate, the sky collapses. For the surviving beings of this world, this is without doubt the scene of the apocalypse. Heavens, is the world going to be destroyed? What are the divine ones? What are they doing? The human cultivators under Lyra are all ashen-faced, watching the scene of heaven collapsing and earth splitting in terror. Only Lyra and a few of the upper ranks, though equally shaken inside, force themselves to stay composed, because they see that the Lord Kael and the Heavenly Emperor beside him show not the slightest change in expression, which means everything is within their control. Do not panic, Lyra shouts sternly at the stirring crowd. This is the Lord wielding a supreme power, reshaping the heavens and earth for our world. You need only watch in silence and speak no reckless words. Though she too does not know exactly what is happening, at a time like this, keeping people's hearts steady matters most. More important still is to set her own place right, to show absolute trust in the new master. I watch all of this with great interest, marveling inwardly. Father, are we going to refine this whole world? That is right. Aldrich nods and patiently explains to me. A world's most valuable thing is its world's core essence. It is like the fruit of a great tree, while the land, mountains, rivers, and laws of the whole world are merely the branches and leaves that bear the fruit. What we are doing now is plucking this ripened fruit whole. He points at the ever-denser net in the sky. This world-refining array is the harvesting tool House Vencrest specially made. It can comb and compress all the laws, spirit veins, and earth energy of the whole world, and at last gather all the essence into the world's core essence, raising its quality another level. I listen and nod again and again. Once the fruit is picked, does the tree not die? I ask again. Die? Aldrich laughs. For House Vencrest, nothing is dead. He points off toward the celestial domain. Once the core essence is drawn out, the remains of this world will be handled by the Patriarch himself, who will drag them back to the celestial domain and merge them into House Vencrest's ancestral seat, the Sacred Isle. At that time, it will become a part of House Vencrest, restored to life again, even more stable than before. As for these countless living beings, to them, it is merely a change of one heavenly Tao for another. In the sky, the golden net woven from countless immortal Tao runes has contracted to its limit, and the whole Shadowmere continent now looks like a giant cocoon bound tight in golden thread. Condense. Aldrich utters a single terse word. The whole world in this moment lets out its final cry. The land collapses utterly, turning into the most primal earth, fire, water, and wind. The oceans evaporate completely, leaving only vast stretches of salt and alkali crystals. The sky caves in, revealing the endless cold chaos void behind it. All matter, under the great power of the world-refining array, is broken down, compressed, refined, and torrents of energy, pure to the utmost, surge wildly toward the center of the continent from every direction, where the world's core essence lies. In the distance, Lyra and the others are completely dumbstruck. Their world is being killed alive before their very eyes. The impact of witnessing one's homeland destroyed with one's own eyes is beyond any words to describe. Many cultivators, their Tao hearts unsteady, spit blood outright and faint away. Even Lyra herself feels a pang in her heart, as if something important were being torn out of her own life. She is, after all, a being born and raised in this world, bound to the world's core essence by 1,000 threads. The world wails and she feels it too. But she forces down that discomfort and stares fixedly toward the center of the continent. She wants to see what the final fruit of this world looks like. It is about to come out. I too set aside my playful mood, my expression turning focused. I can feel an immensely vast and pure energy swiftly gathering at the center of the continent, an energy that even makes my immortal body stir with a trace of craving. At last, under the extreme compression of the world-refining array, a crystal about the size of a human head, chaos-colored all over, its surface coursing with billions of law chains, throbbing ceaselessly like a breathing heart, rises slowly from the rubble of the collapsed world, the world's core essence. This is the essence the Shadowmere continent gathered over several eras, then ripened by the longevity Taoist over countless ages, which he had prepared to use to break through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. The instant it appears, the whole chaos void falls still, and all techniques dim before it. A fine thing. Even a sovereign as strong as Magnus marvels the instant he sees this world's core essence. He can feel that the energy held within this core essence, if he were to refine it, would be enough to advance his cultivation a great stretch beyond its current level, and even touching the threshold of the Heavenly Emperor realm would not be out of the question. Come. Aldrich, however, appears very calm. He merely beckons lightly, and the world's core essence, radiating supreme divine might, flies obediently into his hand, hovering there quietly, all its light and pressure withdrawn clean away. Aldrich holds the world's core essence, as if holding an ordinary glass ball. He does not even spare it a second glance, but turns straight around and holds it out before me. Kael, your spoils. His tone is as flat as if he were saying, son, here is your toy. I look at the world's core essence before me, still faintly throbbing, and blink. So this is the essence of a world. It does look rather beautiful. I reach out and carefully take this glass ball. It is warm and smooth to the touch, heavy, as if I were holding a whole world. I can clearly feel my immortal body within me clamoring wildly, wanting to swallow it in one gulp. Father, the energy in this thing is enormous. I sigh in genuine wonder. Naturally, Aldrich laughs. This is the complete core essence of a higher mystic world, and one ripened to the very limit at that. Its value is no less than that of a half-immortal artifact. Father, this thing is too precious. I think it over, and hold the world's core essence back out to him. Did you not say this thing could help you break through to the true immortal realm? You should keep it and use it. Though I covet this core essence too, I would rather my father grow stronger. With my father strong, I as the heir of his can sit more securely. This is called a long-term investment. Hearing my words, Aldrich is first taken aback, then his deep eyes brim with endless gratification and pride. He does not immediately take the world's core essence but reaches out and gives my shoulder a firm pat. Good boy. I did not dote on you for nothing. You know to be filial to me. Aldrich's heart is warm. He had thought that doted on since childhood, my character would inevitably be a little spoiled and selfish. He never expected that, before so precious a treasure, the first one I thought of was him. This makes him happier than breaking through to the true immortal realm himself would. Ha ha ha! Magnus beside us laughs aloud too. Big brother, see, I told you I was right. Kael takes after you sensible. His gaze at me is full of approval too, worthy of being the prodigy son of House Vencrest. Talent, fortune, temperament, every one of them top tier. Father, please take it. I push the core essence forward once more. I have only just begun cultivating. To use something this fine would be a waste. If you use it, House Vencrest gains another true immortal, and that is the greatest good of all. Aldrich looks at my sincere eyes and is moved, but still shakes his head. Kael, I take your thought to heart, but this core essence you must accept. He pushes my hand back, his expression turning serious. First, this is a world you discovered. By the family's rules, this core essence should belong to you to begin with. Without rules, there is no order, and even I cannot break the rules. Second, for me to break through, one world's core essence alone is far from enough, but my acting will not be for nothing either. When the time comes, I will glimpse a sliver of opportunity in it and attempt the breakthrough. But to truly take that step still requires a long time of accumulation and settling. But you are different. Aldrich's gaze turns intensely fervent. You are an immortal body. Your future is destined to surpass me, to surpass your grandfather. This world's core essence will be the most important, the most solid cornerstone of your path along the supreme immortal Tao. What you should be doing now is not thinking of how to make me break through, but of how to make yourself stronger. Only when you grow strong enough to look down on all things, to command the myriad worlds, will that be the best repayment to me, to the whole family. These words set my blood surging. I look at my father's eyes, full of expectation, and know that to decline any further would be mere affectation. All right, father, I understand. I nod firmly, hesitating no longer, and put the world's core essence into my storage ring. I silently vow that I will never fail my father's hopes to grow strong. With conditions this good, with a family this incredible, if I do not cultivate into the #1 big shot of all the myriad worlds, I would be unworthy of my standing as a top-tier immortal heir. Seeing me accept the core essence, Aldrich smiles with gratification. He turns around and looks at the remains of the Shadowmere continent, now reduced utterly to rubble, with only scattered shards of continent left. All right, the fruit is picked. Next we should pack up this tree and take it too. Father, this is still useful? I ask curiously. Of course it is useful. Aldrich clasps his hands behind his back, with the air of someone saying, you are still young, you do not understand the secrets of this. The remains of a higher mystic world, though its core essence is drawn out and its laws near collapse, still hold within them a vast amount of matter and energy. To you it looks like a heap of rubble, but in the Patriarch's eyes, this is the finest building material. Aldrich points off toward the celestial domain, a trace of longing in his eyes. House Vencrest's ancestral seat, the Sacred Isle, is vast, but it is not unchanging. Every outward conquest, every world annexed, is an expansion and upgrade of our ancestral seat. Merging this world's remains into our Sacred Isle not only enlarges our family's territory, it also turns this world's remaining laws into nourishment for our Sacred Isle, making the clan-guarding Grand Array more stable still. Most important of all, Aldrich pauses, a mysterious smile on his face. This world is, after all, one you discovered. Once it is merged into the ancestral seat, from then on this newly expanded territory will be marked under your name, as your private domain. When you later open your own house and found your own sect, you will surely need a proper piece of land, no? Hearing this, my eyes light up at once. Holy crap, this amounts to a fixed asset of mine. Aldrich pays no mind to my astonishment. He turns toward the Skybridge gate, still standing in the void, and sends a spiritual sense message, respectfully inviting the Patriarch to act. His voice pierces billions of worlds, sounding directly within House Vencrest's forbidden grounds. In that universe where the bronze immortal coffin lies, an aged, dignified voice drifts out from behind the skybridge gate. The next moment, a supreme immortal might, one that makes the whole chaos void itself tremble and makes the myriad ways of the Tao submit, descends. A giant hand, condensed from pure immortal light, so large that words cannot describe it, slowly reaches out from the skybridge gate. That hand is too vast, as if it could lift up a universe in one palm and crush a sea of stars in the other. It merely hovers there quietly, the chaos currents around it seeming frozen, not daring to flow in the slightest. Father has made his move. The instant Magnus sees that giant hand, his whole body jolts, and a look of utter fervor and awe shows on his face. He drops at once to one knee. Behind him the Skyblade Legion and the House Vencrest army that has just ascended, all kneel down as one, a sound like a roar of mountains and seas ringing through the chaos void. We welcome the Patriarch. In the distance, Lyra and the others, the instant they see that giant hand, have utterly lost the ability to think. Their minds are blank. If Aldrich's heaven and earth might had already shaken them beyond words, left them unable to contend, then the aura given off by this giant hand before them is a crushing dominance on a completely different level of existence. Before that hand, they feel they do not even count as dust, as if a single thought from it would wipe them utterly from this world, leaving not a single trace behind. Is this what a true immortal is? Lyra murmurs, soul-shaken. She feels that the demi-saint cultivation she took such pride in seems, in this moment, so laughable and so pitiful. I look at that giant hand, familiar yet strange, and am shaken too. So this is the power of a true immortal. A single hand alone makes the whole chaos void tremble. Too strong to the point of defying all reason. Just as everyone is shaken by it, that giant hand of immortal light moves. At a speed that seems slow yet is in truth fast to the extreme. It reaches slowly toward the remains of the Shadowmere continent drifting in the chaos void. The motion is as gentle as scooping up fallen leaves from water, but this one simple motion causes the space and time around it to twist violently. Countless law chains extend from between the 5 fingers of the giant hand, and like a fishing net, gather all the shards of continent, no matter their size, no matter how near or far, precisely within it. Gather! As the Patriarch's aged voice sounds once more, the net woven from law chains snaps sharply inward. The remains of the whole Shadowmere continent, those tens of thousands of continent shards great and small, in this moment, as if drawn by an irresistible pull, begin to converge wildly toward the palm of the giant hand of immortal light. In the course of converging they collide, press, and fuse without cease, and at last, under the supreme might of the giant hand of immortal light, all the continent shards actually piece back together and fuse, becoming one complete and enormous diamond-shaped landmass. Having done all this, the giant hand of immortal light bears this enormous landmass, and slowly carries it toward the skybridge gate. This scene shatters the last shred of luck Lyra and the others were clinging to. They finally understand just what kind of immense being House Vencrest, or rather Kael, truly is. Conquer, plunder, refine, pack away. These are no longer the means of mortals, nor even of the gods as they understand them. This is creation, this is destruction. This is the supreme authority that holds the life and death of a world in hand. My lord, Lyra looks at the youth not far off, his face calm as if he has long been used to all this, and in her heart there is no longer any stray thought, only endless awe, and a relief and pride from the depths of her soul at being able to follow such a being. I do not know what is in Lyra's heart. I am busy chatting with my father. Grandfather is so cool, I sigh in genuine wonder. Way more impressive than any divine art or technique. When you reach grandfather's realm, you will be able to as well. Aldrich says it with a smile, his tone full of pride. That is his father, the true cornerstone of House Vencrest. Soon, the giant hand of immortal light, bearing the remains of the Shadowmere continent, vanishes utterly behind the skybridge gate, and the immortal might that hung over the chaos void scatters with it. All right, the matter is done. Aldrich turns around and gives a final order to the House Vencrest army below, still in a daze. All legions withdraw in batches. Earth diviners and herb masters stay behind. Scour every useful thing left of this world clean. Leave nothing. By your order, the 100,000-strong army answers as one again, and a roaring, sweeping cleanup begins. I watch my kin, like a passing swarm of locusts, and the corner of my mouth twitches. Father, are we being a bit too thrifty? This is called not being wasteful. Aldrich corrects me with a straight face. House Vencrest's standing today rests on this fine tradition of frugal household keeping. Why do you think the world refining array protects the living beings? Of course it is because those beings can be put to use by House Vencrest later. A waste to let them die. I watch those House Vencrest cultivators, fired up and howling as they rush in to haul resources, and my mouth twitches without my meaning to. I'm starting to understand my father's frugal style, so this thing runs in the family. Alright, the matter is done, we should be heading back. Aldrich looks at the House Vencrest army below, already withdrawing in good order, and nods in satisfaction. This campaign has truly been a full harvest. He has gained a world to strengthen House Vencrest's foundation, secured a heavenly fortune for his son, and even given a warning to the restless powers of the celestial domain. All in one stroke. Kael, get into the palanquin first. I have a few things to attend to. All right, father. I nod and turn to step into the 9-dragon palanquin. Just then, a figure comes flying up hurriedly from below. It is Lyra, who has just finished arranging the hauling work. She has changed out of the tattered robe into a clean, plain gown. Though it still cannot hide the weariness between her brows, it lends her a clear, refined air. My lord, please wait. Lyra musters her courage to stop me. Something else? I stop and look at her with curiosity. My lord, I have one thing to beg of you. Lyra draws a deep breath, her gaze burning into mine. The Shadowmere continent is now in ruins, and people are suffering terribly. By my strength alone, I fear I cannot restore order in any short time. So? I look at her with interest. So, I beg you to leave behind some hands to lend me strength. Lyra bows deeply as she speaks, almost burying her head against her chest. She knows the request is over the line. They have only just helped her quell the uprising, and now she is asking them to stay on as laborers. This is plainly pushing for more, after already getting plenty. But she has no choice. The Shadowmere continent is one huge mess. Though the evil forces have been wiped out, the surviving local factions, the people in panic, the broken laws, the collapsed spirit veins, every one of these is enough to leave her at her wit's end. She needs power. Power enough to crush all defiance and push through new rule. And the lord before her, and the family behind him, are her only hope. I think for a few seconds. If the Shadowmere continent recovers on its own, who knows how long it will take. So I take from my storage ring a palm-sized bronze compass array, plain and unremarkable to the eye, and toss it to Lyra. This is a miniature transmission array made by House Vencrest. I have had the coordinates of our sacred isle set on it. Drop a drop of your blood on it to activate it. From now on, you will hand over to House Vencrest 3 parts in 10 of this world's output each era, as a management fee. Of course, if you run into trouble you cannot handle, you can call on me for help through this array. As for hands, I think a moment, then call back to Magnus, not far off. Uncle Magnus. Kael, what is it now? Magnus comes trotting over eagerly. From the Skyblade Legion, pick me out 100 sharp ones at about the Saint Realm. To stay and help this Empress Lyra keep order, I order offhandedly. 100 saints? Magnus is taken aback for a moment, then waves a big hand. A small matter. I will leave you a commander with 100 centurions under him. I promise this place will run smooth as silk for you. Saints? As centurions? And what realm then is a commander? Lyra holds the transmission array in her hands, listens to their exchange, and feels her mind once again unable to keep up. All right, that is that. I wave a hand as if dismissing a servant. Pay your rent on time and do not bring me trouble. With that, I step into the 9-dragon palanquin without looking back. Aldrich and Magnus follow in turn. The vast House Vencrest Legion, like a receding tide, withdraws in order into the huge Skybridge Gate. Soon this stretch of chaos void holds only Lyra and the group of House Vencrest cultivators behind her, still diligently hauling. Lyra stands there in a daze, watching the slowly closing Skybridge Gate, then looks down at the heavy bronze compass array in her hand, and at those mountainous piles of bestowed treasure in the distance. A mix of feelings in her heart. She feels she is in a dream, an absurd yet utterly real dream. Your Majesty, are we truly saved? The old Sant Lord walks up to her on trembling legs, a thread of uncertainty still in his voice. Yes, Lyra nods firmly. A light unlike any before kindled in those lovely eyes. Not only are we saved, a wholly new era is about to begin. She grips the transmission array tight, as if holding the future of the whole world. She knows that from this day, the history of the Shadowmere continent will be written by her, no, by the Lord Kael's own hand, and she will be the most faithful executor of this new age, and its greatest beneficiary. Convey my orders. Lyra draws a deep breath, her voice returning to the dignity and resolve of an empress. All cultivators will at once take stock of the spoils, tend to the wounded, and comfort the people. In 3 days I will rebuild the imperial city upon the ruins of Ravenfall, and proclaim to the world that the Shadowmere continent will forever serve the Lord Kael as its master. Her gaze pierces the void, as if she can sense the countless gazes around them, each no weaker than those of the sovereign emperors who launched the dark uprisings. She vaguely understands that this is House Vencrest territory, and these gazes too belong to the myriad worlds within House Vencrest's domain. Just how strong is House Vencrest in this immortal realm? The celestial domain is boundless, infinitely vast, with countless star systems, continents, and secret realms floating like dust in an endless cosmos, together forming this brilliant, flourishing civilization of cultivation. At the heart of the celestial domain, shrouded in chaos energy, lies a forbidden region no ordinary cultivator could approach in a whole lifetime, the ancestral seat of the longevity clan House Vencrest, the Sacred Isle. On this day, across the whole celestial domain, every immortal heritage, every old monster in seclusion, seems to feel something in their hearts, and all turn their gaze toward the Sacred Isle. Above the Sacred Isle, the Skybridge Gate, open for over 10 days now, becomes the focus of countless spying senses. Huge warships, giving off an iron blood-killing aura, their hulls still stained with the aura of an alien world's laws, sail slowly out of the gate like great beasts returning to their nest. It is House Vencrest's army of conquest they have returned. Hiss, what a terrifying killing aura. This army is stronger than when it set out. On the shore of the Eastern Sea, the Dragon Emperor of the primordial Dragon Court, watching this scene through a water mirror, cannot help but draw a sharp breath. He can clearly feel that, though House Vencrest's vanguard has not changed in number, every one of its soldiers bears a killing aura refined almost into substance, and a held-back, blood-bold spirit, grown stronger by more than a level. It means they went through a true blood war in this trial, and they won. Look, what is that? Just as everyone is shaken by the triumphant return of House Vencrest's army, a cry of shock rises from ancient Emperor Mountain. From within the Skybridge gate, a giant hand, condensed from pure immortal light, so vast it defies imagination, slowly reaches out. In its palm, it bears an enormous diamond-shaped landmass. Though the landmass looks lifeless, its laws shattered, the surging aura unique to a higher mystic world that lingers on it, and the faint echo of a world's core essence, still shake every sovereign spying on the scene to the core. Those are the remains of a world. Heavens, House Vencrest has actually found another lost world. What heaven-defying luck. Even if it is only an end of Dharma age, its value is beyond measure. That hand belongs to House Vencrest's old patriarch. He acted in person. For a time, across the whole celestial domain, every immortal power watching the place erupts in uproar. They had thought this campaign of House Vencrest's might end in a full harvest, but they never imagined the haul would be this great, that they would haul back a whole great world. What does this mean? It means House Vencrest's foundation will surge again to a terrifying degree. The ore veins, spirit roots, and secret realms within those continent remains go without saying. Over 1,000,000 years, it can almost be called an inexhaustible treasure. Most important of all is a world's core essence. Though they did not see it directly, even with their toes they can guess House Vencrest would never let go of a world's most precious core essence, Tao fruit. A complete higher mystic world's core essence is enough to let a heavenly emperor glimpse the fate of a true immortal, enough to let a longevity clan add another 19th realm heavenly emperor. Mind you, in the whole celestial domain, how many heavenly emperors are there in total? Mad, that bunch of madmen of House Vencrest. Within the primordial dragon court, the dragon emperor watches the scene in the water mirror and murmurs to himself, his eyes full of dread and a barely visible envy. The dragon race has also conquered other worlds, but at most they grabbed some resources, seized some slaves. To take a whole world away in one pot, the way House Vencrest does, they would not dare even imagine it. Not only because they would face the Tao's resistance, more importantly because the dragon race has no true immortal, and cannot do what carries a whole world off. At best, they could split a world into pieces, digesting it slowly like boiling a frog in warm water. And in that process, waste, infighting, and resistance are unavoidable. Convey my order. The Dragon Emperor draws a deep breath, his voice grave to the extreme. From this day on, every member of my dragon race who meets a person of House Vencrest shall give way without exception, and have no conflict with them. Furthermore, prepare a rich gift. Say it is to congratulate House Vencrest on their triumph. My primordial dragon court wishes lasting friendship with House Vencrest. The same scene plays out in every great immortal heritage of the celestial domain. Ancient Emperor Mountain, the Jade Pool Sanctuary, the primordial Mech clan. These giants who usually stand high above and look down on all the ages, without a single exception choose now to bow their heads. They send out envoys one after another, bearing the most precious of gifts, hurrying toward the Sacred Isle to congratulate House Vencrest on their triumph. The whole celestial domain is thrown into an unprecedented storm because of this triumph, and as the storm's center, the Sacred Isle is at this moment a sea of jubilation. As the giant remains of the Shadowmere continent are set steadily by the Patriarch's hand of immortal light into a newly opened stretch of void at the far end of the Sacred Isle, every member of House Vencrest knows this campaign has been a great victory. We won! We won! Ha ha ha! I knew our campaigns always end in triumph. Look, that continent, it is enormous. We will have new trial grounds to come. I can smell it, it is the scent of a world's core essence. Heavens, so fragrant. Even one breath, and I feel my cultivation about to break through. Cheers and shouts ring across the whole Sacred Isle. Countless House Vencrest people pour out of their abodes, out of their posts, flooding toward the plaza of the army's triumph, wanting to witness this moment with their own eyes. They look at those soldiers, in golden armor, their killing aura towering, their eyes full of worship and reverence. They look at the mountains of spoils, eyes shining with greed, and when their gazes at last settle on the magnificent palanquin pulled by 9 Earthgrade true dragons, every eye turns to utter awe and fervor. Under Aldrich's prior preparation and word-spreading, they all know that all this glory and gain stems from the one in the palanquin, their House Vencrest's young lord of just 18, only newly begun cultivating. It is I who brought this immense fortune to the family, opening a new era of glory for House Vencrest. The vast plaza before the Hall of Sovereigns on the Sacred Isle is long since packed beyond measure. Mountains and seas of people no longer suffices. As far as the eye can see, head after head from white-haired collateral elders with auras of great antiquity who have lived who knows how many tens of thousands of years, to the spirited younger generation, sharp-eyed, each rubbing their fists in eagerness. Nearly every House Vencrest member in residence, whether direct or collateral, has gathered here. Every one of them cranes their neck, their burning gazes fixed on the center of the plaza, the open ground reserved for the returning army, faces written with excitement and anticipation. They are coming, I see the Skyblade Legion's banner. Whoever shouts that, the crowd erupts at once. Sure enough, on the distant horizon, huge warships break through the clouds, sailing slowly toward the plaza. At the head is the Skyblade Legion's giant banner, emblazoned with a golden skyblade, snapping in the wind and giving off a heart-shaking iron blood-killing aura. Look, It is the third elder. The third elder is back. Someone with sharp eyes sees the figure standing at the prow of the foremost warship, broad-built, with red hair burning like flame, none other than House Vencrest's third elder, Magnus. Long live the third elder! Well done, third elder! Cheers like roaring mountains and seas erupt from the crowd, and Magnus clearly relishes the attention. He stands at the prow, grinning wide, smugly waving at the crowd below, looking as flashy as can be. Ha ha ha! Small scene, sit down, the usual. He is delighted inside. Though there were not many real fights this campaign, he gained a mount, dug up loot, and got to show off in front of his nephew at the end. A net win. Most importantly, this huge merit, he, Magnus, has a share in it too. By the look of things, back at home the family's rewards will not be small. He might even get a few wisps of world's core essence, enough to push his cultivation another step. Just as he is gloating, a commander beside him quietly reminds him, "Third elder, the lord and the young lord are still behind us. Perhaps you should keep a lower profile." Ahem. At this, Magnus's face flushes. He quickly drops the showy look and returns to the full dignity bearing of a sovereign powerhouse. He glances back and sees the most magnificent 9-dragon palanquin following unhurriedly at the rear of the army. "All of you, sharpen up," Magnus shouts at the Skyblade Legion soldiers behind him. "When the captives are presented in a moment, show your sharpest face. If anyone shames himself before the young lord, I will flay his hide when we get back. By your order." 10,000 Skyblade Legion soldiers roar as one, every back snapping straight, their killing aura growing tighter. Soon, the returning army descends slowly into the center of the plaza. Magnus is the first to jump down from his warship, striding to the foot of the high platform at the very front. Upon the platform, the family Lord Aldrich and the Grand Elder Theron, along with the rest of House Vencrest's core leadership, have long been waiting. "Reporting to the Lord, Grand Elder." Magnus drops to one knee, his voice ringing like a bell. The Skyblade Legion's vanguard has not failed in its mission, and has swept clean an otherworld's uprising, expanding the territory of House Vencrest. Good. Aldrich looks at this third brother of his, a touch reckless yet ferocious in combat, with a satisfied smile. "Magnus, well done. Rise." "Thank you, Lord." Magnus stands up, barely able to hide his pride, and in this moment, every gaze in the plaza has already passed beyond him. Turning to the slowly descending 9-dragon palanquin, everyone holds their breath. They know the true star of today is about to appear. Roar! The 9 Saint Realm True Dragons let out a sky-shaking roar, drawing the palanquin to a steady halt in the center of the plaza. But what catches everyone off guard and shocked is that, in front of the 9-dragon palanquin, there even trails a fierce beast they have never seen before. The beast is massive as a mountain, covered head to foot in ink-black scales, with a single horn on his head and twin wings on his back, black flames burning beneath his 4 hooves, and a terrifying dark aura billowing from him, making every cultivator below the Saint Realm tremble in their hearts. What is that thing? What a terrifying aura! I feel my very soul shaking. This beast's strength is surely above the Saint Realm. Wait, look at his neck. It looks like he is wearing a collar. From the crowd, a sharp-eyed young man cries out. At the words, the others quickly focus their gaze. And indeed, around the dark beast's terrifying neck, there is a collar forged of divine metal, the other end of which is, of all things, tied to the shaft of the 9-dragon palanquin. Boom! This sight detonates like a heavy bomb in everyone's mind. A terrifying beast at the Saint Realm or above used as a draft animal? Though House Vencrest is an immortal clan of longevity, even so, using a beast at the immortal path tier as a draft animal for the young lord, is that not too extravagant? Upon the platform, the Grand Elder Theron and the other sovereign elders see the dark beast, and their pupils shrink sharply. That is a 17th realm Santir Dark Kirin. Was this thing not extinct in the celestial domain long ago? Where did Magnus get hold of one? These sovereign powerhouses have keen eyes indeed, and they see through the Dark Kirin's nature at one glance. Precisely because they see through it, they are more shocked still. A 17th realm saint in any immortal heritage of the celestial domain would be a being of patriarch rank. And yet now, he has fallen so far as to be a draft mount. Would he accept that? At first the Dark Kirin would surely not, but I revealed a peerless background, and avenged him too. What is there left to refuse? To clasp such a thick thigh, how many beg for it and cannot? Just as the crowd is shaken and abuzz with talk, the beaded curtain of the 9-dragon palanquin is slowly drawn aside by a slender, fair hand, and a figure in white robes, of striking handsome bearing, steps slowly out of the palanquin. It is me. The instant I appear, the entire bustling plaza falls dead silent. Every gaze focuses on me. Awe, fervor, worship, curiosity. I meet the tens of thousands of gazes, my face calm, even a little inclined to yawn. I step down from the palanquin, and the Dark Kirin, who had a moment ago worn a look of dead resignation, the instant he sees me step down, drops obediently to the ground, his huge head bowed in respect, as if welcoming his master. Your son Kael greets you, father, greets the Grand Elder, and the elders. I walk to the foot of the platform and bow respectfully to the elders above. My bearing is humble and proper, with not a trace of arrogance from the world-shaking merit I have earned. Good, good, good. Aldrich looks at his perfect son and says the word 3 times in excitement. He steps down from the platform himself and lifts me up, clapping my shoulder firmly, his pride and joy not hidden in the least. My fine son, worthy of being the prodigy son of House Vencrest. In this campaign, yours is the first merit. Today, before the whole clan, I will reward you well." Aldrich's resounding, joy-filled voice echoes across the whole plaza. The word reward makes every House Vencrest member present perk up at once. Every one of them cranes their neck, eyes wide and round, watching the Lord and the young Lord on the platform with curiosity. They all want to know what reward the Lord will give to this heaven-blessed young Lord, who has earned an unmatched merit and brought a whole new world to the family. Will it be a legendary immortal scripture, a supreme method, a great emperor weapon, or an immortal artifact? Or will Aldrich name me directly as the sole heir, the next family lord, and proclaim it to the whole clan? Big brother, this time you had better be generous. Kael has earned a heaven-shaking merit. The third elder Magnus joins in beside them, never one to let things stay quiet, calling out, "That is right, Lord. The young Lord's merit deserves a reward, a great reward." Indeed, House Vencrest has always been clear in reward and punishment, never stingy with those of merit. Several of the other sovereign elders chime in too. Their gazes upon me are full of goodwill and appreciation. This nephew has truly done them proud. Aldrich laughs aloud. He raises a hand in a calming gesture, signaling for quiet. "Be at ease, all of you. I, Aldrich, am not a stingy man." He turns around, his gaze falling on me, full of doting. "Kael, whatever you want, just tell Father. Whatever Father has, whatever House Vencrest has, even if it is a star in the sky, Father will pluck it down for you." The moment these words come out, the whole crowd erupts again. My heavens, what kind of doting is this? The Lord truly dotes on the young Lord to the skies. As long as you want it, as long as I have it. Is that not the most extreme favoritism? Countless younger House Vencrest members look at me with envy, jealousy, and resentment. Comparison drives a man mad. They're still fighting bloody over a few divine stones, a few bottles of pills, while this one has the whole family treasury, his to pick from. Is this the gap between the direct line and the collateral? No, this is no longer the gap between direct and collateral. This is the gap between a mortal and a god. I hear my father's words, and though I already know what I will be given, the show still has to be played in full. On the surface, I keep up the humility. I bow once more to Aldrich and say, steady and composed, "Father's grace is deep, and I am grateful beyond words. But I believe the merit of this campaign was not mine alone. It was Grandfather's supreme might, Father's strategic command, Uncle Magnus's and the soldiers' valiant fighting, the result of the whole clan working as one. I only happened upon it, and would feel guilty taking credit. As for rewards, I have only just stepped onto the path of cultivation. My foundation is not yet steady. I dare not ask for too much. Everything is for Father to decide." This is said without a single seam, sound and well-reasoned. It lifts up the patriarch in my father, praises Uncle Magnus and the soldiers, and places me in the position of a humble student of the Tao. Upon the platform, the Grand Elder Theron listens to the end, a flash of golden light in his cloudy eyes. He strokes his beard and nods in satisfaction. "Good, well said. Neither proud nor reckless, neither greedy for credit nor arrogant, a steady disposition with an eye for the whole picture. Lord, you have raised a fine son. House Vencrest will have its heir. To receive such high praise from the Grand Elder is, among the younger generation of House Vencrest, a singular honor." The smile on Aldrich's face grows brighter still. He looks at this perfect son of his fondness growing. "You little rascal, your tongue is sharp." Aldrich chides with a laugh. "But merit is merit, fault is fault. What you said is right. In this campaign, no one's contribution is to be ignored." He turns around, facing the whole clan, his voice turning grave and stern. "By the Lord's order, every soldier who took part in this campaign, regardless of rank, will be promoted one level, with rewards doubled. Their direct kin for the next 3 generations will have their cultivation resources fully supplied by the family." Boom. The moment this order falls, the army ranks below erupt with sky-shaking cheers. The returning soldiers are flushed with joy. Promotion by 1 level, rewards doubled. That alone is a great reward. More importantly, 3 generations of direct kin covered for all cultivation needs. It means their descendants will have a starting line far above everyone else's. When one rises in the Tao, even the chickens and dogs ascend with him. Thank you, Lord. Long live the Lord. We will die for House Vencrest, die for the young Lord. Countless soldiers drop to one knee as one, their voices full of fervor and loyalty from the heart. Aldrich nods in satisfaction. His gaze falls again on the Grand Elder, the Third Elder, and the other top ranks. The Grand Elder, the Third Elder, and every elder who took part in this plan of distinguished merit may all enter House Vencrest's treasury and choose 3 treasures each. Each is also granted 1 wisp of world's core essence to use in comprehending the Tao. The moment this reward is announced, even the sovereign elders, who have seen many great occasions, cannot help but draw a sharp breath. 3 treasures from the treasury, that alone is the highest honor, to say nothing of a wisp of world's core essence. That is a new world's core essence. Every world has something uniquely its own. Though only a wisp, the cosmic laws it holds, to these old fellows stuck at the sovereign realm for tens of thousands of years, are no less than a guiding lamp. They may yet glimpse a chance at breakthrough from it. We thank the Lord for this rich grant. led by the Grand Elder Theron. All the elders bow deeply to Aldrich. Their hearts are filled with reverence for this lord. Clear in reward and punishment, balanced in grace and might, rewarding every merit, punishing every fault. This is what makes a worthy family leader. With everyone's reward settled, the atmosphere in the plaza rises to its peak, and every gaze settles on me once again. If the soldiers and elders are receiving such rich rewards, then what kind of earth-shaking reward will the young lord, the holder of the first merit, be given? Under everyone's expectant gaze, Aldrich draws a deep breath and slowly extends a hand. A crystal the size of a human head, chaos-colored all over, its surface flowing with billions of law chains, appears out of nothing in his palm. It is the complete world's core essence drawn out of the Shadowmere continent. The instant it appears, all the spirit energy of the sacred isle, every cosmic law, seems frozen. A supreme divine might that makes every soul tremble pours out of the crystal. The world's core essence. It is a complete world's core essence Tao fruit. Heavens, so this is the essence of a world? So beautiful. I feel that one more look will collapse my Tao heart. Everyone is overawed by the might of the Tao fruit before them. Even the sovereign elders breathe fast, their eyes full of greed and longing. They know that if they could only obtain this Tao fruit, they would have a 90% chance of breaking through to the heavenly emperor realm. But the next moment, Aldrich speaks a single sentence that strikes everyone like a thunderbolt. He bears the core essence Tao fruit, enough to drive the whole celestial domain mad, and walks slowly to me. Then, under tens of thousands of disbelieving gazes, he hands the Tao fruit to me with his own hand. Kael, this is your reward. When Aldrich hands the complete core essence Tao fruit to me, the whole plaza falls into dead silence. Everyone is wide-eyed and slack-jawed, staring at the father and son on the platform, their minds gone blank. That is a complete higher mystic world's core essence, ripened to its very limit. It is enough to let a peak 18th realm sovereign ascend in a single step to the heavenly emperor realm. Enough to drive any immortal heritage to madness, to wage an immortal war to fight over it. And now, the Lord Aldrich is actually handing it over with such ease as a reward, to his only 18-year-old son, whose cultivation is no more than the blood-forging realm. Mad. The Lord must be mad. Lord, I beg you to reconsider. The Grand Elder Theron steps forward. A world's core essence is a matter of the greatest weight. Though Kael has earned an unmatched merit, this reward is, indeed, too excessive. This thing should be refined by you. If you can use it to break through to the true immortal realm, House Vencrest will add another true immortal, and shake the celestial domain for hundreds of millions of years. This is more beneficial to the family than any other reward. The Grand Elder's words speak the heart of every elder present. They are not without love for me. On the contrary, none cherishes the hope of the family more than they do. But one thing is one thing. A world's core essence, its strategic weight is too great. I am still too young after all, and giving so precious a treasure to me weighs too heavily on the side of waste. Between the family's future and a personal reward, they choose the former without hesitation. My lord, please reconsider. Think of the greater picture. For a time, every House Vencrest member below the platform comes to their senses too, dropping as one to their knees, their roar like mountains and seas piercing the heavens. They too feel this Tao fruit should go to the Lord. I watch this scene of stirred-up emotion, and feel a little dazed myself. I never expected my father to hand this thing to me so directly before the whole clan. Now look, it has raised the anger of all. I glance at my father, and find him still utterly calm, as if he had foreseen this reaction long ago. Just then, an aged, dignified voice, as if drifting from the far shore of all the ages, sounds slowly. What is all this fuss? The voice is not loud but holds an unquestionable supreme authority. The instant it sounds, the bustling plaza again falls so quiet a pin could be heard. Every House Vencrest member, elder or disciple, shudders all over, faces filled with deep awe, and drops as one to their knees facing the forbidden grounds. We welcome the Patriarch. It is the Patriarch, the honored Patriarch himself has been roused. A withered figure appears silently upon the main seat of the platform. It is the Patriarch of House Vencrest. He sweeps a glance across the kneeling crowd below, his cloudy eyes showing neither joy nor anger. Aldrich did right. The moment the Patriarch speaks, he settles the matter at once. This world was discovered by Kael. By House Vencrest's rules, the discoverer takes 5.5 parts in 10. This Tao fruit was his to begin with. House Vencrest's rules cannot be broken. But, Patriarch, the Grand Elder Theron tries to say more, but the Patriarch waves a hand cutting him off. I know what you are thinking. You feel that giving this Tao fruit to Aldrich, letting him strike at the true immortal realm, or adding another heavenly emperor, would be more useful to House Vencrest. Am I right? The Grand Elder and the others stay silent, but plainly agree. Short-sighted, the Patriarch gives a cold snort, and a faint immortal might radiates from him, making every sovereign elder present feel a shudder. If Aldrich wants to ascend to immortality, what he lacks is that 1 in 10,000 opportunity. A portion of a new world's core essence is enough to give him a glimpse through the tube. If it works, it works. If it does not, even if he comprehends every drop of the rest of the essence, he could not take that step. But Kael is different. The Patriarch's gaze falls on me, and an unprecedented light bursts from those cloudy eyes. He is an immortal body, a heaven-blessed omen born for this age, and his future is without limit. You see only that one Tao fruit can make one false immortal, but you do not see what a peerless prodigy with a foundation deep to the utmost can bring to House Vencrest in the future. To use one Tao fruit to pave the way for House Vencrest's future immortal king, and even immortal emperor, this bargain, do you think it a loss? Moreover, I am not dead yet, enough to shelter Kael as he rises into an immortal king and emperor. The patriarch's words are like thunderbolts exploding in every heart. They are all dumbstruck, utterly overawed by the grand vision the patriarch paints. They had thought only of the immediate gain, of adding one more true immortal to steady the family's standing, never imagining the patriarch's gaze had already gone beyond true immortals, to a far more distant future. Before a future immortal king or emperor, what does a mere world's core essence Tao fruit count for? Even one step back, would giving it to them necessarily succeed? The patriarch had long ago told them of how, in the first realm, I tore open heaven and earth and gathered 1,000,000 life essences. We are blind. The Grand Elder Theron is the first to react. He bows deeply to the patriarch, his face full of shame and respect. We are blind. The other elders all bow as well, fully convinced. The patriarch's scope is in the end beyond what these sovereigns can match. House Vencrest does not lack sovereigns, nor heavenly emperors. What it lacks is true immortals, and what lies beyond. Rise, all of you. The patriarch waves a hand, and the immortal might around him scatters. He looks at me, a kindly smile on his face. Kael, come. Yes, grandfather. I hurry forward. Keep this Tao fruit. The patriarch points at the world fruit in Aldrich's hand. It will be the finest fuel for your next breakthrough. You are now at the blood-forging realm, having gathered 1,000,000 life essences. Your foundation is the first in all the ages. Your next realm is the aperture-opening realm. For ordinary cultivators, the aperture-opening realm is just opening 360 apertures within the body, linking with heaven and earth and seizing creation. But you are different. The patriarch looks at me, speaking word by word. Today, I will guard you once again, taking this world's core essence as the trigger, chaos energy as the base, and open 3,000 worlds within you, making every aperture into a real small world, bearing the myriad ways of the Tao, giving birth to living beings, so that in the aperture-opening realm you wield power on par with the Creator God, breaking the legend yet again, forging a tale unmatched by any before, and unfollowed by any to come. The moment those words, open 3,000 worlds, leave the patriarch's mouth, every elder tier being in the plaza of the Hall of Sovereigns falls again into utter silence. If granting me the world's core essence had only shocked them with disbelief, then the patriarch's words now overturn their understanding entirely, shattering their worldview. The aperture-opening realm, opening 3,000 worlds, every aperture becoming a real small world? What does this mean? This is no longer cultivation, this is creation. Patriarch, you are not joking, are you? Even the hot-tempered third elder Magnus stammers, his voice trembling. He has lived hundreds of thousands of years and reckons he has seen everything. But all that has happened today is utterly beyond his grasp. The blood-forging realm with 1,000,000 life essences, giving birth to a divine spirit vessel, that was already a myth without precedent in all the ages. Now, the aperture-opening realm is to open 3,000 worlds. If word of this got out, the whole celestial domain would think House Vencrest had gone mad. A joke? The patriarch glances at him and gives a cold snort. I never joke. An ordinary prodigy who can open 360 apertures in the aperture-opening realm is already called a top freak. That is because their bodies and souls simply cannot bear more cosmic laws. But Kael is different. The patriarch's gaze falls on me again, full of pride and expectation. He is an immortal body, with the primordial lotus deus and true immortal heartblood as his foundation. His base is the deepest in all the ages. His body is itself a chaos cosmos yet to be opened, of boundless potential. Add to that this world's core essence ripened to its limit, and it is enough to support him in this unprecedented feat. Once it is done, in the aperture-opening realm, Kael will possess absolute power that crushes every prodigy of his age. Without using any treasure or secret art, by his own strength alone, he can defeat a high-tier divine path realm cultivator. His words set every heart in the plaza ablaze. The aperture-opening realm, striking back against a high-tier divine path realm cultivator. What does this mean? It is the second realm beating the 7th, 8th, even the 13th realm. If I were allowed to use family treasures, ultimate emperor weapons, pseudo-emperor weapons, then that step would not be hard. But did you not hear the patriarch? Without using any means at all, by his own foundation alone. What a terrifying combat power. The word prodigy no longer suffices. This is simply a young god incarnate. House Vencrest is about to bring forth a true legend. The Grand Elder Theron looks at me, trembling all over with excitement. He seems already to see the scene of the near future, where I sweep through the ages, suppress a whole era, and lead House Vencrest into glory unlike any before. All right, enough talk. The patriarch waves a hand, his expression turning grave. This matter is no small thing. It needs an absolutely quiet environment, free of all disturbance. Aldrich, Magnus, the two of you guard us. The other sovereign elders will lock down the whole sacred isle. No one may leave nor approach the forbidden grounds by half a step. By your order, Aldrich and Magnus answer as one. The elders' expressions all turn extremely grave. They know what comes next will bear on House Vencrest's fortune for ages, and not the slightest mistake can be made. Kael, come with me. The patriarch beckons to me, and his figure flickers, vanishing with me from the spot in an instant. The next moment, the two of us are back deep in the forbidden grounds, within that universe where the bronze immortal coffin lies. Grandfather, we are breaking through here? I look at the familiar starscape around me and ask with some curiosity. That is right, the patriarch nods. This is my inner realm, utterly sealed from the outside. Even a true immortal of equal rank could not possibly trace it without my consent. The safest place there is. He points at the bronze coffin hovering at the center of the universe. Go, like last time, sit on the primordial lotus dais. Yes, grandfather, I know the way well. I leap and spring into the immortal coffin, crossing my legs on that fragrant green lotus dais. Calm your mind and steady your breath. The patriarch's voice rises in my mind. Fuse the divine spirit vessel in your Dantian fully with your soul, then contemplate the worlds. Hearing this, I close my eyes at once, sinking my mind into my Dantian. There the golden spirit vessel, formed from a million life essences, sits in solemn majesty, identical to me. Driven by my will, the golden spirit vessel slowly opens its eyes, turning into a beam of light that bursts out of the Dantian and into my sea of consciousness, fusing perfectly with my already finely refined soul. At the instant of fusion, my soul seems to swell 100-fold, 1,000-fold. My senses stretch without limit, piercing the wall of the inner universe, seeing the endless chaos void beyond. I see chaos energy born and die. I see laws evolve, worlds born and destroyed. An understanding unlike any before wells up in my heart. Now, the patriarch's voice strikes like a warning bell in my heart. Bring out the world's core essence. Use your soul as the trigger, refine it, and reopen heaven and earth within you. I do not hesitate. With a single thought, the core essence Tao fruit I had stored in my storage ring appears out of nothing, hovering before me. I open my mouth, and like a whale drawing in water, swallow the head-sized Tao fruit whole. An energy beyond words to describe, vast to the utmost, explodes within me in an instant. It is purer and more surging than the chaos energy and immortal fire I absorbed before, as if a whole world were exploding inside me. However, even my body, already strong to a monstrous degree, under this terrifying energy impact, cannot help but spit out a mouthful of blood. My body instantly cracks all over, as if it might collapse the very next second. Steady your mind. Guide the energy to strike the apertures. The patriarch's voice comes just in time. I force down the heart-tearing pain, drive my soul wildly, and guide that violent flood of energy toward the first aperture within me, the Baihui aperture, with full force. The aperture-opening realm is the cultivation of the 360 great apertures in the body, and the countless minor apertures hidden deeper still. Each aperture corresponds to one of heaven and earth's laws, one thread of mystery. An ordinary cultivator who opens one has stepped over the threshold of the aperture-opening realm. But what I will do is not open them, but create. Boom! When that flood of energy, formed from a whole world's core essence, slams into the Baihui aperture, the first roar of creation seems to sound in my sea of consciousness. My Baihui aperture is not blasted open into a passage like an ordinary cultivator's. It is blown straight open into a point, an infinitely small point, holding infinite possibilities, a singularity. Then, the singularity erupts. Earth, fire, water, and wind churn wildly. The clear breath rises as sky, the heavy breath sinks as earth. Sun, moon, stars, mountains, and rivers evolve and are born within at high speed. In a brief moment, a complete and real small world has actually been forged within my Baihui aperture by sheer force. Though this world is still small, only 100 miles across, its laws still young, it is real, with its own space, its own time, its own laws. Done. Outside the coffin, the patriarch sees this scene, and an unprecedented light bursts from his cloudy eyes. He knows his boldest design has succeeded. I have truly opened a world within my body, and yet, this is only the beginning. After the first aperture world is opened successfully, the vast core essence energy finds an outlet, and surges still more violently toward the other apertures in my body. The second aperture, the Shenting aperture. Boom! Another world is born. The third aperture, the Mingtang aperture. The fourth, the Taiyang aperture. One after another, the apertures are opened into independent small worlds. My body now is like a vast honeycomb, every cell nurturing a whole new cosmos. Within the bronze immortal coffin I sit cross-legged, my expression solemn. My body now gives off a brilliant divine light. Profound Tao runes flow and fade across my skin. From outside I seem to be undergoing only an ordinary seclusion and breakthrough, but only one outside the coffin. Seeing all with the will of the immortal Tao, the patriarch can see what world-shaking, terrifying scenes are happening inside me. World after world is born and evolves within my apertures. Each world's opening comes with raging earth, fire, water, and wind, with the rise and fall of sun, moon, and stars. This is no longer cultivation. This is simply mass-producing cosmoses. 100, 200, 300. The patriarch's cloudy eyes are fixed on me. From his lips, he mutters to himself, his voice carrying a tremor even he does not notice. He had thought that, with my potential and the core essence's energy, at most I could open 360 main aperture worlds within me. reaching the theoretical limit, which would already be an unprecedented, all-ages-shaking achievement. But now, he finds he was wrong. Wrong beyond measure. My potential goes far past his imagination. The 360 main aperture worlds are all opened in under half a day. Yet I show no sign of stopping, only of pressing harder. After the 360 main apertures are opened, that vast core essence energy remains as surging as ever, as if without end. Like floodwater breaking a dam, it begins to charge at the finer, more hidden minor apertures in my body. 361, 362, 400, 500, 1000. The instant the 1000th aperture world is opened successfully within me, boom, the whole inner universe shudders violently. Thousands upon thousands of stars hum as one, as if cheering this miracle's birth. 1000. He has actually opened 1000 worlds inside himself. Even with a patriarch's true immortal mind, that has lived countless eras and seen through all things, in this moment he can no longer hold steady. His withered figure rises abruptly from the edge of the bronze coffin, his face full of disbelieving shock. A monster! This boy is simply a monster! The patriarch cannot help but curse aloud. He has lived so long, seen countless dazzling prodigies. Some natural-born sages whose words held heavenly mandate, whose word was law. Some reincarnations of chaos gods and demons, with peerless bodies, strong enough to shake the stars. Some sons of the Tao, one with the Tao itself, who with a thought could draw resonance from all techniques. But he had never seen nor heard of anyone able, in the aperture-opening realm, to open 1,000 worlds within his body. This is not just breaking a legend, this is creating a wholly new, terrifying legend that will plunge every prodigy to come into despair, leaving them unable even to glimpse the back of the one who walked it. No, this cannot go on. A flicker of gravity crosses the patriarch's face. Though the core essence's energy is vast, it is not infinite. If I keep opening worlds with no restraint, and the energy fails at the final moment, causing one aperture world to fail to open, it would set off a chain reaction, undoing everything I have built. And there might even be Tao foundation collapse, the danger of body and Tao perishing together. At this thought, the patriarch can no longer sit still. He must intervene, forcibly halt my breakthrough, let me solidify the Tao foundation I have. 1000 aperture worlds is enough. This is already an achievement, unmatched in all the ages. There is no need to risk so much further. But the instant he is about to act, change occurs again. Sitting cross-legged on the primordial lotus dais, I suddenly open my mouth and inhale sharply. Within the whole inner universe, the chaos energy, thick beyond dispersal, as if seized by an irresistible pull, turns into gray, surging floods that pour wildly into my mouth, swallow down into my belly. Holy crap. The patriarch, seeing this, his eyes nearly popping out of his head. What am I doing? I am devouring chaos energy. That is chaos energy. The most primal, most violent energy from before the splitting of heaven and earth. Even a true immortal would not dare devour it like this. One careless moment and its raging chaos laws could burst the immortal body, grind away the immortal soul. But this little monster of all things treats it as food. Mad! This boy must be mad! The patriarch's heart leaps into his throat. He is about to act at any cost to stop it, when he sees that after devouring vast amounts of chaos energy, the core essence energy inside me, which had been starting to wane, now grows full and surging again, even purer, even vaster than before, and my pace of opening aperture worlds, far from slowing, grows faster. 1100, 1200, 1500, 2000. The patriarch stares blankly at this scene, no longer knowing what words could describe his feelings now. He feels that he, a true immortal who has lived countless eras, is, before this grandson of his, like a country bumpkin who has seen nothing of the world. His understanding is being mercilessly ground to dust again and again. Forget it, let him be. The patriarch lets out a long sigh and sits back down at the edge of the bronze coffin, a look of utter resignation on his face. This boy is just a freak, not to be judged by ordinary measure. Open as many as he likes, so long as he does not play himself to death. He has utterly given up trying to manage me. Within the immortal coffin, I know nothing of what is happening outside. I am sunk in an unprecedented, wondrous joy of creation. With each aperture world I open, my understanding of the cosmic Tao soars at a geometric pace. I feel as if I have truly become a creator god, that with a single thought I could give birth to a world, and with another thought wipe out a cosmos. This sense of holding and ruling all things steeps me utterly. Time seems to lose its meaning. I do not know how long passes, a day, a month, or a year. At the instant the last and 3000th aperture world is opened within me, a tremor 1,000 times more terrifying than any before erupts from inside my body. The 3000 aperture worlds, in this moment, as if drawn by some mysterious force, hum together, echoing one another. 3000 utterly different yet single-rooted cosmic laws burst out of the 3000 worlds, weaving and fusing within me, at last forming a being crowned with an imperial sky-flat crown, robed in a dragon robe of myriad ways, his face exactly my own. A supreme imperial projection. That imperial projection sits in the divine seat of my Dantian, the opening and closing of his eyes turning with the birth and death of 3000 worlds. He merely sits there quietly, yet seems to be the sole supreme ruler of all the myriad worlds, past, present, and future. This is the 3000 Daos avatar. Outside the coffin, the patriarch, who had gone utterly numb, The instant he sees the Imperial projection, leaps once more from his seat. In those cloudy eyes there remains only endless shock.